gentlemen, welcome back to the Ghost Comms podcast. I am Jatmon, your host, and today I'm joined by a whole host of people. Hopefully we'll have more coming in and out too, everyone chiming in. But I've got Zax, I've got Cmills, I've got TeeChurch, we've got Ilmwo, and we've got Jank. So whoever's going to hop on is going to hop on. We've got more coming in.
Yeah, Peter Bott, Bila, Oliver.
Hopefully,
Larson.
hopefully we get a lot of the elite guys in here. And the ex-PSG TNA, which we will talk about.
Man,
that one needs to be talked about for sure.
Man, fuck TNA. No, but we're
that clip is so good.
yeah. I mean, we're here. It's Dreamhack Dallas.
Yeah.
Just concluded. So I mean, just first of all, like thoughts on the weekend.
Yeah. So like overall thoughts, at least from my point of view, it to be honest was not like ran the best to be honest, but it was a good tournament at the end of the day. I mean, I felt it was really competitive, and you know people were getting very, very involved. My God. But even like Paper and Yamza like, yelling.
Yeah, in zero builds.
Yeah,
which is
but I love that kind of energy, man.
Yeah.
I like that. That's the that's why you come to the land. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is to feel the passion and the energy that these guys have for the game.
Mhm.
100%. Well, even we were talking the other night about like the This Is Rocket League clip when there was like NRG Dignitas, like 4 seconds left. NRG. I don't know if like if any of you have seen the clip. Or
Was
not.
Dig the other team?
Dig was the other team, yeah.
Wow.
And NRG,
Oh.
they
It
scored to
feels
go
weird now,
up. They scored to go up 3-2. And I was showing Alex the other night, who's like co-owner of Elite.
Wait, people haven't seen the Rocket? Like, this is Rocket League.
Yeah, some people haven't seen that clip. Like,
That's crazy.
especially in the Fortnight scene.
Really?
I showed Peter the first time
they are because like a lot of them, a lot of people in the scene, Fortnite is like their first like game or esport, or like the thing that like they're like really invested in. Like I mean, esports have been around for a lot longer, but like you know,
Dignitas has been like an org for what, 20 years now?
Yeah.
Like
20
more-
years?
Yeah, it's been like
it's
20.
9,
Yeah.
20
really?
years,
Because like
yeah.
TSM just turned 10, right? Like
Yeah.
something like that. They had their 10-year anniversary and all that.
How
And
did
like,
Dig even get started? Like, what games do you start in like 20 years ago?
Dude,
No.
It's got to be like the old school.
CS
like
wasn't
the old,
around. Halo,
No,
like
like
that.
CS. Not it wasn't CS:GO, but it was
No.
like you had your standard Counter Strike, like Counter Strike.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
one,
yeah,
like
yeah.
that.
It
So,
probably was CS, yeah.
You probably
Yeah.
had like the OG Halos too,
League
because
of
like that's how
Legends,
Ninja got his start. Was like
Halo
the
2.
old
Halo 3,
Halo.
yeah, Halo 2, Halo
Yeah.
3.
Dude,
the MLG days, like the Major Legit Gamer like league,
Yeah.
like that was fucking like that was the beginning of where we are now.
Yeah.
Dude, I was a year old when Dignitas started.
Yeah,
That's insane to think about.
yeah, that is insane.
I would be too. You would be. You were like
I was-
conceived the same around
Yeah.
the same time, like fucking
I was -1.
-1.
Well, like,
Yeah.
but you know what I think was interesting, just to get back to the question about what I've heard the same sentiments as what Cmills was saying, you know, as far as like the way that the event was ran. But
Yeah.
I think anybody that knows, like, that's come to the past couple Dreamhacks for the Fortnite events, it's at least in my opinion is improvement over previous events. They're trying to get the community involved.
Yeah.
So like I give them a little bit more leeway, I think, than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Just because I see, you know, I look
yeah.
at improvement instead
Yeah.
of
Well, and it's scuffed and it has a reputation to be, but I think
Right.
a lot of it is that it
they're out of
it
touch
really
with the community. Like,
well,
Fortnite's
yeah,
its own
yeah.
ecosystem.
But what I'm getting at is like it's kind of more acceptable or more okay because of the LAN experience.
right,
Like,
exactly.
like you come, yes, you come to play, you come to
Yep.
compete, you come to make your money, whatever. But like it's also just about like being in an environment with people who are as passionate about the same thing as you are,
exactly.
and being able to meet all these people
Yeah.
and like make like and you know for
Develop a lifelong like relationship.
yeah, exactly. And like, I mean, it is because there are people that I've met. I mean, fucking, I met you. I mean, not through
months ago.
yeah, not through a LAN, but like I met you through someone that I met at a LAN, and like
yeah.
you know, like we're fucking tight, like you know,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah.
crash with you.
Well,
Like,
that's what I was gonna say. Is like you're one of the few people in the community that like, even when like I was, I guess, starting out, like you've always been somebody who's put like a positive influence and always supported me. So
yeah,
I
I mean,
always felt like whenever I get that kind of love from other people, you know, you don't get that very much.
Yeah.
I'm sure all you guys understand. Like you don't get people that just like will reach out and just show you unconditional love a whole lot. And Jatmon was one of those people for me.
well,
So I made sure, you know, I want to make sure that I return the favor. And of course, you know, I saw, you know, your work ethic and stuff. That was something I think that we kind of vibe with when we first met.
yeah, we have a lot of similarities.
knew.
Like the more we've talked this weekend too,
Yeah.
like it's like, oh fuck, we're like the same person.
Yeah,
like
it's kind of scary sometimes. Yeah.
No, I mean, and honestly, like you too. But when we first talked, I was like, oh fuck, like there was like a click where I was like, Oh, I just flicked off my mic. Okay. No, like there's a click where it's like, oh, we're like
Yeah,
we
had
relate a
long
lot.
Conversation,
Yeah,
like, very
yeah.
long. Like even with Jank too. Like we sat
Yeah.
there for how long
Yeah.
were we there? Like an hour? Yeah, it was probably like an hour, bro. We were talking
Yeah.
for a long.
We were just shooting the shit. Yeah.
Yeah, we were.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was a good conversation, and like I said, I
Yeah.
mean, these events are to go and connect with people that
Yeah.
you probably wouldn't connect with. And
Yeah.
it's just about getting out of your comfort zone and
Yeah.
making a difference.
Well, and connect in multiple ways too, because it's like connect as people and like relationships, but also like for business, like
Yeah.
like developing your shit. Like that networking is so fucking huge.
It's
and like,
crucial.
yeah.
It's crucial.
And at a LAN, it's so different. Like
Yeah.
networking when you're in the online world is you're really limited. You know, it's like you can't reach out to someone who's too much bigger than you. Like, you know, you're gonna get egoed, like
Yeah.
Twitter DMs or
Yep.
whatever. Like you can't break a lot of those boundaries. You know, and like that was. I mean, I was telling you guys a little bit before we started that like recording was. I fucking booked my ticket to Invitational and Atlanta, like with like basically nothing left in my pocket. Going, this is my opportunity to like. I need to make a break. Like I need something out of this. I need to make that one connection that'll like begin my career. And I DM Fox on Twitter because I'd watched the arena race and I fucking loved it. Like I just thought it was like really clever content and like they really rallied people behind it. And it was just like it was. I mean, a lot of people said it was more exciting than Grands that season, like Chapter 3, Season
Yeah.
1, and like that. So I like DM Fox on Twitter. And I was like, hey, dude, like, I just, like, I don't want to bother you too much, but I just, like, I want a picture. Like, I was just like, I want to meet you. I want to say hi. Like, I want a picture, and I'll be out of your hair. And, like, we ended up talking for, like, half an hour. And then I ran into Bronos. He actually got Bronos for me to meet him. And then I ran into him again at Atlanta. And that started, like, everything. That started me getting, like, and now we're org mates. And, like, it started me getting noticed. And, like, it started the podcast because of it and all that. Like, it's crazy because it breaks so many boundaries that you aren't able to otherwise.
Oh yeah, there was no way I probably would have got the same amount of like success if I didn't go to Invitational.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like,
yeah, I mean that one picture was
yeah.
iconic.
Yeah.
That's how
Well,
it works though. Like I don't know if you guys like I know you probably know this story, but a lot of people don't know the story of how I met Laylam. I was actually driving for Uber at the time, and I picked up one of his friends and got on a FaceTime with him and basically told him like, yeah, I've been grinding the game, like I'm trying to make my come up. And
Wait, like the guy riding in the Uber, like you were like talking to the guy riding.
Yeah, the guy riding in the Uber
and
was
you were
friends
like,
with Laylam.
And you were like, yeah, I play for, like you were like talking to him, and like I play Fortnite, and like
Yeah.
Came up in my
That's,
Uber
like,
today
crazy
too. Actually, somebody was asking me like, oh, how does my like 14-year-old son get into like the Fortnite scene? I was like, bro, I mean, I gave her advice. I was like, stream, put out content, like put out places where orgs can find you. But I mean, it was super interesting because it's just like it's a weird place to be because I think, and we talked about this a little bit, like people think that we're like way farther along than we are in terms of like money or like all of that stuff, and we're just not. But
well, yeah.
but no, like continue with your thing. But
back, basically, the point that I'm gonna get at is it only takes like that one break. You know what I mean? And so basically, it was like 3 months later. I think that I coached Cyrus and Sonetto to Grands, and that was like I think at the time Cyrus had 0 Sonetto had 0 earn.
What season was that?
That was Collider season, so I believe that was Chapter 3, Season 2 or Season 3.
Okay,
yeah.
And of course, I mean, I wish we had done better in that Grands, but it is what it is.
Qualing 2 Grands though. I mean, statistically you're 50 best teams on the region.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yeah. That was, and then I think they won like the second game of their heat or something like that. So they won pretty early as well. And like that's a common theme for like my coaching. I've done that twice now. I actually didn't coach heats like 2 seasons in a row because I just didn't need to. Like all my teams made Grands. So. But yeah, so going back to the Laylam story though, I talked to Laylam a little bit, 3 months later, qualifying for Grands, and I get the shout out from Aussie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because of the celebration clip actually, because they weren't streaming, but I was.
The one that gets memed all the time.
Yeah.
Jank has a gif of that. I know he does.
Yeah, it's the gif.
Yeah. We send that in the pipeline chat all the time now.
Yeah, that's the story behind that actually.
Yeah.
Wait, well, who was the celebration? Was it Nani?
No, it was me. It was me.
you?
Yeah,
I
it was
remember,
me.
haven't seen this
I
clip.
remember the one with Nani though.
No, it was when they.
I was seeing the one of Nani when he was like twerking on his desk after he won. Like, that's what I was thinking of.
Yeah.
I've never
No,
seen this clip. Pull it up.
it's TeeChurch. No, it's really good. It's
in Aussie.
a great
too,
gif.
I've
It really
Yeah.
is.
It's in one of Aussie's old videos too.
That reaction is
Yeah.
nuts.
It's so fucking.
That's
that
like
was
the best
good.
reaction.
Well,
Yeah.
he commented on the clip about like how like excited you were like for your
Dude, I
players
was
and all
fucking
that. Like,
yeah. Well, that's because I got caught a lot of. I think you guys know. Like, I caught a lot of heat on Twitter recently after Scoped and Mason Qualgrants. That's what upset me about that is because like if you ever watch the streams and you like talk to me as a person, like you know how much I care about my players and how much like how fucking excited I am like when they succeed and like how like much it means to and how much responsibility I take too. Like if you talk to any of my players, like the first thing I do is blame myself. You know, is I should have prepped more. Like you know, I could have done better on this rotation. I should have been pushing you guys to be in practice more. You know, I do have those tough conversations with players where it's like, hey, like, you know, if there isn't responsibility for me to take and they've kind of not been engaged in the process throughout the season, we have a conversation about that. But yeah, like the success is the players, man. Like, and I like that's the most important part.
But I mean,
the day.
that's kind of like, and that's what the concept of this episode is like kind of behind the scenes. I mean, like there's so much that goes behind those players that you see and the, like the events and whatever. Like, obviously they're the faces, you know, they're the names you're gonna know. But there's so many people that are assisting that. There's so many people like it's a whole process, and like there's an industry around it. You know, it's not just some random 14-year-old kid who, you know, has a clip go viral and all of a sudden he's like managing himself. Like, you know, they're kids. I mean, that's a lot of it. And I think we could all agree in the work that we've done, there are times where it's more babysitting or like, you know, like corralling kids to like be able to do something that is more adult or like, because it's like, yeah, we're doing business, like this is our jobs, or we're trying to build careers or whatever. And like, I mean, especially you managing like some of these players. Like,
I mean, especially with guys like Peter. I mean, you know, he's a young kid, and I don't want to push him too far because he's a kid. You know, my whole thing with him, I told him, live your life, be a kid. Like, be a kid as long as you can be a kid. Because the day you turn adult is the day that I'm gonna be twice as hard on you. Like, like, I push myself harder because it's like, for me, I have to put more time into it because like he says no the first time, so I have to ask again. So it's like that extra step is what it takes for me to like, you know, work with him, and I also have to be like very patient. Like his communication with me, like he'll ego DMs whatever, which is like fine, like cool, you're busy, I get it. But at the same time, it's like I have to respect for myself and be like, all right, well if you don't want to answer my DMs, then I'm not gonna upload. And then it's like that relationship. But it's also like push and pull. Like I can only get so much from him, but I can only give so much too. And so, like we said, we both grow together. And like my big break with him was when I used to stream. Like I averaged like 20 viewers. I had a great community. And then I was like sitting there and I was just like went on spring break, had a blast. All my friends.
You told me the story the other night.
And I was like, dude, I want to live my life. Like, I want to go out and like do stuff. And then finally Peter was like, yo, I need like I'm about to get signed. You know, can you look it over? And Mikey Bright hit me up and was like, yo, like, will you please look over this contract? Like, he's about to sign it. And I'm like, all right. Like, I looked it over, and it was a full scam. Like, a full scam. And
you can drop. I don't.
Leak what org it is? Leak the name?
I mean, it wasn't a full scam.
I don't think that's good for biz. I think we should just keep that on the down low.
I mean, you don't have to put it in, though.
Your choice.
I would just like to know, 'cause
we won't edit. We won't edit.
I know. If you look at Twitter, you can figure it out. If you just got to go through the depths of Twitter. I've tweeted about it multiple times.
I mean, I think if you go through like different orgs Twitters, you can figure out which ones are like
for sure. For sure.
But like, Oh yeah. So no, I mean, one of the things that it came to, like, I read it and I was like, wow, like this kid's 13, about to sign a deal that's gonna, you know, screw him over, and it could have screwed his career over technically. I mean, they would have taken like 50% minimum.
Jeez.
You better leak it to me off camera. Leak it.
Oh yeah, I'll leak it out. We didn't sign it, but I was just like, what the fuck? And so me and Peter talked, and finally he's like, all right, like, no, like, I still don't want you to manage me. And then it came like 2 weeks later. I was still streaming. My viewers were down like 12 or whatever, and I was like, all right, like full time. I started DMing people like, yo, let me manage you. And finally Peter was like, all right, yeah, like you got it. But he had like 2,000 followers at the time, so I was like, but he was a kid.
I remember you tweeted that the before and after thing.
Yeah, like he had 2,000 followers, but it's like, you know, Jarian was like trolling about it, like, you know, all of his success didn't come from you, but it's like, yeah, it did, but like not all of it, but like obviously competitively it wasn't, but on his other socials definitely. His YouTube was at 0 when I started it. I clicked create on his channel and then gave it to him. I was like, all right, let's go, like it's go time. Now it's at 115,000.
That's insane growth, man. That's like I just want to say, I want to take a second just to congratulate you on that, because I know how rough this community is, and we like the guys behind the scenes, like we don't get a lot of credit, but like I just want you to know from like from our perspective, and like the guys, the guys that work behind the scene, like we know that, we see that, and we recognize that, and that's like fucking amazing, because
that's what this episode is to bring that
Yeah.
to
bring light to the things
the
that people
main
don't
audience.
see.
Yeah,
exactly.
But people also don't see the fact that like I'm putting in the extra work for him to like, have a nice channel and be set up because like that's an asset you have forever. He'll always
exactly.
have that following, so he can always use that to his advantage.
Yeah,
and if he wants to like springboard, because like I'm sure as Peter gets older too, his personality is going to develop and he's going to become more comfortable with himself. And like I think Peter's got an out there, like he's a very outgoing person. Like he's got a good personality to like be entertaining.
Yeah.
I mean, look at his dad. I mean, you guys met his dad.
Yeah.
He was here.
Yeah.
Like he's funny and he's outgoing. And one of the things I can say is like if he ends up like his dad, he'll be in great shape.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It's just about, like I said, it's like step one in the process. Like everyone's saying, you know, he's a brand risk. He's this, he's that. Like, you know, you hear him on the stream. Like he's always like, you know, cussing. He's loud. He's obnoxious. But it's like, have you talked to him behind camera?
Yeah.
Do you know who the person is?
Yeah.
Whole different person. Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, like he likes to troll. Like when you got here, he's like, "Oh, TeeChurch."
Yeah,
like, But he's like,
are you the best coach on it? Yeah.
But it's like it's all a troll. Like he's just like he's here to have a fun time and like enjoy himself.
Yeah.
And like like there's nothing wrong with him because I'm really outgoing and he's not. But it's like that's fine. He learns from me and he like you know he has his confidence from me and that's like what it is. But a lot of people don't understand also from him and his perspective is like our relationship with Elite. Like I'm not with Elite at all. Like I'm like not in the team whatsoever. But they paid for me to come here and like did all the extra stuff so that way he's set up for the future and so our relationship is hooked up.
Yeah.
I mean that's just like one of the things. But growing with him it's hard because you have to have a good relationship on both sides.
Yeah.
And you also have to be able to figure out what is his goal? Because if his goal isn't to do this, then that means I can't be helping him anymore.
Right.
But,
well, if he's, I want to emphasize, and this is something we've talked about throughout the weekend, but like you keep using the word like relationship, and because that is the most important part of the entire equation.
Everything.
Yeah,
everything.
it is everything.
Me and Zach were talking, and we were talking about like, because he was kind of talking about he's worked with people in the past where they've been too controlling with the creative vision. It's like you're a photographer and videographer. If they're hiring you for that and it's a talent and you have a creative vision for something, like it's a collaboration.
Yeah.
It's here's what we need from you and then take that as a guideline and do what you want with it. And like it's the same thing like with Peter.
Get
it's like
creative, yeah.
Yeah, it's like
I have full control of all of his socials. Like I have full like if we want to post something and I'm like, yo, we're posting this.
Yeah.
He can say no and I won't post it. But if he says yes, I'm posting it. And it's like he had nothing to do with it.
Right,
all he did was show up.
Well, no, but but what I'm getting at is like you have your craft and he has his, and it's like there is a relationship there. It's a give and take, like.
Yeah. Well, it's a good mesh too.
And you as a coach, obviously, like there's it's not you can't just demand everything from them. They can't,
Well, I think too, like in order to change their perspective on what my job actually, because every time you go into something, right, like they have experience of, like they've experienced either other coaches or other managers, where it's like that's kind of their first experience kind of forms like the way that they view that. So like if they work with somebody who like, for instance, like emphasizes live coaching a lot, then they're going to think that is like the be all end all to coaching, right? Yeah. And so you have to build up that trust with them to get them to understand that like, hey, there's other skills that I possess that can help you, that will allow me to transfer knowledge to you that will help you like hit your goals.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying, like to you when we were talking about it. Trust, like it's such a big thing on what I do because if I don't have some type of creative input in it, and like I have to cater to like the client all the time, then I'm like, what am I here for?
Yeah. Well, you're just there to like
they're kind of just pick up a camera, press a button, and record.
Yeah, they're there like abusing your knowledge, like like how do you work this or whatever.
And I've had that in both the things I do. Like I've had that because I also shoot boxing. I've had that in sports. I've had that in weddings. I've had that everywhere, and that's why like I stopped doing most of that stuff just because of the fact that if I'm not getting creative input, then like part of my language, what the fuck am I there for? I'm there to press a red record button, take a video, and then edit it. That's it.
Well, one of the things that I like to say, like for you edit and you can like record video, do photos. You're very like diverse in what you can do. And that's something that I like I said, picking up a camera this weekend. I've never held a camera in my life, but I wanted to do it. I mean, I was like,
did good. He did really good.
I did best for my first try. Like, it probably isn't the best, but it's like it's gonna be best for me and Peter in the long run because I can diversify my skill set.
Yeah.
So I handed him throughout the whole week. I handed him my second camera. Yeah. The one we're recording on now. But I handed him my second camera, and I said, look, stay with Peter. If whatever you want to record it. But make sure you get like the end games, and if you want to record stuff for his YouTube channel, like he can go and do it. But he did really well for someone who didn't really know like.
Yeah,
bro, I couldn't even record on the thing. He gave me. I couldn't even click record, bro. I didn't know where the button was.
But that's a super important point because it's like, if you're not one of the personalities or whatever, if you're not like a content creator, the more skills you can have under your belt, the better asset you can be.
Yeah, and the more valuable you are to anybody.
I mean, you know, it's like, because it's like this industry. There are a lot of blurred lines. It's like, you know, there are a lot of people who are. I mean, we were talking about this with like managers. Like we were talking with Jatmon. It was like, manager means a lot of different things for every manager in the scene.
Yep.
And so there's so many blurred lines. It's like we don't really have official like job titles or whatever.
But
like
same
we
thing
just
with
kind of
coaching though.
It's that's
thing.
exactly what I was just saying with like live coaching, you know, and so that was like what was important to me. I think like this Dreamhack especially was I got to talk to a lot of players who've gotten to experience coaching with BloodX because you know I've drawn behind the scenes. Some of my players have compared me to him. Like as far as my trajectory goes, obviously, like in terms of he's been doing it for 3 years. Like I would be fucking insane to think that I have the same knowledge that he does, you know. But I know that I'm learning and growing every single day, and what I'm trying to become is an actual coach, like somebody who actually like. Number one, like game knowledge is like, yes, that's very important. That's the foundation. Yeah. But then the coaching skills as well of like how do I diagnose a player's weaknesses? How do I get them to like understand how like what the improvement process looks like? How do I get them to buy into that process? Yeah. And then also like coming up like the creative side, coming up with drills and scenarios and how the hell do I teach these guys like the things that I'm trying to teach them and how do I make sure that sticks? You know, all like it's all of that. It isn't just the live. And that's I have a saying like live coaching is 5%. It's 5%.
What happens behind closed doors is actually like where it is.
And coaching, like it took me a long time to learn this because I've been in a lot of teaching type positions. Like I said, I was a youth pastor. I've taught different classes, like whatever. I didn't realize that teaching is not something that comes naturally to people. Like it's a skill.
I've also done it too in high school. I was a student aide for my photography class. Yeah. And I would teach a lot of like the you know the high schoolers like.
Yeah, because there are people who are amazing at things and they're incredibly talented. They don't teach well. You know, like every pro player, there are so many T1s. There's so many T1s that think they could be good coaches because they have the game knowledge.
And they can be great live coaches, don't get me wrong. But like at the end of the day, like live coaching is mostly like
can I also relate this to something else too? Since I also like I said, I shoot boxing. It's the same way when it goes with trainers, like when they have that like they're boxers. Like not all boxers can be good trainers.
Right.
It's the same. It's the same way.
There's also like some intangibles that you can't teach. Like from like an intangible, like you cannot teach to be clutch. Like some guys fold under pressure, and that's just how it is, and it happens all the time, and you can't teach that. Like that's just.
I will say, I don't think you can teach it, but I think you can treat it.
Oh, definitely, you can treat it. Yeah,
I think because I think the inability to clutch, like I think it's a mental thing. Right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not saying like solo clutch. I'm saying like in general to be like the killer instinct is what I'm talking about. Like have that next step, like where like when you're on, you're on. Yeah. Like, it's like that switch that you can flip. Yeah. Because like from my past experience of sports is like I never had that switch by like freshman, sophomore year. Yeah. Get to my junior year, COVID hits, and I like trained all that for nothing. So I was like, screw this. Yeah. Senior year, I left it all out there. Like I didn't give a crap.
Yeah. I want to touch on sports in a second, but like what I was getting at was like more the ability to make a person understand the information you're trying to teach them.
Yeah, exactly.
Learning how they're going to intake that information the best and being creative with it. Like you have to read the person and you have to like know enough about them to say, this is how I'm going to get this information across in a way they can understand. Because like,
it's incredibly individualized because
absolutely.
Like, so like just to start off, like there's only like there's you can have multiple different learning. There's 3 different learning styles that we know of. You know, you have visual learners, auditory learners, and then people that learn by doing. So like I don't know what that style is called off the top of my head, but you just start there and you can see you have 3 different paths that you have to take with like each individual person. You have to determine and then that layers on top of like you know what is their personality, how do they respond to criticism.
Well, what kind of learners are you guys? Like just like I
Visual.
learned by doing. I learned by
Visual.
doing it.
I have to
Definitely
see it.
visual.
I have to see it, and then I have to do it. So I'm
Yeah.
visual.
Yeah.
I'm visual, and I learn by doing.
I'm definitely a lot more visual than auditory. I mean, I had a neuropsych professor that said we all have some of all of it. It's just kind
Right.
of different strengths of it. But
Like
Yeah.
for me, I have to do it. Like I seriously have to do it and fail, and then do it again, and then
Yeah.
then it's like better, and then I
Yeah,
do it again, and
yeah.
fail, then do it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think that. Why? That's. I think that at the very core of it, I think that's what the learning process is.
Right,
And that's
right.
kind of what I tried to like stress to my players. Like I had an argument with Bryson Chubbs actually after this season because they're kind of like they're blaming me for their performance when I'm in there. I don't want to like leak all of this. I'm kind of putting them on blast right now, but they wanted to blame me for their performance. And I was like, look, like I was in your guys' DMs all season. We're trying to, I was trying my best to get in touch with you, but at the end of the day, like if players aren't getting on the game and they're not wanting to practice, like they can't learn and fail,
Same thing with Peter to this weekend.
That's
This weekend, biggest learning curve I've ever seen for him, and I've never seen him so mad. Like he was really upset about Grants like not doing well because he did put the time in for Grants and he didn't do well. But then he gets to like this weekend, like him and Larson were like, I asked him upstairs, I was like, yo, like have you guys put in any practice? And they both look at each other, start laughing, and I'm like, well, what do you expect? Like, yeah, you were 1 point off like qualling, but like if you would have put the time in, you qual.
Oh,
100%. Yeah.
If you're getting 13th without practicing, you put the time in, you're getting 12th easily.
Well, and it's good that they have somebody around them like to tell them that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like a lot of these guys when they're young, and because I know like when I was a teenager, I thought the same thing. Like you just see somebody that's performing at like a high level, and you don't, that's all you see. You don't see the hours and hours of countless work and grinding like that they put in. So like, it'd be frustrating at times too, because it's like, damn, like you're kind of fucking yourself.
Well,
like,
and I get this all the time, like streaming and shit, and like just people are asking how do you improve, and I'm like, what do you mean how do you improve? Like how play the game. Like obviously like there are like some things where it's like this drill helps with this skill or whatnot, but like at the end of the day it's like play the game, make mistakes, learn. Like that's what you're doing it's like process of elimination of like every mistake that you can possibly make. I mean that's what reps are, is encountering every situation so that you can know what to do in every situation. I mean,
well, that's the issue though that I think a lot of players run into is they kind of just like they'll try to play the game for fun, or they'll try to play kind of just mindlessly, and they think that it's just like time in equals results, and that's not the truth. Like it's efficient time in. It's how like as somebody who's playing 4 to 6 hours a day, who's practicing efficiently, will get way further than somebody who's playing 12 hours a day, just mindlessly grinding.
And that goes for like literally everything too. That goes for sports too.
Yeah.
Like for basketball, like
Well,
if someone's like on the court, like training for fucking 12 hours.
Yeah.
I mean, a good example just in gaming is like look at the arena grinder guys versus the guys that actually like practice comp. Like yes, if you're playing 12 hours a day, like you're gonna get better, but it's like how much like exponentially better could you get if you were doing like focused and like controlled practice?
Right.
Where you're looking at like we did a VOD, like we start our week. So like I'll leak a little bit of like what my process is with players. So we'll have so at the beginning of the season, we'll put in a bunch of time to kind of like learn the meta, learn the new items, and try to kind of like brainstorm and predict like how we think that those items are going to like impact the meta.
Yeah.
But then after that, and then we'll start practicing, we'll start scrimming, we'll do that kind of stuff. But then after that, once they start getting into tournaments and stuff like on a weekly basis, we do a VOD review session. We look at their mistakes for that week, and then I kind of tailor their practice around that. And then we'll use a combination of like live coaching and scrims. I have screenshots of like different scenarios in game. I'm really big too on like studying player behavior. So like just literally like I'll pull up games for them, and I'll like just pull up the map, and I'll just have them like watch like each player's behavior, like rotating from like different spots.
Dude, the broadcast brought that up about Peter and Booga. This is just like a recent thing I saw when they played together. When they would rotate like inward from Slappy, they would get on like the I don't know, it was like where the ice like met where the grass was. They would literally build like a fucking 10 square base like all the way up, and they would just tag everybody. but the map would just like move away from them.
Yep.
And they literally brought it up.
And it's
because
because they didn't study player behavior.
Yeah,
They would have known that if they had done their homework.
Yeah, and it was it's crazy because they did that during every week. And then it gets to Grands, and then it was just like boom.
Yeah, and everything changes.
Yeah, everything changed because they actually studied it.
Exactly.
Crazy. And
That's what you have to. Well, you have to also understand like what is like because Grands is like the finals every week there's a bit of randomness. So about the bottom 10 to 15 teams kind of like all rotate through.
Yeah.
At least that's kind of like what I've observed on NA. Maybe it's a bit different. I haven't done as much work on EU because obviously I only have like one team over there. But and I've worked with multiple teams on NA, but definitely on NA, it's like the bottom 10 to 15 teams are all rotating like every single week. So you really have to. Grands is really like specific, and you have to do a lot of homework on the teams that are like landing around you and figure out like all of their like pathing and stuff for different zones. And then not only that, you also have to come up with like counter strategies and figure out like, okay, if they change and they make adjustments, like how are we going to handle that? And I know like last season, Hammer season, Chapter 4, Season 1 with Bryson Chubbs, like we actually had we like second day we struggled a bit because Kanata and them were laning faulty, and there was two teams laning faulty, and they both changed up their strategies when we were like we were just full farming like faulty.
I talked about that with Cooper when we did his episode. Like day 2 and day 1 Grands are completely different tournaments.
Totally different tournaments.
And it's like and I always say, because a lot of the more casual competitive viewers will go in and say, okay, we know who's going to win after day 1. I go, no, you don't. You have no clue, because like somebody can build a lead. But I mean, like, who was it, man? I think it was one of the PL guys, but they had like 200 points day 1, and then they had like a 340 point day 2.
Yeah.
And like, it's like, who's going to do the most homework? That's who's going to have the best day 2. Like,
I can't, dude, during Invitational too, I was up from, I think, after the tournament ended, like 11 p.m. until like 5 a.m. VOD reviewing and like sending notes to guys, because it was like you had that much to do.
Yeah, right.
Dude, it was Hen. Hen went from like 48th to 3rd. Or
Yeah.
like, or like
Yeah.
5th
Yeah,
or
at
8th or
Invitational, yeah.
something like that. It was a crazy jump.
Yeah.
So I talked to him after, and I was like, yo, like, what'd you do that was different? He goes, dude, I just played my regular gameplay. He's like, day 1, I was just off. He goes, day 2, I went home, I looked at it.
I heard a little bit more backstory there. Like he got some help from Captor.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, So what Captor did was Captor went in and he did exactly what I just said. He went in and he studied the teams around them, and he told them, hey, like, here's the timings on these teams. Like, here's when you can look at them for Surge, and like just gave them new ideas for how to play Surge. And
it's like scouting for sports, and like I wanted to get into that because I feel like so many people, especially in the back end, and I find this so interesting because I've talked a lot about this, of like the parallels between the sports industry and the esports industry, because like and we'll get into like the whole our esports athletes, and people don't like that word, they don't like calling it esports, but I'm talking more about the parallels between like a lot of the people that are taking like the esports jobs right now were in the sports industry, NFL, MLB, something like that, or like. But I feel like a lot of us have sports backgrounds.
Yeah, definitely.
Especially in the backside of it. Like,
I think everybody does.
Which I find is super interesting because we all were competitors, we all played, and now we're all in like the backside positions of all of this, like of all the like competitive stuff.
Trying to do the adult jobs,
Yeah, and a lot of the like FN kids, not necessarily. Like it's not as strong of a correlation that I've found.
I still technically do sports.
Yeah. Well, and like I was a multi-sport athlete. You played.
Yeah, I played tennis and lacrosse.
Yeah.
I played basketball too.
Yeah.
You played football.
I played football. And I mean, I obviously was an active kid, so I was always playing like basketball and swimming and doing stuff like that.
Well,
so
and there are, and we'll talk a lot about this, I'm sure, but like it's weird because we're only like a few years, 4 or 5 years older, let's say, than like the average FN Pro age, if you like.
Yeah.
But there's almost like a generational difference. Like there's a very distinct difference between like I talked about this with Cooper. Someone my age and someone Cooper's age, it's like night and day. Yeah. We're completely different. And I feel like that a lot of that was like the technological revolution is like in full swing. So like those like formative years, like you're late, like when you get into double digits, 10, and then like into your like preteens, like having like the iPhone be around or like you know all that stuff makes a massive
Well,
difference
dude,
in how we develop.
Even the change, like from like what I graduated in 2020.
So did I.
Yeah, like the change from then, like they did not have Chat GBT and all that for schools
Yeah.
and stuff like that. They did not
It's
have
a culture
any of
thing
that.
too.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
saying is there's a kid in my Discord named Vorza. I don't know if you guys know him. He does content, and he is I think 14 or 13.
Yeah.
And he like always asks me for help, and he's like really mature for his age.
Yeah.
Like, he does content. When I was 12 and 13, I was playing with like cars in my basement.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but those are the kids that are really like when I have kids that come to me and they're like self-motivated and they're like asking me questions, I'm like, dude, like I almost want to coach you for free.
Dude, he's well spoken too.
Yeah.
Like he's like doesn't cuss and he uses like sir.
Yeah.
It is so hard to find those type of like
this
people.
industry highlights prodigies because they
Yeah,
can
yeah.
actually do something. They're not gate-kept from it by their age or by their like or whatever. But I mean, like even that though, like you were saying, and it's a weird double-sided coin because yes, like if we were around, if we were all 14, 15, 16 now, we would probably be successful in this industry. Like
one way or another.
Yeah, but it's like
exactly.
at the same time, I feel like the fact that I was a kid who was still like playing baseball in my cul-de-sac, like growing up, or like doing sports, going outside, like I wasn't sitting on my PC 8 hours a day, like in those really important years of my childhood, I feel like set me up a lot better. I feel like I was ready for the internet, the age of the internet when it came, and I think that's the generational difference that I'm talking about of like these kids were not ready for the age of the internet when it came, and they're like, I mean, that like you'll see some of them. I mean, some of them are good about it, but some like they're lacking social skills, or that like like they cannot talk to people in person, or like whatever. Like they're living their entire lives online, and like that works for what they're doing in the industry. But like it's like I feel like a much more well-rounded person because I got into esports after I developed, when I was already kind of like an adult, really, and like. They're not.
You learn more like lifelong skills that you can. Lifelong skill for me. I look for like 5 things. So like when I find people, like, for example, like when you're scouting for talent in anything, like there's I mean, for example, Smacks, great example.
Yeah.
The kid's talented.
Yeah.
One of his weaknesses is he gets demotivated.
Yeah.
It's a huge weakness for him. But like one of the things I look at is one.
Smacks, I feel you on that, by the way.
Yeah, no, 100%.
I think we all do.
We all do.
Yeah.
Like,
Well,
everybody has those moments.
I mean, we'll talk about it.
This whole season was a season of demotivation for me. Like Chapter 4, Season 2. That's why my teams didn't perform as well.
Well, and we talked about the fucking like. What I was with you, right? When we talked about like, or maybe I was with you at Jank, but like we talked about like those like waves of like just like utter sadness where you just feel like quitting everything. Yeah. Don't trust your thoughts after 9 p.m. It was you that I was talking to. Yeah.
That's a good statement.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you
Save it.
go a little deeper.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like that's what I was saying. Like developing lifelong skills is so important to like actually last in the industry because people come and go, and people are like they're people are frauds. Like
that's where I
say
stress.
one thing.
That's where I stress too. Like I was talking about earlier. Like you can mindlessly grind the game for 12 hours, or you can set up a schedule and say I'm going to practice from this time to this time, and we're going to figure out on this day what we need to practice for the week.
Yeah.
And you do it that way, and it's just like you accelerate.
It's with intent.
Exactly.
Well, that's what I tell Oliver, because Oliver goes live every day for like 12 hours, and I tell him,
Which
dude,
is nuts.
He's not living his life.
Well, it's that, but it's also if you stream 12 hours a day, your YouTube's not gonna grow.
No,
your other socials
you don't have
aren't
time
gonna
for
grow.
anything else.
Exactly. So he's like telling
3 hours of targeted content is better than 12 hours of like the same
Just
Fortnite
fucking around.
over and over and over
well,
again.
he tells me he's like, well, I need to stream these hours, but we can just do like VODs. But I go, who's gonna watch what little kid is gonna go watch an hour VOD? Let's be honest here.
Right.
And like these little kids, what they want to see is like what Peter does. Doesn't stream at all, but when he does stream, it's quality time. It's like it's just like quantity and demand.
It's when he does a big token or something.
When he does a big token, people want to see that. When he places, people want to see that.
Yeah.
It's just stuff like that. And like I said, like developing those lifelong skills. Like for me, if you can edit and you can record on a camera and you can do thumbnails, you can do all that. Then you're more valuable than literally 99.9% of the comm. Like you are more valuable to anybody.
Yeah.
An organization would pick you up. If I could do any of that, like if I did all that, I'm just as valuable to NRG than anybody else.
Right.
Because
That's a big like content editing. That's probably the most secure thing that you can do in
this
the
industry.
scene. Yeah,
because it transfers really easily. Like if
we're in the age of social media. Every company has people that does that. Like
everybody needs editors, and
Yeah.
they need good ones.
Well, well, my thing is like I slowly get into it. So like right now, like obviously the camera, like that was one thing. Now another time I had one of my editors from my content team like take his time out of his day to be like sit there and set up my keybinds, like figure out how to edit.
Yeah.
So now I edit all of Peter's second channel, all me. I edit all.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
But like I wanted to do it because it's like they're like it's like shitty videos, but it's like the videos will get views because it's Peter.
Yeah.
But it's also like for
It's
me,
you learning.
I get to learn.
Yeah.
I get to learn and get better as I go, so I can develop that skill.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Like I did Elige his announcement video for Elite. I
Very talented player, by the way.
I wanted to like edit that because I wanted to learn how to make a good announcement video and try to like work on an announcement video like just so like the next one I do it can be even like
even better.
You know what I mean?
Right. Well, we should be. I mean, we should be developing our skills.
That's why I coached zero builds in this previous Dreamhack. Like I wanted to play, so I split it up obviously, and like I had a lot of fun doing it. I also discovered that I'm actually much better at zero build than I thought I was.
Oh, nice.
But I mean, that just comes. I did like a good. I think I probably put in about 10 to 15 hours just this week alone trying to get these guys like prepped up. Unfortunately, they didn't qual, but they're both like, we developed a relationship like throughout these past couple weeks.
That qual is hard.
That qual was hard.
I do not care what anybody says. That qual was hard.
That qual was. I mean, look at how many good players didn't qualify.
And I think one thing about the zero builds thing is part of it is the expectation going in because so many of the team ones, like you said, like they laughed. It's like
they don't
think
put
that
the
it's
time
easy.
in and they think it's gonna be easy.
Yeah.
And all these little all these people like
it's a different game.
It is a different game. There's different priorities. There's different things you have to think about. Like yes, some of the fundamentals are the same, and we even talked about that when we were like doing the broadcast of like there are some principles that we could see that are translated from builds, but there are totally different things that you have to prioritize, like utility.
Fighting is totally different.
You don't have to think about utility in builds because your utility is your builds. It's like it's a completely different game.
It is the most boring game to watch. I'd rather watch.
I said that too.
I would much rather watch 50v50, like 50 pros on North America versus 50 pros in EU Team Rumble than watch that. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a different game.
I swear to God, bro. Or even like the pit, bro. I'd rather watch them play the pit than that shit, bro. I'm just being honest, bro.
It's fun to play. I love zero build tournaments playing. I hate watching it because it is. It's not exciting.
Dude, it's really just a different game mode, like realistically.
Yeah.
And I think the end games can be really exciting. They're really fast paced. They just end too quickly.
Dude, the bubbles. I'm so tired of seeing those damn bubbles. I've seen way too many.
The bubbles, though, like I almost feel like those are an item that are never gonna leave zero build.
They
can't.
They're
just
they're
integral to the way that the game works. They're integral to the game
kind of
mechanics.
Like they kind of have.
Unless they come up with like. So I actually think the future of zero build is going to. Do you guys remember those build presets that they were teasing like a year ago?
Yeah.
I think that's the future of like an alternate game mode because I don't think you can. I don't think you can keep up this success of like the build mode given like the mechanics that players have developed. Like they would be really upset if like I think that you would see a mass exodus from the game if they ever changed like the core building mechanics.
Well,
but
even the delay, the build delay. Remember they talked about
changed
that?
It from 0.05
they changed turbo building. I think that was the most upset I've ever seen the comm. Like hands down. Like even the no siphon thing, people were not near as upset as the turbo builds because it fucked with something that like
it was
a core fundamental to the game.
Yeah, it made it fun. That's what made it fun.
Yeah,
it made you able to get better and develop new skills. Like, dude,
and Epic's like
created a massive skill
Epic
gap.
stumbles upon fucking greatness all the time. They didn't mean to do that. They didn't mean to create the most technical game of all time. They didn't mean. I mean, really, they were a PvE developer. That like Fortnite was a PvE game.
Yeah, if you ever played Save the World, it was very like PvE based.
I will say I have a lot more respect for Epic after the after party and Invitational.
Yeah.
Like, speaking of the employees, we should
come back to that then.
Let's come back to it. Keep going.
But
so what I was saying is I think the future of zero build is like the having the pre-build options.
Well, because then it's more like what people miss. The nostalgic like myth sitting in a tower in season 1.
Yeah, you can still harvest the materials and instead of like I would like to see them develop like that into a game mode because then it's like you get a battle royale where like you can't just like save yourself from like full tarping like from one zone to the next. Like you have to actually like there is still like kind of like the
it's a middle ground between like where zero builds is now and builds.
Exactly.
And it also that game mode also like no builds technically like you have to sit behind trees and bubbles. Like dude, people popping through bubbles, popping out, popping in. Like it's so boring to watch. There's nothing.
Dude, I was falling asleep at the camera.
I'm sure there's nothing skillful about that. It's like who has better aim, and it's like can you run forward and run backward faster?
Yeah, and that's the thing about builds that I think is so appealing to the people that still play the game, and why we're so addicted to it is because it's like it's so complicated and it takes so much mastery. You're never done with it. Like builds. I mean, you think even from a mathematical standpoint, and I'm a fucking nerd for this, but like you have 4 different types of builds. Not even getting into the edits. You think about the 4 different types of builds, and then the grid system. That's literally probably trillions, maybe quintillions of combinations that you can have. Yeah. And then you add edits to that, and it's literally like
and then you have to add in the ability to read and anticipate what a player is going to do.
Right. So I mean, you literally have damn near infinite possibilities for everything that you can do. You'll never master that, and like that's I think the appeal of it is there's always something to be getting better at for them. And like I mean, think about you talk about where the game has come. I mean, you watch like a chapter 2 montage now, and you're like, holy shit, this kid would be terrible now. You know, you could watch a CS:GO video from 10 years ago and watch a clutch, and you're like, yeah, that's still like solid, even decent now. Yeah, like
the evolution's a lot slower in those games because there's not like
there aren't as many complex mechanics.
Exactly,
like, it gets to such a like an infinitesimal gap of like. There's not much. They can't get much better. Like it's like it's more like they're almost perfect, and then like it's who's gonna make the mistake. Whereas,
it's almost like I guess like as each generation goes on and like training methods get better too. Like I mean, you can increase like marginally speaking, like you can increase players' reaction times and stuff like that. So you can increase like some natural skills, but for the most part, like as far as the game itself goes, like. Those tactical shooters are so much now. Obviously, there's a lot of like different. I don't want to say that those games are basic, obviously, because I don't want to like.
Well, it doesn't mean that there's not skill, but it just means like it's different because it's so it has less layers, it has less dimensions to it. There's less things to master. Like take a CS:GO, game knowledge, movement, aim. Yeah, that's it. That's all you're developing. And like I'm not saying that's easy. In some ways it makes it almost harder because that means that there are only those things that you are trying to lap somebody in, like aim, you talk about some of the best aimers in the world. Like that's such a small gap now,
it
like
really is.
that you have to like try and conquer. So and like that's kind of what's getting at is like when you have so few dimensions to it, it's more about who makes more mistakes. Like they're damn near perfect, all of them, like those CS:GO pros or whatever. Like, but
I was gonna say the skill ceiling is so much higher for Fortnite.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It is.
Like, it's crazy because you're never always gonna be like
you
said, perfect, like near.
Well, and if you stop playing the game, like you stop grinding, like you see how fast players like fall off.
Yep.
Like Mongrel took a break.
Like you'll always need to catch up.
Yeah, like
Mongrel.
Mongrel.
Somebody quit. Who else quit? So who's recently somebody quit?
Oh,
like recently.
Like a
someone really good.
Like,
yeah, like not like a tier 1. Oh well. You could say a tier 1, but like they fall. Dude, if you quit, you fall behind like easily.
Oh yeah, like
easily.
I mean,
it
people,
happens within a season.
People ask me because like I mean, and this is like a weird phenomenon, but and Aussie gets this question all the time, and I feel terrible for him because like Aussie gets asked by like the Fortnite drones, like Aussie, I hate the game, but like I don't know if I should quit. Like, what should I do? And he's like, dude, if you don't like it, you don't have to play.
Oh, yeah.
And there's a thing. I think a lot of these kids,
Fortnite, obligated to play it.
Yeah, it's their first. It's like your first love. Like it's their first like thing that they've like no life. They're like fallen in love with, and like they don't know how to let it go. I mean, for a lot of them, it really is probably the first thing in their life that's been that important to them, and like they don't know how to deal with that. And we see that like that only gets worse when you have like money on the line or you have a career on the line. I mean, it's like when these people are tier 1 and they're torturing themselves because they're like
relating like even to me, right? Fortnite, like esports, I didn't do any other game for esports. Like I haven't done any other game, and Fortnite was kind of like the first interest I had. And now leaving it is it's fucking hard. Like leaving esports, like I already said, like right after Dallas, I'm quitting. I'm leaving esports just because I didn't get like a full-time contract. But it's kind of like that. It was so hard to let go, and I thought about it for like since the start of the year.
Yeah, but that's a decision that you had to make.
Yeah.
Well, like one of the things that I could say is like just because I don't have a full-time contract doesn't mean I'm going to leave because it's like at the bottom of the barrel right now. Like esports is like at the bottom of the barrel.
We're in the biggest dip that we're going to be in. I mean,
that's why
that was
that's
also the reason why.
But that's
but you can come back. I mean, I was talking to you about this. Like videography and photography, you will never ever be out of.
Oh yeah.
I want to hear what Cmills has to say.
Yeah.
Dude, we're in the bottom of the barrel right now, but it's
Yeah.
like the people who stick through the bottom of the barrel and stick through the hard times are gonna make it out on
Yeah.
top.
Well,
And
that's you know what's funny is like before we started the podcast, like I'm looking around, like this is like the Joey Diaz clip. Do you guys know who Joey Diaz is?
Yeah.
The all you need is 3 bad motherfuckers so you can take over the world. That's the clip.
Is that the same
like,
guys that get up cocksuckers?
Get up,
Okay.
cocksuckers,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
Monday.
Yeah.
Let's get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same guy. So, but I was looking around the room and I was like, you know, because I got like, you know, this DreamHack like really like reinstilled my confidence, like getting to talk about to a lot of the players and see that like, you know, the judgments that they hold for me is like surround me as a coach and not as a person.
Yeah.
You know, and so being able to separate myself from my career was like I think was an awesome like thing that came out of this DreamHack.
Yeah.
So that really like reinvigorated me and remotivated me to like keep going. But I'm looking around this room like as we're sitting down to do this podcast, and I'm like, all you need is 3 bad motherfuckers. You can change the world.
No, I mean this like not just us, but I'm talking about like this.
Yeah, we got 6 in here. But you know what I'm saying.
We and I think I was talking to you about this. We're the future of esports. Like
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
We're
Yeah.
building. We're building what the industry is going to be because we're staying in it,
Yeah.
and we're passionate about it, and that's what it was me and Sad, but we were talking about like the corporatization of it.
Oh no,
and
that was us. That was us. We talked about it too. Well, us 3 talked about it when we were sitting there. Like
Yeah.
for example,
Yeah.
I was gonna say for example, like one of the things is like being corporate isn't bad. It's not a bad thing because there are pros and cons to it.
Yeah.
Like for example, Booga being ran the way Booga's ran, like smile and sell a product.
Yeah.
That's his personality. He's meant for that.
Yeah.
And Fortnite couldn't have had a better person win the World Cup.
Oh,
than him.
absolutely.
And that-
imagine the chaos if Clicks had won World Cup.
Oh,
yeah, that was
oh my
exactly what I
God.
was going to say.
Even that. Well, I was saying like look at a guy like Psalm. If Psalm wins the World Cup,
Dude, I did the same
He's
hypothetical.
Like, kind
with
of
someone.
like no offense, but like he's not a marketer.
well, it's
You know
well
what I
that's
mean?
one thing, but the second thing is also is like he quit. Like
Yeah.
if the
Yeah.
World Cup
Yeah.
winner quits, it's
Oh
like
my god,
oh my
that would be
God.
disastrous for the game.
Exactly. Well, that's what I'm saying. So they couldn't have had a better winner, so they lucked out there.
Yeah.
But another thing I would say is like
The script was good. No, I'm
yeah. No, but like with Clicks, like he's very, very outgoing. And
Yeah.
he walks the line. Like he walks it.
Well, he says what he's like.
He says what's on his mind. He's not fake. He's not
That's what I
fake
was gonna
about it.
say. Like that's one thing that I feel like when I look at Clicks, like I relate with him on that because like I'm a very emotional person. Like if anybody's ever watched my streams or like played the game with me, you know that. And like I see a lot of the same thing in Clicks, and I love Clicks to death. Like he's one of like as far as content like
have you met him?
Yeah,
Or-
I met him at Invitational. Yeah, we talked a
Okay.
little bit. Yeah. But he was like just from an outside perspective, like looking in, like he's like I feel like he works so hard, like I feel like he deserves everything he has.
No, but he doesn't just work hard. He surrounds himself with the right people because
Yeah.
that's what's most important.
He has good discernment.
Yeah, well, and like I said, he has Feldy and he also has Xavier, and both of them, like I've met both of them. Even his dad, like we sat down. It was actually at the after party when I was like saying really good things about Epic.
Yeah.
We sat down for probably 3.5 hours, and we sat there and just talked about business and just what needs to happen moving forward, what he provides to the game, and what he also provides outside of the game, and how he can sell a product as well.
Yeah.
Because like him and Booga's styles are like night and day, 2 separate things.
Oh, absolutely.
But they both do the same thing. And and that's what's impressive. Because like I know that now he's with Vayner, like Darren Glover also works with them. And speaking with Darren, he's like, yeah, it is night and day. Like I have to talk to Clicks, like sometimes like calm him down, like make sure like he's like not cussing. Like what they had him up on the thing, and he like literally sent Feldy up there and was like, yo, you can't be saying that shit. Your mic is being projected in front of kids. Like,
Oh,
you can't be.
yeah.
Like he'd be sitting there, he's like, there's a fucking guy right there, and then he'd be like, oh, I'm at Frick. There's a frickin' guy right there.
Yeah.
And like have to like recover
Yeah.
but that's just his personality.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's all for selling your product. But back to the invitational thing, like even with Epic, my respect for Epic has gone way up.
I felt the same way.
When I went to that after party and everybody's there, like it was like the top of the top in the room, and we were sitting there, and an Epic employee comes up to me and goes, "How was the event this weekend?" And I was like, to be honest, it was impressive.
Yeah.
For the first one, it was impressive after COVID. And they're like, what would you want changed? Like, and literally took out a notepad and started writing it down.
That's
everything
fucking
I
awesome.
went to everybody
Should
in
have
the room.
told them more coach involvement.
Well, what I said, I sort of went that way. I said, we have to include organizations somehow.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
whether that's you paying for a franchise spot and you getting like an org skin where you can develop the skin and put it in there.
I don't know why they haven't done that yet. Like, it's free money for Epic and for the orgs.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you franchise the skin, like, everybody's like, oh, add the gun skins, add all this, but it's like it's not that easy. Like like if you franchise a spot. So let's say, for example, Kwani and Peter duo, Elite duo. Let's say they franchise it. Elite pays like, let's say $25,000, pays like a small franchising fee and gets their skin in the game and they stick in it. Let's just say they cancel their membership in a year. That goes away. The skin goes away. It's that simple. And and it's like a subscription fee, but they are also making money off it. So I was like, why would you not do that?
Yeah.
And it's easy. You don't have to do anything.
Well, I
they
mean,
do the designs.
kids are putting fucking Dig or Elite or anything in their name anyway. They want to rep it. They want to be fans of something. I mean, that's
that's like a big thing that like I think Epic is just like hamstringing themselves because I think I also think the people at the top, like the people that look at the P&Ls like for Epic, they're disconnected from their teams from what I've heard
for sure.
And so that sucks for the teams, you know, and I feel bad for them because I've worked in a corporate setting like that. I know what that feels like.
Well, even
that's where like Hogman Hogman catches so much shit. It's not Hogman. Like
it's not him,
he's getting cut off at the balls by fucking corporate,
absolutely.
you know, by suits. Like,
but it's all they picked him up because it's like a community thing.
Yeah,
like, that's what it is. It's like
he knows exactly what everyone wants, and
it's the whole thing. It's just PR. It's
he's
like,
behind so much fucking red tape. It's not funny.
And he just gets shit on left and right. But it's like it's not him. And at the end of the day, it's like they also the game. If you look at like Rocket League, for example, Psyonix developed Rocket League, built it, franchised it, and then sold it to Epic. And now it's like Epic hasn't really done much with it. But they still support the skin still.
Right.
And I understand it's a whole different game, but at the same time, it's doable.
It's the same concept.
It is the same concept.
But to
100%.
talk, and that would be we talked about that with Vaft, like when we had Vaft on, because it was like if org involvement were to happen, it would be a night and day for competitive.
I mean, know.
But speaking of competitive and speaking of Invitational specifically, like Invitational was honestly incredible. Like it was really well run. There were obviously there were mishaps. There are gonna be weird things where you're like, that was odd at like every event.
Yeah.
But Invitational for me renewed my confidence. I mean, like, one, it was my first LAN, and like that was huge because it was like I never called for it a community before because I didn't like that because I didn't feel like a community, but like I felt like I could have walked up to anyone at Invitational and had an hour-long conversation and loved it. Like,
100%.
But it's like what you said, like it kind of like it jump-started so many careers.
Oh,
too.
for sure.
Like it jump-started mine. You said it jump-started yours.
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Invitational was like a big step forward for me too.
Yeah. Because you were working with Tripper, and then he got. I mean, what
were you?
Oh, they got fourth. I don't like saying I got fourth because I didn't do as much work as like I would for like when I was working like with a team through a full season. Yeah, I was there.
Were you there in the practice lounge and all that stuff too, or no?
No, I didn't because Trip hit me up like probably like 2 weeks before Invitational, so like I wasn't tight with them like that, and so like that's one thing for like this year. Like I'm really gonna be busting my ass this season because like I want to be there. I want to be in the practice room. Like I want to get exposure to like
life-changing experience in the practice room.
Yeah, that's what
Even
I'm saying.
Even for me, dude.
Yeah.
Like as Peter was like trying to not get me to be the plus one. I'm like, no, dude, you were putting me on that damn list. Like I have not worked all this time for you
to not go to that.
And
I might have a similar conversation with Soref, to be honest, because he's my OCE guy that's already qualified cope, and I'm kind of like, dude, I need to be there.
Like, his plus one should be the person he's closest with. Like, even for me, like Peter and his dad were there, obviously, like his guardian. But then for me, it was like I was the plus one. Being able to walk in there and go in the room, because like at DreamHack, people can have an ego. Like there's randoms in the room. They're zero ego. I'd walk in the room, I could have a conversation with any pro, and they would talk to me because that's like. You're like you said,
because of the
baddest
exclusivity
motherfuckers
of it.
in the room. It was like literally the top 100. Dude, there was a reason. Yeah, there was a whole reason to be there. You had a reason, and it was like, but you're proven. Like you've proven you've done it. Like it wasn't like a bailout. But, like even Sven couldn't even go in the room because he wasn't a plus one, but he was there. So they had to take their PCs, like Fatch and Pam2, up to the room to VOD review. They had to go up to the room.
Wow.
They wouldn't let him in. But dude, it was so strict to get back there because they didn't want anybody to fuck with the players. And so what we did, we snuck Jarian back there somehow. We snuck him back there, and
Jarian's a fucking G.
Dude,
I love Jarian.
I love Jarian too.
Epic. I mean, whoever does
Jarian,
that.
if you end up watching this video, by the way, I want to live coach you for content next season.
Dude, whoever could possibly fuck that up. They were like, yeah, we don't want content creators back here. How'd you get back here? And I was sitting there, I'm like, dude, this guy is the face of competitive Fortnite.
Yeah.
Literally.
Like he,
Every fucking kid and their grandma knows Papa Jerry and bro.
well,
Like,
exactly. But we snuck him back there, and he was like asking me, he's like, "How do we do it?" I'm like, just follow my lead, take this, and we like went back there.
Yeah.
I pray I don't get in trouble for this, but it was so good. He had so much content. Like, dude, one of his videos did like 1 million views. It was like we surprised Booga there. I recorded all of it.
Yeah.
But dude, they loved it. But then we got to the event and they loved him there. Like they loved him. Like, they had him do like signatures and stuff like that.
He was a last minute replacement in the meet and greet, right?
No, he wasn't.
He wasn't.
It was Jaith was.
Jaith was.
Jaith hopped up there and I was like, he's like, yo, should I just like start signing stuff? So I like grabbed like all the invitational things, like slapped them on the desk and threw the pen over there. I'm like, yes, just start signing.
Oh yeah.
Just act like you're somebody.
Dude,
Fucking act like you're supposed to be there.
He had the C9 jersey on too, so all the kids were like,
oh, that's perfect.
they're like, who are you? Like, oh, I'm a no build pro, and then he started signing stuff.
Oh,
and it just went all the way
that's
down
dope.
the line.
Yeah, that's dope.
Oh, we'll touch on PSG. Fuck, we'll touch on PSG.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, we definitely need to
what
get
I
to
wanted
that
to
one.
talk about with Invitational was the vibe. Like, I wasn't in the back rooms or anything because I was still so fucking unknown. But like, even the vibe, just as a spectator, one was magical. Like feeling a sense of community, but also like it renewed my faith in Epic because it was like that was the beginning of like, oh, they fuck with comp again, and like they really care about developing it, and like it was a massive first step in like a new trajectory of competitive. Where
I don't know if you've seen the clip of Donald Muster saying like he's getting interviewed and he's like, will Fortnite have competitive? And he's like, 100% we will support competitive.
yeah,
And that was like, but that was a long time. It was like 7 8 years ago.
If
Those
it
are the
becomes an
stars of
esport,
Fortnite.
we'll support it being an
but, like,
esport. Yeah,
Even like that though, like even for him, I mean, I wish he was more involved with the game than he
Yeah.
is. Like I understand there's a ton of games he works with, but like he should be way more involved, especially with Fortnite because it's so big. It's so marketable.
It last year it brought in what, like $5.8 billion in revenue.
well, dude, remember when they did the fucking Ukraine thing? It was like $134 million in like 2 or 3 days, if I remember those numbers correctly.
It is, it's an insane amount of money that the game is generating, and to be generating that.
Yeah,
I actually looked at the charts because I got interested in their revenue. They took a dip during, like a small dip during COVID, but I think they dipped down to like $4 billion or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
God, like we
$4
lost
billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Like we lost $1 billion. Like,
Yeah.
but at the end,
I can't even say a $1 billion.
it's so much money. Like you
it's
can't even.
inconceivable. You can you really
If you had
can't.
it here in cash, it would probably fill up this room.
Yeah, it would
Oh,
probably fill the
100%.
house. Like,
Yeah, 100%,
literally.
yeah.
Like, no, but and for it's so disappointing because Fort by far has the potential to be the biggest esport, bar none.
By far,
Bar
without
none.
a doubt.
I mean,
Look
Yeah.
at Dignitas' social medias. They're in League of Legends, Rocket League.
Yep.
Fortnite clears all of them.
yeah,
And I don't see why I don't like it would be just to go back to the org skins thing. Like that's exactly what LCS or not LCS. It was either Dota 2, like their world championship.
They're crowdfunded, right?
It's crowdfunded.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So they actually take a cut of like org skins and stuff like that, and they put it into the prize pool. And 1 year they got up to like $42 million.
and Dota is one of the biggest prize pools
Ever.
in gaming.
Yeah, like a guy
Ever.
for-
Well, look
Yeah,
at when Fortnite was first around. Like they weren't an esport, but it was like who was the best player. You had teams like Parallel and other people getting like 300K, 400K on YouTube, which is like
Yeah,
that alone. If you're getting those numbers on YouTube,
yeah,
that can run an organization itself.
Right.
Like, that can
Yeah.
fund
Right.
it itself, and you're getting paid like on the back end. So it's like, why would you not do it? It's
Yeah,
so
yeah.
much more healthy for the community.
No, I think we'll see. I definitely think though, like you're saying, like at the beginning, I think we're gonna see a rebound within the next couple of years. I was
Yeah.
actually talking to Arab about this at Atlanta, where he was saying like it's probably gonna be another 2 or 3 years.
yeah,
It's gonna be rough for a little bit.
yeah.
But I think for the guys like us who stick through it, like
Yeah.
we're gonna be that much stronger. Like when the
Yeah.
next upswing comes.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it's another game.
Well,
like,
we're
even
like
if it
buying the
isn't-
dip. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
well,
you're
even-
buying the dip.
I mean,
Yeah,
even if it
like-
isn't Fortnite though, like developing, like for me, like developing coaching skills, like I can
Yeah.
go and like the coaching aspect, like transfers.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what.
Oh, my
game
goal
it
with
is.
content is to be variety anyway.
Right,
Like
exactly.
I love
And
Fortnite,
then
and I will never.
Cmills, like for you as a manager like that, you can manage
Any content creator,
any
yeah.
content creator, any esports player. Like it
I don't
doesn't
even care.
matter.
I'm just talking like IRL. Like for example, Lena,
Yeah.
Lena, she plays Fortnite, but does
Dude,
a lot.
Lena
of
is-
Yeah, all of her money
Lena
is
fucking
generated from
kills,
IRL
bro.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
A lot of money. But
Well, and she's smart. She knows how to market. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like
I
she's,
think did we talk about it? I think
we
yeah,
talked
I
about
Yeah,
think-
Lena.
we talked. Yeah, we
Yeah.
talked about.
We talked
that.
about Lena,
Yeah.
like her G Fuel deal.
But dude,
It's fucking.
but she's
Insane.
like she's so cool. Like she's actually
No,
so
she is.
cool.
I totally had her pegged wrong, and I DM'd her and apologized to her that I had her pegged so incorrectly because I kind of like listened to what
Dude.
people had thought about her, like the perception.
I mean, it
yeah.
happens. We're
Yeah,
human beings,
that's what it is,
and,
yeah,
like
yeah.
we listen to people's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Well, and like I've been good about it before, but like I guess I just got sold on it for
Dude,
some reason. Like,
yeah, like if you actually like talk to her in a call,
Yeah.
like me and her have called with like Lawrence, who's like one of our
Yeah.
IRLs for hours.
Yeah.
And, like they both are just so nice.
yeah.
Like,
Oh,
so nice.
she's like one of the sweetest
Lawrence
people
is
I've
a good
ever
kid.
met.
Lawrence is great.
Yeah.
Like, that's somebody like I always talk to. I'm like, bro, I love you. Like,
Yeah.
you're amazing.
No, I mean, and I actually really want to talk about this earlier, but like it feels like in this industry, especially, there are two very distinct types of people, and it's like people who are passionate, do it for something bigger than themselves, like aren't just chasing the money or the clout or what, like people who are just in it because
They
they're
enjoy it.
passionate about it because they're like because it's their hobby or whatever.
fucking
Like,
clout chaser, Jank.
or yeah, or there's people who are very clearly like only in it to get clout, get money, and like get their bag and get out, and like.
Yeah, those people don't last.
No,
Like
they don't. They
I
don't.
actually
And
have seen that. You
It's
know, like,
weird because they're equally as successful at the beginning,
well,
or
it's funny
even
though,
more
'cause,
so.
Like a lot of the people at the top. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, it's funny though, because like a lot of the people at the top get like shit talked about them. You know, like you said, like with Lena, like
Yeah.
like people
Yeah.
will just like shit. But the more that I've talked to people at the top, like the more I'm like,
me too.
I get it.
Me too.
I get it. I get
Well,
why you're in the
and,
position
And
that you're
honestly,
in,
like
and you
I would-
deserve it.
I would say everyone that I've met that I would consider big at all, the public perception is damn near opposite of how they are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
100%.
yeah.
Like
Dude.
Peter, I'll say this for Peter. I didn't I thought for sure Peter was gonna be like way more socially awkward than
Yeah.
he was.
Yeah,
And then when I met it, like since I'm staying with him too, like he's a cool, like he's a nice kid. He's a cool kid, but he trolls, but like
yeah.
he's
He's
a funny
quiet.
kid. Yeah.
just
Well,
quiet.
there-
Yeah, he's
there's-
I think
quiet.
it's just a
There's
concept.
absolutely elements of like him in his
Yeah.
content,
Yeah.
like it. But it is. It's like there.
I think it's a consequence of being in the public eye.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
people like
Yeah.
you have so many people that come to you at different points in your career, and like their first impression of you, like everybody's first impression of you is
Yeah.
going to be different.
Yeah.
Dude.
And you got to recognize, like, for someone like me, like I only have I got follow botted, so like I have more followers on Twitter right now.
Oh,
Than
you
what I
got
actually
like
have. But I probably
5K.
have 4 to 5K.
Yeah.
I think I probably have like 4 to 5 like K like legit followers.
yeah.
And like that to me, I'm looking at that like, dude, I still have like I look at somebody like BloodX with like 36K, and I'm just like, dude, like I have such a small like it's so important
Yeah.
for me to make sure that like I'm constantly like
Mm.
trying to make a good like first impression,
Dude.
and like but that's so tough to like have to
Oh, I know.
maintain that like all the time.
Dude, Fox brought this up. He's like, dude, I thought you always hated me. Like he's like, you joined the call for like a second. Like
Oh.
I joined Squad FNCS, and I'd be like sit there, maybe like muted or quiet, and then
Yeah.
I'd just leave. And he'd be like, dude, well, like what the fuck are you doing? And then
I
Yeah.
think Fishcord probably felt the same way about me because I did that to them.
dude, yeah, probably. Like,
Yeah.
but as it is,
Yeah.
it's like that's what he said. And then he met me at invitation. He's like, dude, you're actually like cool, like a cool
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like I'm really busy. Like I mean, you guys
Yeah.
saw like
Yeah.
I had to take a call right before this. Like I was
Yeah.
out there on the phone.
Fox, I talked about that with Fox because he was like, dude, like, I didn't mean to like you or anything, like because we did an episode with him. He's like, dude, I really didn't mean to like ghost you or anything. He's like, I'm actually glad you reached out because like it's almost like now I have an excuse to like hang out with you. Like he was like,
Yeah.
because I have to be doing business all the time to maintain,
Well,
what I'm doing.
following in the like a similar vein, like I'm kind of that way. Like if I'm not coaching a team and like I haven't gotten a commitment from them, like I'm not gonna go out of my way to like force like to
Yeah.
like to prove like that I am
That you're
the-
worth it.
Yeah, that I'm the coach that I say that I am. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? And so
Yeah.
like, that's like, Peter was trolling me like whenever I got here, but that's like why my response was what it was. It's like I'm, that is the mentality that I take in every single day, and it's like, they see like my celebrations and stuff and how proud I am on social media, and then like I'm kind of more like reserved like in Discord calls with them because I don't. First of all, like that group of kids, they like to push a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't. I talked to you about this. Like I don't vibe with that very well. But then even beyond that, like if I don't have a commitment from a player of like, yeah, like I'm gonna work with you, like I don't feel the need to prove myself as a coach to anyone.
Well, they
like
like
I
to
know what
push.
I can do.
But that's kind of why I like working with them because like they like to push it and they push me to get better, and that's like sort of
Yeah,
like,
of course.
because like for like I could go work with somebody who's like fully committed, but I'm like, why would I do that when I can work with somebody who's harder to work with and like try and change them and develop them into somebody else or like develop their content? Because like for example, like Oliver, he streams 12 hours a day. He won't change, which is like fine, but I have to adapt to that and like get better. And like, but like I've been slacking recently with him because it's like I've been doing a ton of stuff like personally.
You can only
outside of
take
it.
but that's like that. Like again, I've done a lot of work in therapy. because I vibe with that like a lot. But I also look at that as like you can only go so far and do so much for
until
someone.
you're wasting your time.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
So it's like, so I feel like you shouldn't really feel bad. Like I don't like, because you're viewing it as like, oh, I'm being lazy, but like I don't think that way at all. Like from my perspective, from what you're saying is like you've reached out, you've tried to help him, and he's kind of like just being a dick about it and kind of denying the help.
Well, yeah, he kind of denies the help, one, but two, it's like I get it. Like that's all he's done for 3 years. So I completely get like why he's used to it, and I just try and like work around that.
It's comfortable though, but like a lot of times when somebody's pushing you to get, you're not gonna like it when somebody's pushing you to get out of your comfort zone.
Complacency is one of the biggest issues.
Dude, it's a killer. It's a killer.
These kids, especially. I mean, and a lot of it just comes down to age, lack of wisdom, lack of maturity. Like, but they don't understand. Like, like once you've like. Don't plateau. Don't allow yourself to plateau. And for me, like, it's not just from a career perspective. It's from like I treat this as an art. Like I treat this as like a craft that I hone. Like content creation is like even the podcast. You're telling me like you watched one of the earlier episodes and then you watched Fox's and it was like considerably better. And I'm like, yeah, that's the point. Like I've been learning and I've been getting better. And like we all should be doing that. And they don't. I don't feel like they understand that concept as much. And that. I feel like that's, again, like a cultural difference thing. Like, us in sports, we get that. Like, we were taught that. Like, everything, every rep can be better. Like, every skill can be improved upon. And, like, I don't feel like they have the same work ethic when it comes to that.
One of the things I think we all can relate with, I know Jake definitely can. Like, everybody looks around, and it's like, when you're not doing well, it's like, haha, like, funny. Like, you're like the joke, laughing stock.
Yeah.
And then you start doing well, and everyone's like, oh, shit.
Yeah,
and
everyone starts fucking with
you.
you.
But they don't want to talk about that, though. They don't want to talk about that.
No.
Dude. I remember everybody says shit on Pipeline. Everybody used to, and you know it too. And then finally he got a VAFT and shit started happening. And everyone's like, oh shit.
There's a lot of people even still that like a lot of pros that I feel like doubt me, and I'm just like, just
but people
let me
will always
work,
remember your lows. They'll hardly remember your wins.
Yeah. Well, fucking, do you know how many DMs like me, Jank, anyone from on Pipeline got today, bro? After like after we got 2 people to qual and like. After we had 7 people in finals, it's just like, yeah, dude, like, okay, like, nice, yeah. You only care when we're fucking,
like, even for like me, like I've had some like really bad lows. Like I've like fucked up on some videos and done some shit, and people are like laughing at me, like doing shit. But it's like
because people will always remember that kind of stuff.
But at the end of the day, it's like I'm doing better than the next kid they got next to me, so it's like I'm fine with that.
Well, part of it is
I'm doing better. My goal's always been be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah, right, 100%.
Like at the end of the day, man, like nobody else is in my situation. Nobody else has lived my life.
Yeah.
Like I'm one of one.
It's me against me.
Yeah. Like it's me against me.
I mean, all you could do is get better each day.
Even like even on like, like when I'm sitting there and I'm in my head, like don't trust your thoughts after 9 p.m. Like the comparisons between other coaches, like they'll come along. But for the most part, like whenever I'm in the process of like coaching or like trying to like increase my game knowledge or something like that, I'm never thinking about like, comparing myself to fucking Blood X or Shaco or Captor.
Yeah, I
like
find
I'm
myself
thinking
doing
about
that, like,
I'm thinking about where am I at in my game knowledge and like how can I improve?
To relate to you, like I feel that way a lot, like because there's so many like. You'd be surprised. There's a lot of photographers and like and videographers. Like
for
there's
sure.
so many of them. But I find myself comparing myself to them a lot, like sometimes, which can be very like motivating but demotivating at the same time.
Yeah.
So I definitely relate to you. Like now I'm starting to, your worth, right?
Exactly.
And so that's exactly how I am now. Like I know my worth.
Well, and it's like you're not them, and you never will be. And like I guess for me, like to get philosophical or spiritual or whatever you want, like for me, it's like. This is my life purpose. Like, and I'm gonna be.
Yeah. I don't really think.
I'm gonna live the best life that I'm gonna live, and like that includes being the best content creator, the best person, the best any of that, and like that's kind of where the perspective that I come from. Like, okay, I've decided that at least for the time being, this is where I want to be. This is what I want to be doing. I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability.
Oh, absolutely.
All the time, and so that like that's where I talk about like complacency. I mean, you see these kids, they get to a certain point, they're comfortable, they're making X amount of income, they're getting X amount of views, and they don't push themselves any harder, and they don't push their content any harder.
I've had spurts like that too. Like I've had spurts like that when nothing's going on in esports, where I get complacent, I get very like super complacent. But then I kind of get out that shell and be like, you need to work harder, and you need to, like
I go through waves of complacency.
Yes, I do too.
I think everyone does, but it's like it's a matter of do you understand
that you're in? Are you aware enough?
Yeah.
Well, it's like are you aware enough to recognize like number one, that you're getting complacent, and then number two, like how do you shift your mindset to like get out of the complacency?
Well, a prime example is literally just most of the NA pros.
Yeah.
Looking at how
for sure.
different they are from the EU pros.
yeah,
You talk about
don't even talk to me
yeah,
about this.
everything wise. They live a more comfortable life, and I think they want it less because
I
they
think the
don't
culture
like
in America is different too.
for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
It's got to be a culture thing.
Well,
But
I
I
mean,
talk about it all the time. How you take an EU pro and an NA pro, and if they're on the same level, the EU pro is still better.
Oh yeah.
But you get tier 2, tier 3 EU, and then tier 2, tier 3 NA, and those NA tier 2, tier 3 are still better. But as soon as this EU kid breaks into tier 1, he's already better than the top NA players. It's just that simple.
No, it is. It's completely. It's a completely different vibe. And we talk. I think
the best way to explain it is that like. Well, first of all, the esports scene in EU has been more like well developed. It's been around, I think, a little bit longer, and then on top of that, like parents across like video games are just now becoming a thing because of like how much American culture prioritizes individualism and then also making money.
Yeah.
Like I think that it's long been seen as like video games are something that you do to kind of like for entertainment or to waste time. And so like now that is finally starting to shift because parents are seeing like the large prize pools and they're seeing like, oh shit.
Well,
and
all of
the unfortunate part too is that there are some parasitic parents out there that will push their kids into doing stuff like this and will force them to
live vicariously, right? Is that the term?
Yeah, live vicariously through their kids. Yeah, because they'll force them to do something that they never got to do without actually listening to their kids.
Did you see the interaction between Batman Booga and BloodX on Twitter?
But I feel like I should
called him out.
I don't know if it was about. Maybe it wasn't Batman Booga.
Talking about money.
Yeah.
It was
talking about. Yeah, it was talking about.
I look at
it was Batman Booga tweeting about like he was disappointed in it was about Dreamhack, but he was tweeting something about like losing money essentially on this whole trip or something like that, right?
Like BloodX replied being like, really, like that's your first thought?
And I thought the response was super interesting. It was like you're in a country where 4K is like the minimum salary or something like that. And
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of BloodX standing up to players like that. Honestly, like
and fucking people like Higgsy, bro, too.
It definitely inspires me to like say more shit, like especially like openly on Twitter when I see kids like doing dumb shit.
Yeah, but what I was getting at was the cultural difference. Like in EU, like he like. And I don't think it's a bad thing
that because they love it.
Yeah, I don't think it's a bad thing that he lives in a country where they're guaranteed a certain salary or whatnot. Because it's like
I don't think so either.
Because it allows you to, and I think this is like we have so much of this in American media because it sells, but we don't actually live it. Is like follow your dreams, like actually like take that and that that's where a lot of us are.
The American culture, like that, you see that in the media, but I don't think the culture itself actually buys into
that's
that idea.
That's what I'm saying. Is we sell it, but we don't live it. Like it's
like music is a prime example.
Well, because so I'll tell you a little bit about like my backstory with like my parents and stuff. This is something that I think this is probably my first time probably talking about this publicly, but so I currently live at home actually, and I'm incredibly lucky that my parents have come around to it because I've moved out of my house twice now. I live with my ex-girlfriend for a bit, probably the better part of a year. And then I also had a roommate that I lived with for the better part of a year. So I've been moved out. It's not like I've never moved out. Like I have adult work experience and stuff. Like I'm not a total loser, but I've done a lot of I'm incredibly lucky to be able to do what I do and have the time to learn how to do the job.
Yeah.
Because I have the support of my parents. But it wasn't always that way. I had to fight really fucking hard to get that support. Yeah. And even still, I only get it from my mom. I don't really get it as much from my stepdad. He still will he's much more quiet about it, but he'll still push me to go out and get a regular job and stuff like that. And I'm kind of yo, bro, no, because I see, I've started to pick up so much momentum that I see the vision, and to now it's I don't give a fuck if you don't see it.
It was kind of what you were talking about, people don't give a shit or they will discourage you until you reach that certain threshold.
Oh, absolutely.
And then holy shit,
it was literally that way for my mom, and the psychological impact of that was literally and I think that's what I was talking about earlier. This Dreamhack really freed me of that. I think because for me I conflated who I was as a person and who I was as a coach. And that is a really dangerous thing to do because when you have bad results, it makes you feel like there's a feeling of shame that comes along with that. That is really like, for me, like for some, some people might watch this and they might disagree. I'm thinking of a very particular coach right now. But
no names.
I don't want to name. I don't want to
There's
get.
no,
I don't
there's
want
no reason to start beef. When
Yeah,
we can
there's
just
no reason to start beef.
whenever we can,
They'll
help
know
each
who
other
they
improve
are.
type shit.
Yeah,
I'm
well, I
chilling,
mean,
I'm
if
chilling.
if the shoe fits, man, if the shoe fits, like, you know what I'm saying. But for me, it was a dangerous place to be because, like, it was very demotivating and it made me want to work like less hard. Whereas, like, if I'm free of that and I just like. And I know objectively where I'm at as a coach, like that's so much more motivating.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because now it's not a judgment of myself as a person.
Yeah.
It's just like looking objectively at who I am as a coach and how good I'm doing in my job.
Yeah. Well, and what I was talking about is like that we're kind of doing like we're talking about EU. And we're talking about like they feel so much less pressure to do the 9 to 5 to fit to conformity.
Absolutely.
It's like it's more about
it's
being
a lot easier to live there.
right. Well, and that's a
whole
very real
reason.
thing. I mean, it is. But it creates a cultural difference because then it's not.
Another part of that cultural difference is you were talking about living with your family and stuff,
Mm.
and you were talking about individuality. And nowadays, if you're living with your family past the age of 19, people are like, "You're a fucking loser, dude."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's
with
that's
the
There's such an
times.
importance with like
Family values are gone.
Yeah.
you
Well,
got
which
such
is
a head
ironic
start in my
because
opinion, too.
like we live in like the age where I mean I think it's like the average 27-year-old is still living in their parents' house.
yeah.
nowadays.
Nobody actually knows that.
It's hard to make enough money to
Exactly.
move out. Like,
Exactly.
I'm really hoping once I get out of college, I can find a stable place.
Yeah.
Well, money, like that's the thing. Like, if you want to buy just like even a cheap starter house, like you're looking at, you have to have $20,000 in
Right.
like,
For a down.
liquid
Right.
assets
Well,
to be able to put down a down
Team
payment
Liquid.
on that house.
or like
Sorry.
Oh
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And
Or
so
like
you have to
Not-
get a credit
if
card
you
to
don't,
get a
if you don't
pit.
have a good support system around you,
Yeah.
like if you don't have like
Yeah.
if your parents weren't responsible and like
Yep.
upper middle
Mhm.
class,
Yep.
like you're fucked
Yep.
in America
If
right
you
now.
weren't,
Like,
if you
I
weren't
really
born
feel-
into generational wealth, you're fucked. And
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I really
No,
feel bad for
legitimately.
like the bottom like 50% of America right now
Yeah.
because
Fucked.
like
well,
if-
and when we talked about this, like even in the esports scene, especially, people don't have money. Like we're
No.
not
People-
making
yeah,
anything.
people think
like,
I'm rich, and
yeah,
I'm like, yo, dude, I'm
exactly.
broke as fuck.
Bro,
I don't
yeah.
know what the hell
people
you're
think
talking
that
about.
all
I'm
the time with
rich.
me. Yeah,
I don't
people-
even like that's
Yeah.
left.
People
Yeah.
think that all the time with me because they see me traveling, taking pictures.
Yeah.
For Invitational, I did the exact same thing you did.
It's like,
And
yo,
I
when
stayed
you're-
with, Life with Panda.
yeah.
Yeah, I stayed
My
with
goat.
Panda. Panda let me stay with
Dude,
him.
Panda's such a good
But-
guy. I want to go ahead and give Panda
I
a shout
love
out because
Panda.
he's been
My goat.
Yeah, you've been in my DMs. I've
he's
seen
helped
you
me
like
so
supporting
much.
us, so I
Yeah.
see that that's like something you do around the community.
I'm
man.
supposed
so
to have
that
Panda
deserves
on
a
at some
shout out for
point,
sure.
so
Yeah.
I gotta
He-
get him on. I'm
he
supposed
was
to have
like
Panda
one-
on, but like
He
yeah.
was one of the guys that like helped me jumpstart my career.
yeah,
Dude, I spent like I was with Fusion. Like they didn't
Yeah.
bring me out there, but they
They're
paid
pretty
me a
cool.
little bit. But bro, I did
Fusion's a good
exactly
org.
what you did. I spent
Yeah.
whatever was in my bank account on
Yeah.
that trip.
no, legitimately.
And it ended up jump starting my career. I don't
No, it is. You literally have to go against everything that's been ingrained in you
Yeah.
when you're a kid. Like if you're American, like
Yeah.
you literally have to just like get into a mindset
Oh
of
my
money
God, yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Literally,
Like
yeah.
no, like I like even
you
here.
gotta take free jobs sometimes too. Like I've taken
No,
so many free
yeah.
jobs knowing that like in the future it's gonna pay
And
off.
that's what I'm saying
Because
is
the
like
experience
you,
for
you
the
have to
future
you have
ones.
to go against that, and you have to literally like willingly blow money,
Mhm.
Yeah.
taking a bet on yourself that you like that you know
You're
may
like,
not, but
and-
like it may, and like that. But that's the thing is like it's such a cultural thing that's embedded in us. Like
Yeah.
the pressure to conform to that 9 to 5 to that
Oh,
like
yeah.
the cookie cutter lifestyle of getting married at a certain age, moving out, getting a 9 to 5.
Look, I've
you know.
made the money that I would need to make to like support myself and move out. I swear to God, I would choose to do this
Yeah, can I go back to
every
that
single
too?
fucking time.
Can I go
every
back to
single
that too?
Yeah, absolutely. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I feel like
I know
like for
Cmills wants
me
to say something,
for
but
me it's so important that I live with my family
Mm.
because of the fact that I would have never done all the
Yeah, yeah.
stuff
you
I've
couldn't.
done.
You couldn't. Like,
No.
imagine
I
trying
wouldn't
to
have
pay
the money for it.
$1,000 a month for rent,
Yeah, I
and then
wouldn't have
also
that money
afford
for it.
going to
We'd
Dreamhack.
literally starve. We'd literally starve.
Yeah, literally,
most of
yeah.
us. Yeah.
One of the things I was saying, I took a bet on myself this past summer.
Yeah.
Because this technically right now. I usually worked like a job at like this local country club, and I said, "Fuck that! I'd rather just manage my guys."
Yeah.
And, like even though like for Peter, I've never taken a dime from Peter. Like people don't know that
Mm.
I've never taken a single penny from him. But what I do with him is like we have a deal where I don't take a penny from him like every month. Like it's not like a monthly. Like you pay me this, and I'm working.
Yeah.
I get like a higher percentage of everything else, which is why it works in the Fortnite scene. Like
Yeah.
nobody knows how to innovate. Like all these agencies are $1,000 here, $1,000 there.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, I'll work for free, but I get a higher percentage on your brand.
We're
deals.
both
Or
succeeding.
Or I get
yeah.
a higher percentage on this. But they like it because one, they're not losing any money.
Right.
That's the
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing. They don't lose a single penny.
Yeah.
Right.
And so they're just like,
Well, because if you're not there and you're not getting those deals, it's zero.
Yeah,
so
it's
like,
zero.
it's
So,
only a gain
yeah,
for them.
But
yeah,
it's
yeah.
also like they're not signed either. Like I
Yeah,
don't have any
yeah.
of my guys signed. They're able to walk whenever. If
That's
they don't
why
like the deal, they
content
can
is
walk.
that's why content is so important to me, because like I'm sure if I got a team like to number one, like they would do like whatever and pay me whatever amount. But also at the same time, like coaching, like when I started, was a passion project, and
Yeah.
the money has just only made it more complicated for me.
Well, that's where
And,
all
like,
of us
I've
were.
said
I
this-
mean, that's where all of us got our start in this
Yeah.
in this industry. It was like we were talking a little bit about like we all started as like players. We all thought
Yeah.
we were going to be like
Oh,
pro
yeah,
players.
I started
You know,
as a
like
pro player, too.
we all just like start. I mean, literally,
Yeah, I
like
thought-
for me,
I thought I'd be a
I was
streamer.
16 years old playing on my fucking Xbox. Like, oh wow, this game is sick. And then I was like,
Yeah.
wait, this game's really cool, and I want to
Yeah.
be like the best at it, and started developing that. Like to think, I mean, I never would have thought that 16-year-old kid never would have thought I'm doing
Oh,
what
yeah.
I'm doing now. And
Well,
like,
that's why it was, but that's also like why it was, you know, so difficult for me as well, is like the money. Like I said, like the money's only complicated it. And
yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, I've said multiple times, like if I could coach for free or like for just like a flat
Oh,
percentage
yeah.
of earnings, like I fucking would.
If
bro,
if I
'cause-
could take like just enough to live off, like let's say government stipends, like if I could take a really low salary, like but it was livable and I
Yeah.
could do this every day of my life, I would.
Oh,
I
yeah.
absolutely would. I mean,
Vouch.
like I don't want to be a millionaire. I just want to like I want to make enough to make a living off of this because I want to do it all day every day.
Dude,
I
Like,
mean, ironically enough, I think if all of us continue to push forward and like maintain our passion, like I think that is where we're gonna end up. But that's
well,
the
for
irony
sure.
of it, is
But-
like you don't end up
But
there.
we're
like,
doing that shit
pushing
now.
that.
We're spending the last of our bank accounts
Exactly,
to get to these
yeah.
places. I mean, it's
Yeah.
like, I mean, there are some people that are like, literally on their last few dollars.
Yeah.
Like here, it's
Yeah.
like,
Well, also like, one of the things I would say is like the people that like let's say you make a full-time living out of it. That means like you're on the right trajectory to make $1 million doing it.
Right.
Yeah,
Those
exactly.
people
Right,
are the
right.
people that are going to be making $1 million.
right.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's just a matter of
No,
getting
if you
there and
cross a
doing the
certain
right thing.
threshold, for sure.
Yeah,
like
and that's just how it is.
yeah.
And like
Well, I mean, there are people like on the flip side of that coin. You take a Somerset, or you take like she's set for life.
yeah,
She's good no matter
Yeah.
what she does. She has her brand, and she's
Yep.
built her brand, and she's at a point now where like she can do anything. And
what's your biggest asset? Like even to a
Yeah.
company. That's the way I look
Right.
at it too. Is like if I can post on any social media and I can do numbers,
Right.
that's an asset to any company,
Right.
in gaming or on the
Right,
outside
right.
of gaming. It doesn't
Well,
matter.
and that's the thing, like because I go back to I rewatched the Ron episode of Brand Risk recently, and like he talked about that a lot of like I want to be able to transition into anything and I talked to a lot of people about this. When Fortnite is gone, what will you have and where will you be? And like I'm not saying that any of us want to, but it's
right,
like
obviously, yeah.
yeah, but it's like when that
You
time
have to plan
comes,
for that, because it is.
Yeah.
It is a possibility. Yeah.
and it's
well,
like
yeah, well, my thing is like people say that I'll have nothing. It's like I work with all Fortnite pros, but it's like,
yeah,
but the skill sets that I've learned,
Yeah.
I can translate.
you
to
can
anything.
manage anyone.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, you could probably go out and get like a job at like a large
Easily,
management
easily.
firm.
Well,
yeah.
see, here's the thing. I've had companies reach out and be like, "Yo, we want to run our social medias," and like
Yeah.
for money, like even like
Yeah.
local businesses hit me up for it too.
Yeah.
And I just am like, no, I don't want to do it.
Well, you're
because,
good-
Like,
yeah.
that's not
because
what I
your
wanna
passion's
do.
in gaming.
Yeah, because my passion's
Yeah.
in gaming. But it's just cool that like they're able to do that and
Yeah.
like, be able to like work with companies
Yeah.
like that.
Well, and that
Yeah.
it is. It's like you're building a career, but
Yeah.
we're also still like we're invested in this, and like we're gonna. I mean, we're all gonna make it. I really have no doubt. Like, the people-
I know I've personally invested well over probably like $5,000 out of my own pocket.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
into
Yeah.
travel
Yeah,
and
I felt
oh,
Dude,
dude, I
people
look
don't
at
know.
travel and networking,
I-
like just all that kind of
I
stuff.
look at my
yeah.
bank account after these trips, and I'm like, I'm really close to zero, but I don't care because I'm like,
Same way.
I'm the
This
Same
is
way
money
right now.
well spent. Like
Yeah.
Same thing with Peter. Like I'm going to school, right? And nobody knows
Mm.
this. I pay for all of his videos out of pocket.
oh,
I pay for
really?
every last video out of pocket, but people don't understand. It's like, yeah, I pay for them out of pocket, but it's like if I put 40 in and the video does 100K, I
Right.
get
right.
like 1,000 back or whatever it is,
Yeah.
depending on what it is, or like
Yeah.
500 back, or depending on what the views are.
Yeah.
But like I paid for each one out of pocket from when he was at 0, and I didn't make a penny,
Mm.
like all the way
Well, it
back
is.
until like recently.
I mean, that's
But that's the investment I made.
th-
Yeah.
and that like it's ironic because we teach a safety. I mean, we were talking about this when we were listening to that podcast about like all the people that have ever
Zago and
that have dropped out of school say to stay in it, and I find that ironic because it's like, and yes, like school is a good investment, but I'm talking about like.
Well, even still, like I want to go back. Like I've actually talked about this. I talked about this over the weekend. Like I am still interested in going back to school. Like once I have like the means to, like the financial means to, just to get a psychology degree.
Yeah.
Just because I know it'll help me.
No, what I was saying though is taking those massive risks, taking bets on yourself. That's how all of us got where we are.
Can I actually tell a story real quick?
Yeah.
We were
go
talking
for it.
about it, but I had to stop myself real quick. But like taking risks on yourself, the first person I shot with was Arab. First creator I shot with was Arab.
Yeah.
I bought a flight. He didn't pay me at all. I told him it was free. I live in New Jersey.
Okay.
I bought a flight all the way to it was like Kissimmee because that's where my uncle is. I took a 2-hour Uber all the way to Tampa, Florida. Did that shoot with them. But the thing was, I took that risk. I paid like $200.
Brand risk.
That's what Dallas was. That's what like last year Dallas. That's what that was for me.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like I basically when I bought my DreamHack ticket last summer, I literally had like almost $0.
Yeah.
Like I spent like my last dimes like buying that DreamHack ticket, and then I was like, well, fuck, like how am I gonna get there? And then I went and I worked. It was like 40 to 45 hours in 3 days. To make the money, I think I made like $1,200 in that time span, and that was what allowed me to take the trip.
People didn't realize that about me. They thought I just went to Florida just to go to Florida, but but the thing is, he talked about this on his brand result. He talked about like that shoot, like having the Rolodex of pictures now, right? I had the Rolodex, and from that is where Monster D-Face saw me right after that Arab shoot. And then Monster D-Face put me on to people. And I shot with Crip.
Monster's a great dude. I love him.
I fucking love Monster.
I love domino effects like this.
So in an invitational, this is where like I first met him. He asked me to take some pictures with the Practice Server boys. I gave him a price. It was like 50. I told him I could do it for free, but he said give me a price. It was like
he's like, no, he wants to pay you. I love guys like that.
Me too.
So I did the all the pictures of the Practice Server boys. Sent them probably 5 minutes after I took them. After editing them. And instead of giving me my price, he sent me $500.
Jeez.
My goat.
And that would.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah, and
well, because he wants to see the game and the people in it succeed. I mean, it's like, and he had the
one
means
of those people
to.
that genuinely he really genuinely cares about not just the game but the people in the game.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
He wants you to have the motivation to improve while you're also getting the proper compensation.
So I think it's so easy to forget. Like it happens in other sports all the time. Like you forget that like these wonderful performers that you get to watch for entertainment are like actual people, and they have actual lives like behind the scenes.
Well, that's exactly what the Brand Risk podcast and this that's what this is about. It's like putting the stories and the people. I mean, there's a word, it's sonder, and it's essentially this concept of like the realization and the awareness of the fact that all the people that you pass like on the street or that you just
they have their own
like
problems
that you don't like directly interact with on a daily basis have an equally complicated and valuable life as you.
Like they have the same bodily systems for the most part, shit like that. Like
you think about literally there are billions of people on the planet, and all of them have equally as complex of a life story as you do.
Oh yeah,
dude, I'll be driving down the
if not more. Well, and like I mean, we passed a guy like fucking like walking in a wheelchair. Like remember that shit? And like literally
it was heartbreaking.
Well, okay,
sorry.
He was like, but like he literally was just like going down the road. He was in the middle of the fucking road, and like there was some shit like that was like messed up with him, and like
you could tell he was like obviously like mentally ill.
No, and like it like struck us really hard.
Like what led to him being because we both left out.
Yeah, and like to think that he started the same place we did. We all came out of a fucking womb, and like somehow our lives have differed that much that they're there and I'm here, and like.
Well, I think
everything
you and I have talked about this, but like it's when you see somebody who's like obviously like there's a lot of homeless people that like because I live in Atlanta, I see it all the time, and like for the most part, like I feel like I've developed discernment. Obviously, like I'm not going to be right about it 100% of the time, but you can tell the people that are like homeless because like they kind of deserve to be there. And I know that sounds like shitty,
Well,
but
no, I
I think
definitely get the
like
get that.
I don't like it sucks. Like I wish everybody could like have
for
the means
sure,
and
for
resources
sure.
to take care of themselves. But I think that there's those people that like even if they got the handouts like from like let's say like
They
we
want
had
to work hard
government,
enough.
yeah,
And they'd
like
be
well,
blown.
yeah,
Yeah.
like they would
Okay,
go,
yeah,
they
I
would go and
understand.
they would
I was
buy.
like, wait.
Like,
Yeah.
well, they would blow all the, they're addicted to, like, which, and I get it, like, those are what that, like, addiction's a genuine mental health issue, but,
Yeah.
if you're addicted and you know that you're addicted, because no addict doesn't know that they're addicted.
Yeah.
Like,
sure.
it just doesn't, like, that just doesn't happen that way. Like, it's just whether or not you choose to, like, accept and recognize, like, what the consequences of your addiction are. But, there's just people that you can tell, like they're just there because of the consequences of their own decisions and their own actions. But seeing that guy like in the wheelchair when he's like obviously probably like he probably had something that triggered like a mental health episode, and then just shit just went downhill for him.
Like literally, like
that stuff's heartbreaking.
Like literally a fork in the road in his life. Like he could have ended up.
Well, because you and I
a
have
fork
talked
is a decision.
Oh, not necessarily.
I
wouldn't say so.
Like when it comes to mental health crises, not very. How do I explain it? Especially like manic episodes, like your decisions you don't really control, you just do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that a lot of those people were manic.
Well, I mean a fork in the road of like if you have a distinct binary of possibilities.
Oh, you mean
and like if one thing had happened differently,
yeah, like if someone went back in time, moved a rock,
who knows where he would be?
Do your actions play into you being mentally ill? Would you say? Like,
say it again.
Like, do your actions play into it? So, for example,
I think a lot of it is like genetic predisposition, but you can definitely make things make decisions that make it worse.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, so for me, like if you don't work out, like for me, like I love to work out. Like that's for me, like gets rid of my stress. Like if I'm stressed out, I go work out.
All the adrenaline.
And then I'll be
I feel like I have a lot of good insight into it.
Me too.
So one of the things, that's just like one of the ways I cope with like being stressed out. Like I was stressed out yesterday when Peter's shit broke. Like I was freaking stressed.
Yeah.
But like moving forward, like I learned that being stressed isn't a bad thing. Like you have to be able to perform under stress, and
it's how you respond to it. It's about your relationship to it. Yeah. So, like I was saying earlier in the podcast, I've been in therapy for almost a little over 2 years now. So I've learned a lot about like number one, like mental illness, but number two, like the therapeutic process.
Yeah.
And I think like that's what's so heartbreaking about seeing people that it's like obvious that they had mental health issues that maybe they couldn't get help for. Because I know before I started going back to therapy, like I was a fucking train wreck. Like if I didn't start going back to therapy, like I probably would have killed myself by now. Like that's not a joke.
Yeah.
Like that is.
It's it's a spiral. It's a self-fulfilling. It only makes itself worse. I mean that.
I had a lot of like I don't have a good relationship with my dad. I'm sure there's a lot of you guys out there that'll probably like I'm about to spill a little bit more about my own personal story, but I'm sure there's a lot more of you guys out there that'll probably relate to this. But I've actually met some guys here that I've gotten to talk to like and share this story with that they are like me too. I didn't have a good relationship with my dad. I don't, and my parents got divorced actually when I was 12, and
that's a fucking rough time, puberty.
Oh yeah. Well, it makes
all the hormones are fucky.
Yeah.
Oh, it makes it worse when like my dad was a lot. I think I share a lot of traits with my dad. Like he was very creative and very open. But he also had a personality disorder. So like the mental health side, like hijacked like the positive personality traits and kind of turned them negative, which is very unfortunate because I still. This is like the good part of me, right? Like the part that still wants to love everyone. I'm still looking at my dad and I think about my dad and I think about like what he could have been, and like that shit's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is like sort of different, but this is like sort of my story of like when I wasn't like gonna like kill myself, but I was like depressed and upset. But like the way I coped with it was like I streamed and like I like wanted to be alone. I wanted to be by myself so that way I could better myself and like try to improve. Because like so I was dating this chick. We were together for like a good amount of time, then we ended up splitting up, and I was like beyond upset about it. Like I was to the point where like I cut all my friends out of my life. I'm like, screw this.
Damn.
I'm doing this myself. Like I'm tired of this. I'm done fucking around. Like it's time to get shit done.
Yeah.
And I started like working, and then so I started streaming, and that's like what got me into it.
Yeah.
And then I hit like a peak, and I was like, damn, I did it. And then that's when I switched to management.
Yeah.
That was like the whole Kickstarter of it. And if that didn't happen, I'm so happy it happened. 'Cause if it didn't happen, I wouldn't be here today.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't even
happy to say I witnessed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was crazy.
Well, I know.
Fucking-
So I know for me, like I was. This was probably a year and a half ago. So this was like right before I like started blowing up with coaching and like when I was like in my height of like driving for Uber.
Yeah.
Like I remember there was one time like I would get I just hated the job. Like I was so miserable
Yeah.
driving for Uber all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like I hated dealing with traffic. I hated dealing with shitty like
People.
people who
Yeah.
were just totally inconsiderate and like they don't consider like the amount of effort and work that you have to, like there was multiple times like where I bitch people out for like not tipping me because like I would have to drive 30 minutes for a meal and I get paid like $7 for the trip. Like that's enough to cover
Yeah.
the gas for that trip and maybe
Yeah,
like give me $1 on top of that. So it was really like frustrating a lot. And I just remember there was one time like I hated my life so much that like I just broke down like crying.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a little emotional talking about it right now,
No, you're
but
good.
I remember I went home and like I was just trying to like talk to my mom about it and she just was not like very receptive. Like she didn't really understand what was going on. And like I remember I just was freaking out. Like I remember like throwing my phone like across the living room and I was just like, I want to fucking kill myself. Like you don't get it. Like I don't want to be alive right now.
Yeah.
And that was probably the darkest time in my life, man. And that was like literally right before I started blowing up. And I'm just like so glad that I was in therapy and like that I was able to like get that help when I needed it. Cause like don't know where I'd be if I didn't make that decision, you know?
Yeah. Well, and there's even after the success, like I think I've seen this a little bit, like with a lot of these like pros or streamers or something. Like they have a lot of shit going on, and like
Oh yeah.
they really don't have support systems, and they have a lot of them have a really hard time trusting people because
Oh yeah.
A lot of people
the
just see him
cloud
as
chasing.
a face and a number.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, for sure.
Not as
but
a
like,
person. I've
Oh,
talked
yeah.
about this plenty of times. Like,
yeah,
they see a face and a name,
Yeah.
you know, and then earnings right next to it, or
Yeah.
viewers or
Yeah.
follower
Yeah.
count.
oh, for
and
sure, yeah,
They don't think like you were talking about when we pass a person, they have their own thing,
Yeah.
that's going on.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't see pros as that either. They just see
Yeah.
it as a title.
Oh, dude,
Think
I
about how
like
many
seeing
people-
Booga.
Seeing Booga in person, like literally freaked me out because, like, to me, he's no, like he.
I'm sorry,
like
it's a
Seeing
little
him as a
funny.
person.
No, it is. It was
I
like
get-
it
I
was
get what
like
you mean.
he's literally just a fucking kid. Like he's literally just a real human being, and
Yeah.
I can do that with most people. But it was like seeing what literally had become like almost a character in my head, and go, this is just a
Yeah.
real fucking human being.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying,
Oh,
and
for
that's
sure.
what I fuck with.
And I was, and I do that really well with everyone else, but it was just like I think it was Booga because specifically because he's always been super
yeah,
massive.
Five
like,
below
I wanted to
Booga.
touch on like the name and the number thing too because
Because we
how
talked about it on the way here.
yeah how many of us talk about how many of us like actually refer to each other as our real names?
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
Think about it.
I mean, I met him at Cmills and rarely have ever called his ass Connor.
Yeah. I'd tell people my name.
But,
I
no, like,
No,
but
I call
think
Peter.
that-
I call
but
Peter.
I
Peter.
admit-
That's,
yeah.
that's so different.
I made a.
But I think that's
Peter's
a
different.
valid point. Like
Yeah,
we're all
for sure.
we all know each other as these like aliases, right? And I
even
think there's
fucking
something to
Zito.
be-
Even Zito has Plalism as Plal in his
Yeah.
phone, which was
Yeah. Well,
insanity
my
to
thing
me.
is
He's in my phone as Peterbot's manager.
Well, if I don't know you very well, I can't say, like I couldn't go up to Booga and be like, "Hey, Kyle," like I.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
of
yeah.
course,
It's
of course.
weird.
Hello,
Like,
Mr.
of course.
Gearsdorf.
Yeah.
But like when I
Even when
obviously-
you develop the relationships and you start to become friends,
yeah,
it's like,
yeah. Now we're like,
Yeah.
I developed a relationship with him, and now it's like, yeah, he can approach me, I can approach him, like we know
Yeah.
each other
Yeah.
are, but it's not like first name basis. But like with Clicks, it's like I call him Cody. Like, he literally prefers
Yeah.
Cody.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's like how it is. But like when I met him, he's like, "Yo, like just call me Cody." Like I'm
Yeah.
here, dude.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yeah, he wants
Well,
to
like,
be, yeah.
Uh,
I've
I,
introduced myself a couple times like as just Tyler.
Yeah.
At
yeah,
this
I'll be
Dreamhack.
like, my name's Jake, but if you know me from the internet, it's Jank, or like I just tell him just use whatever. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'll do
And,
I'll do
like,
my internet like persona first. I'll be like I'm Jatmon, but like my name's Jonah. Like you can know
Yeah.
that. Like you can know me. Like
Like call
You
him
look like you
Dylan
would get
all the
swallowed
time.
by a whale, by the way.
Yeah,
okay.
Dylan.
Yeah, Dylan Dicker.
Wow.
I barely even know her. No, sorry.
No, dude,
Yeah.
So something I kind of want to talk about as well is
Yeah.
like the org scene in the past and where it has become now,
Mm.
and like the development
yeah.
of it.
I'll answer any questions.
It's just kind of interesting to see, like, you know, when
Yeah.
I first got in the scene, it was like G2 and
Oh,
Cloud9
yeah.
and
TSM.
TSM.
Liquid.
And that was like
Luminosity.
that was when I was like first in the scene, and now it's like Sentinels, and now I'm sitting here and it's like
Mm.
Dignitas, Elite,
Yeah.
Pipeline,
Yeah.
Limit,
Yeah.
and then it's just like
2 a.m.
it just slowly whoop goes down.
Yeah,
But
that's
it's
like
Yeah.
all
So
you.
weird.
That's honestly.
But it's because
those-
the teams
those
have become
four
more
orgs-
niche.
Well, I was gonna say those 4 orgs are like the only ones that at this point that I consider to be real orgs.
Yippee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Well,
dude,
that,
guess
and
Moon-
ours
I guess-
was
I mean, I'm
super
throwing a
weird.
little bit of shade
oh, yeah,
And Moon.
Yeah, Moon.
I forgot about my own org.
Whoa.
I know that's a lot of
No,
shade.
okay,
Guess who's
well,
not
we
getting
talk- I mean, we-
re-signed?
Well, the thing with Moon is Moon is very console based, which I
Right.
completely
Yeah.
understand. But
Well,
that's
they're
that's
really
why
good
for me
branding.
it's kind of different. Like
Yeah.
you know, it's I
Right.
don't know. The way I look at it is different. But I do love Teddy. I met Teddy at Invitational, great dude.
Teddy is a great dude. I will say, Teddy, if you watch his podcast, like I love you to death, man.
Yeah.
If you watch his podcast, he hates you. Sorry.
Yeah.
I
I'm
definitely
kidding.
don't. I definitely don't. I
I'm
definitely
kidding.
don't hate him.
Please
Yeah.
don't fuck
Yeah.
it up,
So
please. I'm
definitely
sorry.
don't hate
No,
him.
but
He's
it's
been a great owner to me. Like
I
I
love
know
all the Moon
I had
guys.
I had some weirdo try to expose some tweets of mine from like 10 years ago, like where
that's crazy.
when I was a teenager and like saying some stupid shit.
10
like,
years
using
ago
the
is like
N-word or whatever.
statute of limitations, dude. People change so
yeah,
much.
no, well,
I've
that
changed
was
so
that
much
was what
in
was
the last-
amazing.
Yeah, that's funny.
I've changed so much in the last like year or two. So
That's what was amazing about that,
Yeah.
though, is just to see so many people literally be like, "We don't care. This is weird. Like, delete
away.
this."
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that
back,
shit's cringe.
so sort of back to what I was saying, like from the organization
Yeah.
standpoint.
Yep.
Mhm.
What needs to change moving forward, in your guys' opinion,
Mm.
for an organization to be sustainable and actually
Oh,
generate
this-
generate
yeah.
a dollar?
I have a
in the
good
scene?
take.
Okay, so I think that we've been
These
talking
guys
about
have
this.
probably given more thought to that than I have. 'cause
We've
I'm
been
just way more
talking.
concerned with
I
We
the
were
definitely
talking
player
about
side
this
and, like, the
all
game
day.
knowledge.
So we were talking about, like, I was talking with Sad and Avaft, two of the other owners, the other two owners of Pipeline, and we were talking about potential
Canadian.
signees, and I was telling the Avaft dude, I was like, I don't want just a pure pro player. I don't.
Fuck no.
I would rather have someone who's, getting consistent finals qualifications for whatever tournaments and making content out of it.
Like they have a name, but like it's not just like what we were talking about, like name, face, statistic, whatever. But it's one of those things where it's like a household name. Like people that you see that name or you see that person, you're like, oh, that guy's a cool guy.
That's who
Like
that is. Yeah.
he's known as the guy who you can walk up to at LAN, and he's not gonna act like he's busy
Right.
just to not talk to you
No,
or
right,
something.
right,
Like fucking like Buzz, a prime
So-
example.
Content is the key.
So
I'm-
content is a huge.
Love the
key.
big muster.
But for the roster standpoint, like what is the correct number of people in a roster? Like
Well, for
on a
full-
roster or on a
well,
a staff.
well,
like
the
I
thing is,
feel
right?
like
no, on a roster for pro players.
Well,
How, like what's the golden number in
So
your,
I have
in
a,
your
I have a good
guys'
take.
eyes?
I have a good take on this because Fortnite, the way Fortnite is, and if we're gonna go for that one, right? There's not a correct number, but there is something that is too high. I mean, prime example, Team 33, where they had the whole Westcom,
yeah.
just in
Signed.
fucking shackles.
I mean, they had 30 players
Dude.
signed or something like that.
That's
Dude,
insane.
I have
33.
a crazy.
I feel like
story about
glitch.
that.
Did they sign 33? Was that like the whole?
No.
Oh, okay.
They
okay.
were-
30,
It was like
33
30.
was definitely like
But
a
like-
money laundering operation or
But-
something.
no,
There's some
but like
sketchy
the
stuff
thing
going
is,
on
There
there.
right,
was some
is
sketch
that
stuff, yeah.
The thing is that when we were signing all those players in like November, January,
Yeah.
February, even bit of March, it's not even that we're gonna try to pull a 33 and get the whole
Right.
guarantee shit, right?
Yeah.
It was more of that, okay, well this is what we have to work with, and we do want to have this elite roster, but we also don't want to be known as the team that
That only
just
signs it.
has just has this pro. Like I'm trying to think of fucking who, like whenever Moon signed Jaith.
Yeah.
Originally, it was just like, oh, that's just Jaith's org, because it was just
Mm.
Jaith and then just like a bunch of smaller people.
Mm.
So we were like, okay, well, we just need to try to get past that as soon as we can and get known as having like
I would say
an
like,
elite roster.
I'd say like 4.
Like,
four
dude,
pro
like with
players.
the roller
So-
Vert 20 was like our first 3.
Yeah.
Then well, sort of with like Kuza, K-Burbs. But those were also like some mid-tier players
'Cause
with some
I
very
love
high-tier
K-Burbs.
Because I would
players.
rather have that,
He's so
pay
funny.
them decent
If
salaries, and
K-Burbs, if you watch this, I love you to death, buddy.
K-Burbs and Lays, if y'all are watching this,
But-
nothing. Okay.
wow.
Lays, I want to
No,
know.
I love
I want to get to
Lasington.
know you a little bit better, buddy. So open up.
Well,
bro.
I was just going
Big
to do every
lazy
shout
too.
out. We'll save that for the end. No, I mean,
Yeah.
like I would rather have 3 or 4 and then develop their content, develop them as a player. Like I'd rather have development plans for people that I feel like I see potential for a higher echelon of whatever they're doing, content or pro or whatever, and then have that. Like I don't know.
My golden number is 6.
Okay.
I think 6, and I think you could stretch it to 8 depending on how good your management team is. I think that
Yeah.
really matters. I mean, I'm talking like you have to have a good management team.
Do you have
that's-
numbers behind that? Like, do you have like an actual like long, like kind of like drawn out thought? Like,
Oh,
how
dude.
much thought have you given that to that?
Way too much.
Too
I
much?
feel like it's
Yeah.
very
I mean, I've done this
charged
for-
thought.
I'm really interested to hear that insight
We
because
have like
the-
all night.
I've done this for 3
Understanding-
years. So
Uh,
the way I look at it is like this. Or yeah, it's been 3 years. 2021. So well, no, 2, give or take.
I mean, like
Dude,
like
that was
full
bad.
years.
I mean,
kind of
we're
thing,
getting
like-
close. We're
Yeah.
getting close.
But like
Yeah.
I've like known the comm scene. And I've understood like
Yeah.
how much people get paid, but the golden number, in my opinion, 6 to. And I think you can stretch it to 8 depending on who you have and how easy they are to work
Oh,
with.
let me
Yeah.
count, 'cause
Like
we had
for
11.
example, if you have 8 Peter bots, that's not gonna work.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
because you have to
Well,
put
you
so
need-
much time
well,
and
I
effort
feel
into
like
each
you need
one.
to have variety too.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So
Well, you need niches. I mean, that's part of. I guess that's part of what I'm
You
getting
need
at
the
with
guy that's known as
with-
funny, the guy's
with the
known
whole
serious,
content thing.
like-
Well, yeah, you need to like they need to be content of something. I feel like that's the best return on investment. Placements are great, but like really placements. I don't know. I feel like
Dylan, get in here.
you can't bet as much on placements. I'd rather bet on content. I'd rather use content as
I'd rather
as the-
bet. I'd rather bet on selling a product than all.
Mm.
But not one org has ever been able to sell a good product, and that's gonna
You
change.
mean
Because
you mean
they
org
have-
produced products
Well,
like org
because-
associated products? Is that what you're saying? Like
no,
because you have to
not just org. Like sort of. I see what you're saying, but like actual, not just like org merch, but actual products like org keyboards.
no, that's what I was
Org
getting
splice.
at. Like
Like
having the org be associated with like Epic Whales mouse pads. Like
yes,
yeah.
just like that.
Matrix, if you're watching this, I'm sorry for what happened like a year ago. Can we please have a partnership now?
It's
Please.
insanity.
I'm
They're
just gonna say,
friends now. They're
like,
friends.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
There's
done.
there's just so much like that you can do. Like
Well,
even,
and people are doing it with their individual brands.
no, even
The
look,
the
look at
Matrix
maps.
deals and the
Look
yeah
at the maps.
yeah
So if you look at maps, for example, what if an org, for example, like Elite, for example, let's just say, I'm hypothetical.
yeah
Let's say Elite made a new game mode and it was popular through every pro.
Yep.
What you do is you sell off franchisee spots and you make like a product around it.
Yeah.
And you sell the map.
yeah
So you could be
Mm.
Dignitas versus Elite, Dignitas versus PL,
yeah
Elite versus PL,
Yeah.
Elite versus Limit.
yeah.
You go on the list, but it's like you could sell those spots, and then it's literally a new esport within Fortnite.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
but it could sell.
I've said for a long time that I
like that.
want the direction of comp. Genuinely, I feel like the
Imagine
BFC
competitive
shit.
Zone War teams.
No, I feel like
Oh,
the
yeah.
BFC. I feel like
I'm
BFC
with
would be
you.
so
What
much
I'm saying.
easier to sell.
Hold on.
And I
can't
love
hear you over him.
like
even
BFC.
hear.
Fucking, I loved watching it. I feel like BFC would be so like would be a good esport in its
So
own.
that's what I'm saying.
Big
It's
fucking
not-
cock.
If you can develop a new game
Yeah.
that's actually beneficial for pros that they
Yeah.
enjoy and it makes them better, then you can develop that into an
Uh,
esport. And
it's
you can
it's
sell
high
it.
I feel like
octane.
TeeChurch would be really good. I mean, we have the coach, we have the manager, we have the guy that I
For
don't know
what?
what to
Dude,
fucking call myself.
for what?
He's just talking about a game that actually makes people
iCast.
improve.
I
Like,
mean,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like
Uh,
the
talking
Zone
about-
Wars
yeah,
not make
I
you
was
like the
talking about
best
myself.
fighter in America. Peter said that's all he did is
Yes.
sit there and play Zone Wars all
Yes.
day, and that's how he got.
All
you.
the best
That's-
fighters,
I
all the
can
best
vouch for that.
fighters that I know. Like, okay, so like I like jumped Chubbs' shit a little bit earlier in the podcast for not scrimming, but I do wanna say that kid grinds the fuck out of creative, and he
Yeah.
I think he had like the most or like the second most one pumps in the last grands. Like that kid
Really?
is fucking insane.
He's
Like I
fucking
remember,
Chabuga.
so I'll give you guys a little bit of insight because I was live coaching them for that grand. So I'll give you guys a little bit of insight. So they were getting contested by Paper and Shadow.
Yeah.
And there was one game on day one where they decided that they were gonna play like fucking pussies and try to take like half of our loot. I already talked to Paper about this at Dreamhack, so I don't care. But I did not feel bad about calling him a pussy for this. He knows. But yeah, so they decided to play like just straight up bitches. By the way, it did not work out for them at all. I think they got like 30th place or some shit like that.
They were bitch.
No.
They were bitching about Chubbs having to pick up macro, but Chubbs just knows how to like we were literally talking about it in the call, and he was literally just like, yeah, I literally because the gun
He has
spawns.
suction cup. He has suction cup.
I swear though, like the gun, like if you pay attention, like the gun spawns out of the same side of the chest every single time.
Really?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
It's the left side, isn't it? It's the left
Yep.
side.
So
Yeah,
you
it's the
just
left side.
Yeah.
you just
You
literally
land left side.
That's true.
You land left, you land left side, and you look at
Interesting.
it, and you get it first every time. All
Uh.
you have to do is spam your pickup button. If you have scroll wheel reset or scroll wheel pickup, you're
Yeah.
guaranteed to
Oh,
get it.
leak in the biz.
But no.
Well, yeah. Hey, you know what, man? Like, I'm about to start making free content series where I start leaking like all of
Yeah.
my coaching
TeeChurch
strats too.
podcast masterclass.
So
I was telling Cmills I want to get TeeChurch to do a podcast. Like not an episode. I mean, I want you to
do,
host a
like,
podcast.
just talking about general game theory and
Dude,
stuff like that.
just fucking anything. I
Hey,
mean,
that'd be
yeah,
sick.
like
I don't understand the game at all, but I understand like the the organization standpoint behind the
Yeah.
game. Like, I can play a game of Fortnite like a scrim, and I understand.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't actually get like, the in-depth shit. So like, I couldn't tell you who's the best like pro to pick up next.
But back to what I was saying, like about Zone Wars. So like basically the second it was one of the games on the first day. I basically told them like, and they hated the call. They were mad at me for the call, but I was like, you guys have to do this, otherwise they're gonna continue to play like pussies. And then we didn't do it on the second day, and guess what they did? They played that way and because I was scared too. Second day, like we were in a good spot. I think we were like 7th or something like that, and like we were contested. I was fucking ecstatic after the first day because I was very proud of them for that. For us to go back to back like that and not having put in basically any work this season, like that was great. But you know, and it also like pisses me off and fires me up because it's like, yo, like imagine how we've been working the whole season. Maybe we win grands. You know what I'm saying? But so to go deeper into that though, you know, they tried to take the top half of the split. I said, nope, we're gonna go fight them. We literally sat in zone for like 2 minutes fighting them, and then we had to like wait. You know, we're down on surge. Like we basically were like 10 above when the first surge popped, and I was like, let's go fight. Like this is what we have to do. And they did, and I remember they hit a pad off a brutal. I think it was on the broadcast. But they full sent Cease and Tragics, just full landed on them. Both one pumped them, like each one of them one pumped their one pumped their opponent.
Zone Wars players are like I've said this for a long time. They are way beyond in terms of fighting.
They're quick to
G-Money
adapt to everything.
Yeah.
G-Money played Zone Wars like crazy.
Well,
And then
because
he got- he-
mechanics.
fucking
so when
G-Monster.
you talk about adaptation in Fortnite, the best adapters are the best fighters.
Oh yeah.
100%.
No,
That's
but-
literally all Zone Wars players.
But that like what I'm saying, where I'm getting at with that, like, and what you were kind of talking about, like with the Zone Wars thing, and like with them being so far ahead, it would be so. I gotta find it again. I had what I called my manifesto, and I wrote a twit longer.
Scary.
Okay, all right. I'm not okay. It's not Mein Kampf, but like
Whoa. Not where I was going with that.
But no, I had a manifesto where I kind of talked about. It was in a really low point of the game. It was somewhere in chapter 3, I think, where I talked about marketing BFC as the better esport. I actually was like, competitive was so down, and I was like, we love the BR, we played the BR, but like we're exhausted of it, and like it would be so much more marketable because then you could do team shit, you could do teams, you could do franchising, and that's so much more marketable as an esport, and like that I would want to go that direction, like, and do that shit, like have a team represented, like this is Elite's Zone Wars roster or whatever, and like that's it's just so much more marketable.
So TeeChurch,
Yeah.
if you had to develop an org right now, who are you signing and why? Now this is
I'm just
Jank
curious.
3X.
I'm just curious what you're gonna say because who you say is probably won't be who I say.
Well, he's got
Yeah, sure. Anybody, all just on NA.
because
Let's
he's
do
got,
NA.
That's
he's
probably-
got like
that's
the.
EU is a whole different like ballpark.
Yeah.
Than NA.
Well, he's
Yes.
more in the minds of a lot of these players.
That's why
Yeah.
that's why I'm interested.
So for me, Bryce would be the first one.
Why?
Oh, dude, like, cause kid he's exceptionally smart. He's driven. Like he wants it.
Yeah.
You know, I've talked a little bit. I've just spent a lot of time with him, and he's extremely humble. He's a really quiet kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't do a lot of the content side, but like as far as like I just think he's a good kid, and I would want to support him, like to continue to
Is he
like
good,
reach
Bryce?
that goal.
Yeah, Bryce.
Bryce
Who are the
for
three
sure.
others?
I'm gonna have to give this one some thought.
Okay. So I'll tell you mine.
Yeah.
I'll give you one of mine. I would 100% get Peter. Like no,
Get Peter.
no.
This isn't biased, guys.
No, I promise you it's not biased because like
Yeah, I
if you
know.
take a look at Elite's numbers from when he was signed and then before he was signed,
I'll pull it up for you.
dude, we're beating Dig right now on YouTube.
Yes,
straight
y'all
up.
are. Because Heaven complains about it all the time to me. He's like,
Yeah.
"What are we doing wrong?" I'm like,
Dude,
"Dude, it's
well,
It's
just."
not
I
what-
can
it's
tell
not
them
what
what
they're
they're
doing
doing
wrong.
not-
It's what we're doing right.
Well,
Peter has the glamour.
Dig is doing pretty copy and paste shit that every org has tried with. Like this is what a lot of orgs.
12K views in the last 11 hours on your recent video.
This is
Let me look.
this is what a lot of orgs
That's
have
what's,
done is they
visual.
make these signings. Well, yeah, and
Yeah.
they make shitty copy paste content. I mean, it's like everyone's done the same. Like I remember when Dig just signed everybody, they just did their fucking like they just did their like
Big rev.
watch like reacting to like clips
Yeah,
video.
yeah.
Every fucking org on the planet has
Does
done
that,
that,
yeah.
and nobody watches
It's only
it.
it's
Like,
only
no.
decent for like for like an EC. Like if you're doing editing challenge and then you pick up the person who won and you have a good bit
Okay.
sum of money.
So
Yeah.
But I feel like that shouldn't really even be a YouTube video.
This is
It's
just-
like a
I'm probably
Twitter
gonna
video.
need to like look at my Discord too and like pull up like names of players too.
Yeah, but
this is just one thing I'm just saying. So this is just like my straight up just like analyzation of this. So Booga's announcement video had 48K views in 3 months.
Yeah.
And I think Peters did like 70K.
I think it said 67K on you.
I don't know.
In the same amount of time or a shorter time frame?
In shorter time frame.
Yeah,
that's
67K
crazy.
right there.
Yeah, and it featured clicks, but it's like they easily
But
could have
even
done
then, like it's fucking Peter, dude.
Well,
So
dude,
I think
It's Pete Ski.
they easily could have done that though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like
Skeeter
it's
bot.
fucking
Yeah.
Dignitas.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my thing is, where are they going wrong with their content? My thing is they don't know how to utilize their players.
Right.
Like to their full extent, they're utilizing them well because they had a video that did 200K, which is like impressive, especially now within Fortnite's age. 'Cause it hit the alg and hit the casual audience.
Yeah.
But my thing is like, when you have a guy like Booga and you have a guy like like Acorn, you have to be able to reach their audience because their audience is different than everybody else.
Yeah.
So that's like that's why it's doing so well.
Well, look at this, right?
I
go
also
ahead.
think their
Like,
production could be better.
Yeah.
As in, like, you know how like EU and like Become Legends, their boot camp videos, all that
Yeah.
are very, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they hit it right. That's what like my whole thing. But the reason why I wanted to go into esports is because I saw Become Legends.
Oh yeah.
And what they do, and I wanted to bring that vision to NA.
Yeah.
And do something like
Well,
that.
that's my entire content philosophy and strategy is
all of us.
everyone has a
NA
niche. Everyone has a thing that like, and this is what I tell like newer streamers when they ask me about like getting into the scene or whatever, or like players who ask about like making content. I'm like, okay, we're gonna sit down. I mean, I'm doing this with a kid right now that I know, but I sat him down. I said, what do you think are like your 3 biggest, like most attractive traits, like things that you think people would call you that you would be like flattered by?
Yeah.
And he like laid them out for me. And I was like, okay, now is the content you're making every day, is it highlighting that at all?
Right.
And he's like, oh, not
No,
really.
I didn't
You know,
even think
it's
about it like that.
he's doing what everyone else is doing, thinking that somehow it's just going to magically come out of him like that. And I'm like, okay, let's theorize content that you can make that will highlight that. And that was this podcast for me. I realized I sat that down with myself. I like fucking was thinking about this. Like, what are my strengths?
Nobody's doing a podcast. Nobody's doing it. And
No.
that's why it's beneficial.
But it was like I talk for fucking hours, and everybody says I overanalyze everything and I overthink,
Yes.
and I was like,
No.
But
I
for
will
like
say-
good
no.
reason, like you analyze things because you like to talk
I'm
about them.
philosophical, and that's what I
Yeah.
do. And like,
Yep.
You
so
do it
I
to keep
started
your
the
mind
podcast
moving.
to like, this is the long form content is where I thrive the most because we can have these conversations and I don't have to cram it into a 10-minute video.
Right,
Yeah.
like I
Well-
love talking about this shit.
Yeah.
Me and-
My maximum thing though for Dig, because I want them to succeed. Like that's
Yeah.
what the scene needs. They need
Yeah.
organizations that can compete and
Yeah.
that can also like
Yeah.
make it
Who have the
fun.
capital to back it
Well,
up?
yeah,
I mean,
but they're
yeah.
probably the only org that can actually
Yeah.
fully capital back up
Yeah.
the biggest pros. And so that's why we need them to succeed. It's like
well,
it's a
and I
need.
love what they're doing with
Need them to do a
Aussie.
lot better.
The Aussie signing is incredibly clever
Yeah.
and good because like
That was the same
he's
thing
their
for
most
NRG
he's
too.
the most valuable
most
thing.
valuable person in the comp.
They
100%.
built their pro roster so that Aussie could watch them and it could say that's my org mate. Like 100%.
Yeah.
That is why
Yo,
you make
yeah.
the signings that you
Well,
do.
well,
Is like
Aussie's a one of one, and that's why
Yeah.
it's a great signing.
He's
for
like
sure.
a cherry on top. No one's doing it like him.
yeah. No,
Well,
he has
but
a niche and
but
he's
another
found it.
thing
He's
is
perfected
they're
it.
Not,
I mean,
they're not using Aussie for content as well as they could. And
no,
that's,
for
but that's, like,
sure, for
that's the
sure.
way that I look at it, because like the 2 videos we shot right here that we just did
Yeah,
are 2 unique videos.
yeah,
Like, yes, they've been done before, but these are unique. We split up teams, 2v2, and we made it competitive. Like I seriously made it competitive for them, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Like the players
Yeah.
were into it. Where their players don't seem like too into the video. It's like,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like oh fuck,
It's
we got,
scripted and
oh
rehearsed.
fuck, we got to
Yeah.
record
Yeah.
today.
You
Oh,
Well, and
fuck.
you can tell it
that's
feels,
exactly what I'm talking about.
It feels
It-
plastic. Like it feels
Yeah.
fake.
But that's
what I'm saying.
I love
I
Dig and-
criticized another coach, I think, in front of you for like that exact same reason. Maybe it was you. I don't know. It was
Of what?
somebody where I was saying like his players put out like tweets and they just felt generic, like they
Mhm.
felt
Oh.
scripted.
Mhm.
Oh, like thanks to this
Yeah,
coach
it's when we
for
were in the car on the way over here.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah, we talked about
But
that on the way
that's-
over here.
But like I said, that comes down to like you have to know your players and
Yeah.
you have to know their audience.
Yeah.
Because like
Right.
when you know, like for example, we didn't have Pump here, but like Pump's not the best content guy, but I recognize that. And he's an elite, but we filled it with Oliver and Larson. Larson might
Yeah.
not be the best content guy either, but he's entertaining when you actually talk to him and you get
yeah,
involved.
yeah,
Yeah.
And so
Well-
we can fill those holes, and they do the same thing. They fill with content. So that's why I'm saying
Yeah.
for them moving forward, it's about whether they can adapt and generate
Yeah.
new ideas that are
Yeah.
better than the old ones.
Well,
Oh,
and that's
100%.
yeah, that's exactly what I was talking about with my content strategy. Is like you find the things that make you, the things that will make somebody watch you over somebody else, and then you target your content towards that. I mean, it's like you need to highlight whatever that is the best. And like for Peter, it's so obvious. Like, talk to anyone and they'll have the same answer for why they watch him. It's the shit talk, it's the attitude, it's the way he carries himself, and almost like contrasting that with like the way he looks, how you would expect him to be, and like that's his whole thing.
He's a troll, and that's what
for sure.
See. Like,
And
like I was gonna have him today. We were walking around the center. We were gonna start trolling people. And he was down for it. He was down for it too.
Yeah.
He went up to one guy and
him and Faxity interacting.
Well,
I mean,
exactly.
Yeah.
Like they're like he'll sit there and be like, "Yo, Fax, you're fat."
Yeah.
But then he'll be like, "Yeah, but your nose is big," and they just sit there and like fuck.
Yeah.
But they don't mean it. Like they actually don't mean it. Like they're just like, it's like a
well, it's
like,
more obvious from that they're friends than like obviously they would have any beef with each other.
It reminds me. Sorry, this is something I've been trying to get this one out, but I didn't want to interrupt. But now I'm going to.
You're good.
It kind of reminds me about how like I try to run the PL shit. I try to find people who are loose, who are fun. Like they're not
so
like
corporate.
Corporate like but also not super. You could say calm like Booga. I mean, the exception is Pars, but he's just a great kid. Like he's not corporate because he's like fucking boring. Like he's just a get shit done. Get out of there.
Oh, he's
like
he's a fucking animal. I mean,
he will do whatever is necessary, and then just fucking overachieve, and then just.
Well, I mean, he
done.
qualled in a heat and then started a Cash Cup half hour late and won.
Won it.
Won
the qual and then got what I think it was second.
Yeah.
No, it was
what
I don't remember. Either way, it was like fucking top 5.
Yeah.
And again with the loose brand thing, like Bronos. Bronos is known to like troll, be funny on the TL.
Yeah.
We're like, we need Bronos.
I mean, Bronos started as a fucking like Twitter guy. I mean,
he
built
did, and then he was the arena grinder. That
Yeah.
I remember seeing him. I knew him as the Twitter guy, and then I knew him as the arena guy, and now I know him as the guy who should not
quite
go
a
to
few
Dreamhack
of us. I feel like I played Twitter a little bit too. Like when I was first.
Twitter is huge.
Twitter's massive. That's the only way I connect.
That was the first way I really started growing was when I started Twitter.
Instagram and my Instagram, my TikTok are all like personal. I do not do any PL shit on there at all. And the only time I ever give someone in this call my Instagram, even though it's public, right?
Yeah.
Is if it's someone I truly feel like they're my friend. I know Mills has my Instagram.
Oh, buddy, we're not friends.
Go fuck yourself, buddy.
That's crazy.
IRL
ego
go
is
fuck
wild.
yourself, buddy.
No, that is
I'll leak
that
your phone
is
number
valid,
right now.
though. I feel the
right
same
now.
way. I feel the same way. Like, and I have I have an old like gaming Instagram. I don't even use it anymore. But like, I've thought about posting like clips and stuff on there, but the engagement just isn't.
Twitter
like,
is where
Yeah, but it just feels weird to do it anyways. Like, I don't know. I feel like you can't. The only way to put gaming content on Instagram is to do news about gaming.
Yeah,
because a lot of people, that's how they consume Instagram. They don't.
They're looking for
Twitter
news and stuff like little bits.
Because Twitter, you can just send a thought out, and then it's just like, oh yeah, that's pretty funny. Like, you don't do that to Instagram. Whenever it's Instagram, it's like, okay, well, I need to formulate this post. 1 to 10 images or videos.
Instagram is ancient, bro. Like,
do I put
I'm
these hashtags to hit
that,
algorithm because that's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, Twitter is
for sure washed out a little bit.
Twitter is an explore page, but Instagram, you're usually checking your following, and that's it. Because again, for me, it's a more personal app.
Yeah.
I like to see what my friends are up to. I like to post what I'm up to.
It's kind of a bettering of Facebook. I mean, which is why it's like old now. I mean,
Facebook is weird.
TeeChurch, I have a story for you. I bet you remember this. So it was Chapter 3 season. Oh, what was Collider season? That was when Peter won. It was Chapter 2, right?
Yeah, season 2.
So there was like a drill, right? That was like on the left. What was that drill? What was the name of it?
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about, right? Was it the drill?
Yeah,
was that what
it was a drill.
It had a pad spawn next to it, and it was like next to a gas station.
It was where Sloan spawned. Senate landed there.
Yeah,
so
close to the bridge and whatnot.
This is where I get in the story. So Senate and Cole landed there, and at the time it was Kwani and Larson that were contesting them, and then Peter and Bilo were there too. So they all were just having like a fuck fest on it. And so finally Peter and Bilo left when Collider came, and at the time it was like. Only the drill was still there, but it was like going away. And so Senton was still landing there, and so was Larson and Quanti, and Senton was cold, obviously. So one day Larson hits me up and goes, "Yo, I need you to hop on a call real quick. It's with like the Team 33 CEO." And I'm like, "All right, why? Like, is there a reason?" He's like, "Yeah, he doesn't want us to be contesting Senton." And I was like, "Whoa, like, what do you mean?" And he's like, "Yeah, like he hit me up and was like, hey, like this is unacceptable. This is that. Like they have a chance to win grands and you guys like don't." And pretty much counted them out. I've never told the story, by the way. Ladder season, Chapter 3, Season 2, when Peter won. So pretty much Larson asked me to get in a call. 33 CEO, Tyler Gallagher.
Okay.
Shitty dude, by the way.
What
Yeah,
what
from what I
was
heard.
the okay? I can't keep them all straight anymore. What was the fucking thing that happened with what was the scam or the
Yeah, so he ran like a hedge fund for like gold and shit, and so he like took all the money that people would invest and then just put it in like just literally spent it.
Man, fuck Team 33.
Yeah, but long story short with them, yeah. So Larson asked me to get a call. I told him no way I'm talking to this bozo.
Yeah.
And I ended up not doing it.
yeah
And then finally, what happened was I was sitting there and he like recorded it and was like, "Yo, like, can you please watch this for me and like just like let me know your thoughts?"
Mm.
And so I start watching this recording, and dude, it is like brutal. Like saying, "Larson, like you're not the best player on our team. Like we, Cold and Sensitive have a real chance of winning. Like you don't." And he's like, just like
Wow.
go land somewhere else for grands and like
Wow.
do this, do that, and like we'll make sure you're taken care of. Like that's what literally what he
Oh,
said.
so they're
Cold was
paying
on
him off?
33 at that point.
Cold-
I do
yeah.
remember that.
So he
Yeah.
was like basically off like bribing him
Yeah, he's
to
paying him
let
off to.
No,
He
he's
was-
org
threatening.
mates win.
It's
Damn.
not bribing. It's
It was
threatening.
threatening, like,
Yeah.
hey, your contract's not getting renewed. You're not getting your money. Like,
Damn.
you're getting dropped unless you move.
That's insane.
Yeah.
And so I
That's
was,
a fucking shitty business,
dude.
Yeah.
Awful.
Well,
So thank
okay.
God 33 got absolved.
Okay.
Bro. Like fuck that guy.
There's so many things about that because one, you ruin that relationship forever. Like nobody wants to be under you for that.
Well,
but
dude-
then you ruin your reputation too. Like
Yeah.
that's not
Well,
sustainable at all because
I want to make this clear. I did not make it. I didn't do any. I was even working with him when he signed there. And then after he's like asked me, he's like, "Yo, like when my contract's up, like we want to work together." And I'm like, "Dude, let's start working together now. I can
Yeah.
help you out." And he's like, "All right,
Yeah.
like help me out." You can ask him when he walks through the door, and it was fucking unreal, dude.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I watched the recording, and it was like he was saying the most ruthless shit to like a 16-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
This is a grown ass man saying, like,
yeah.
you know what? Fuck your grands. This is life changing money, but fuck you. Like my org is more important than you. This is a family. Like why would
That's
you
some
ever? land-
shitty shit to do.
Why would you ever?
bro.
That's
like,
emotional manipulation. Like that's
Dude,
just full on
Yeah,
like
that's-
Dude, I called
yeah.
him. I called him. I bitched him out. I'm like, that's not even right. Like, unless
Yeah.
I was like, I literally said, unless you're gonna pay him $45K to not land on him, then
Yeah.
he's gonna land wherever the fuck he wants.
Yeah.
pay him what he would win.
Yeah,
like
exactly,
legitimately.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, why would you sign him if you don't think he's gonna win?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for example, like Elite signed NPen. Like
Yeah.
NPen, I love you. I don't think NPen's the guy that's probably gonna go out winning at grands. Like,
Mm.
and that's just my honest opinion.
Mm.
But he's phenomenal at
But
all the other shit.
but he's phenomenal.
Maybe if he was working with me.
But he
we'll
does.
see.
But he provides everything else.
He's a
that's
fucking
valuable.
phenom.
Yes,
I mean, like
exactly.
we were talking about him
Yeah.
before actually. And like
Such a fucking
he's-
good speaker. man.
he's so
He does
multi-talented.
everything else.
He's great at everything. I
And
mean,
Pin tried to introduce himself to me this week, and I kind of like egoed him on accident because I was actually legitimately busy. Like I wasn't trying to like act
Oh,
like
yeah.
I was legitimately busy, and like I feel so bad. So if
no,
he ends up watching this pod, I
dude,
hope you know
like
Pin. I
literally,
still
he
wanna
could
meet
be
you, bro,
he could be a male model. He could be a content creator. He
He can do it all, and
Yeah.
he's cool about it too. Like he gets along with everybody, no issues. Anyone,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah.
love him to death.
Yeah, what happened today with Queasy and Vino was, I think, it's stupid.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I think
Well,
that was a shitty move by
Yeah,
Queasy. and
there's
I
there's
think it's a
competitive
reflection of their leadership.
there's competitive spirit and there's like
Hatred.
Vino.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Empen literally he told
Well,
me.
and you have to
before the
understand
tournament-
too. This is a small map. There's only so many places to
Mhm.
go. Like it's
He told me
it's
before,
not a
too.
personal move,
Yeah.
so you can't take it as like that.
Yeah.
And they took it personal from a business move. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
He told me
So-
before straight up. He was like, "We have nowhere to land. I have no clue where to land,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna land somewhere."
Oh,
I
dude,
at
it's
least
a
know."
scramble. I mean,
Yeah.
like everyone, like we had Bronus and Origin, and they were freaking out when they got to the venue this morning because like they had a whole game plan and then they were surprise conned and they're like, we don't know what to do. Like he was telling me they were basically deciding between conning their job spot or landing a spot they don't know at all, and it's like either way they don't really have a good chance.
Yeah.
Like they just feel cucked, you
Well,
know, and like
And so that's kind of how like Larson felt in that situation. Was like, do I go land south? I think it was mid map that he landed that year. He landed like there that season. He was like south. It was somewhere south, and he actually didn't do that bad. Day one, he contested him for like 3 games, and then they like died off spawn twice, then won once, then they left, and they went down south. Like they played south, and they got like top 15 on like total. Like they ended
Yeah,
top 15. I'm
yeah.
like, that's impressive, obviously.
Yeah.
But it's like if you were. If you did that from the start, or if
Yeah.
you landed there all tournament, you honestly could have cracked top 5.
yeah.
But it's like, I don't know. It was just frustrating from like my standpoint, like sitting there and seeing a grown ass man sit
Yeah.
there
Also,
and
that's
just say
just a
that. shit.
shitty
There,
thing to
there's
do as a
so
grown-ass
much.
man.
Yeah. Well, and there's such a. It's weird. There's such.
Huh?
Facts.
Oh, I
That's
know.
yeah,
Well, I mean,
facts.
and what's crazy, and this, I don't think people like actually like, know this. Team 33 never won an FNCS on North American East servers.
with how much fucking players they had.
With all
Yeah.
the,
Holy
they
shit.
never
Yeah.
won.
Yeah, of course they did because like You have
won
shitty
West.
leadership.
They won West and they won like Brazil, but my God, if you can't win it all, it's like holy, that's
Yeah.
just embarrassing.
Yeah.
With the amount of players.
Well,
they have.
there's so much. Okay, this is something I've talked about in the esports scene a lot, but like in this, it's the other side of the coin of like people who are 14, 15 can make a career if they're genuinely talented. There are people who think that they can, and they try and just like try and fake it till they make it type shit, and like orgs do that a fuck ton. I mean, I'm not gonna necessarily drop right now, but there are orgs in the scene right now where they're fucking jokes. I mean, it's like they're not doing
we
any.
know one particular one.
Yeah, fucking pipeline.
I have
fucking
one.
pipeline
I
orders.
definitely
piece
have.
No,
of
but, like,
I have one particular one in mind, and you know what I'm talking about.
I think so.
So
We talked
I-
about them earlier.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
No, I mean they're just they emulate the very little that they know about how an org operates, and then
joke
they
to
think
esports.
that they're like legitimately doing it, and they're just like they make a mockery of the whole thing, and like I don't know, but it is. It's like the same.
Is
Like,
a body shot right here? Am I taking a body shot on this one or what?
no.
No, I was fucking kidding. I'm playing around.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, but I'm just like it. No, but it is. It's like they.
Huh? Dude, I'm telling you, I think Elite's doing everything right. I don't think there's
Yeah.
in the past 4 months. I think they've
Yeah.
done everything right.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Well,
I bump heads. Like
Yeah.
we talked about this. I bump heads, but at the end of the day, I think that content wise, they're definitely doing better than Dig.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, when I was with Elite, I was with Elite for 6 months, 7 months, and then I ended up. I mean, I always butt heads with management, and that's
Yeah.
how it
Yeah.
was. And then I was just like, you know what, I'm out. And then I was cool with it. Like I was fine with that. 'Cause
Yeah.
I don't need to be in an org. Like,
Yeah.
I work with so many players already, so
Yeah.
it's not really beneficial to me. But then, Aaron, the owner, like reached it back out to me. And was like, hey, we're interested in Peter. Like, let's make this happen. And then she like entrusted me in everything. And she's like, you know what? Like I see your vision. I understand why. Like she was thinking long term. 7 years from now, Peter will be 22, which is Sentin's age, and he already has over 1 million followers total.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like that's
Yeah.
scary.
That-
but
I mean,
was gonna
that's like an NFL signing. It's like that's your
Yeah.
franchise guy. I mean, you
Yeah.
know, it's like
Well, that's kind of like the way that she like saw it, and I always was saying like there's a vision there, and people
Yeah.
disagreed. Like people within the org, like no, I don't see it. But it's like you have to know him. Like yes, you got to be patient with him, and yes, it's gonna suck. Like, it could.
But
suck
also,
the
he's
first year.
14 and he's already where he is, and a lot of that stuff can and will be ironed out because he's 14 years old. I mean,
Yeah.
like, don't underestimate that. He's got hormones flowing through his body. Like he's
Oh yeah,
just hitting puberty,
yeah, I
and
was
it's
about to say,
obvious.
he's literally just
Well,
he's
and
literally
dude,
just
and-
starting, bro.
we're
And-
so fucking crazy.
He's
like,
not even close to his peak,
with how weird-
physically, mentally,
Yeah.
like any of that.
And
Like,
with how
yeah,
weird the community is, like people will be like, call him out for like stupid shit. But it's like,
Oh,
dude,
yeah.
he's a kid.
Yeah,
Like, he's
yeah.
a kid at the end of the day. And
Yeah.
like, for me, like I'll stand by him every day of the week. Like,
Yeah.
like he's like a brother to me. He's a family. So
well,
Yeah,
and
I think
that's what makes a lot of that success is like honestly, there are a lot of kids need that guidance and they don't have it. And like I've talked about this like with like drama. Orgs actually like it when
Yeah.
kids have like terrible, shitty drama because it fucking sells and it
Yeah,
like
it gives them
it gets good views.
Yeah.
Like I mean, you know, and it makes me sad because like I want them to have good lives and be good people and whatnot. And like
But-
I would rather have orgs have like counselors and like legitimate
But
like
like the org we're talking about, like you know what I'm talking about. I think that is exactly what you hit it right on the nail. Like they want the drama,
yeah.
so they
Yeah.
they'll keep
Well,
on
some people for sure stir it up intentionally for
yeah,
impressions and whatnot, and like, but I've seen so many situations where, people will have some kind of like drama breakout or beef and whatever, and it could literally like I'm like, if I had the access to, I would sit these people down for 5 minutes, and I guarantee you it would be solved.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I mean, like I said, they're kids. And
A lot of it's
some
petty
people
too.
like it. Some people like it. So on my content team, I work with 2 thumbnail designers. and
Yeah.
They like have bad blood. Like they
Yeah.
seriously just argue all the fucking time. And
Yeah.
it's ridiculous,
Yeah.
bro. I'm
Most
like,
of it's petty too.
Well,
Like,
yeah.
it's very
Yeah,
petty.
Dude,
well,
one-
and you see it so much of it dropped like Atlanta and shit. It's so unimportant as soon
Well,
as they
dude,
like
neither of them go to land. Neither of them
Yeah.
are like very involved. So the way I
Yeah.
look at it is like I understand from like a thumbnail guy, like you don't have to go to a land to be successful in this.
yeah.
But like when you go to land, it means like you're serious about shit. Like if
Yeah,
you go
yeah.
once, it's like yeah, you meet these guys, But then you go twice. Like, so for example, like I went to Invitational, met a ton of guys, met Scopes,
Yeah.
met all these guys.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I went a second time, and it's like reinstilling those relationships.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, he's here to stay. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a one time.
They've seen you at multiple things.
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, you're gonna be around.
And,
like you're
yeah.
serious. Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
and
as
then-
invested in
and
it
then
as
they-
I am.
Well, then
Like
they look at it a lot different. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it's less of like, oh, it's just a new guy in town to like, oh, he's cool. Like
Yeah.
he's around all the time.
oh for sure.
Yeah, like say what he was saying. Like people thought I was gonna be around for the SETI pick and that dip. Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Got my 5 seconds.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then I was at then
Yeah.
I was at Atlanta. I went
Yeah.
to like almost every
Yeah.
every event.
Well, and it does.
I guess
It's
it's the same thing. Same thing for me as a coach. You know, you get the first qual, and people start to look at you, and they,
yeah.
like it
It's
was
a
a very
fluke.
slow. Yeah, well, it was a very like that was every time I've had success. Like everyone's want to say like Hammer, like Bryson Chubb's getting 6. Oh, Hammer season. Like
Yeah.
Zeneto and Cyrus
Yeah.
falling. Like they got whatever. Like
yeah.
whatever.
You,
it was.
you
People will
succeed
always
until
wanna
they
discredit
can't
you.
call it a
They'll-
fluke.
They'll,
I
they'll
mean,
always want to discredit you.
Wait,
either
didn't
way.
Revise top 5 Hammer season?
Yeah, revised the top 5 Hammer season.
Dude, he actually came up to me at LAN. I didn't even know it was him because I've never seen his face.
Oh, yeah.
Half the guys,
Yeah.
he came up to me and goes, "Yo, Cmills was good," and I'm sitting there. I'm
Yeah,
like,
there's a couple of kids that like came up to me in Atlanta. I had no idea who
I was
they
sitting
were.
there,
Yeah.
I looked at him so crazy. I was like, "Who the fuck is this
Yeah.
kid?"
dude, at Atlanta, I talked to Cam for like 15 minutes. I had no clue it was him. Like dig Cam.
Yeah.
Like
Dude,
and I was like,
Cam,
oh,
Cam is.
Dude.
He looks like
I love Cam.
Amazing
Yeah,
I
kid, by the way.
love Cam.
Great kid.
Such a good
Amazing
kid.
kid.
Like I'm struck by like just how humble he is.
Yeah.
Like he seriously is.
No,
so
I mean,
just
like
such a good kid.
I work with
I
him, too.
I almost
Yeah.
never talk to kids that are like young, especially like Fortnite kids. Most of
Yeah.
them fucking annoy me. Like that's just like. I mean, the
You're
ones who
right,
are like
you're right.
known, like who are successful, like
Yeah.
they're more interesting to like talk to, and they're usually like better kids. But like, no, I just like struck up a conversation with him, and I was like, it was very natural. Like he was watching like Spareboat, who was like 2 seats down from me or something, and like it was just very like cool and
I was gonna say
collected.
that
and, like,
about Bronos. It was so funny at Invitational.
I fucking love Bronos,
Dude,
bro.
At Invitational, we probably he was with Rip Rara the whole
Yeah.
time. So like, he comes up to me and he was like, "Shot by his axe." I was like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I didn't know who he was. I probably like shook his hand 5 times throughout
Yeah.
that day.
Yeah.
Did not know who he was.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I remember his name, but not his his face.
yeah.
The next day he comes up to me. He's like, I'm Bronos, right? I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
I was like, I
yeah.
had no idea.
Well, dude,
And ever since then, he's been like one of those like genuine dudes I've met.
Yeah.
one of the
Bronos
biggest
is
things-
actually a good dude.
Yeah.
No, great
No,
dude.
and
Great
that
dude.
like and that's what I was talking about earlier, like with like the perception. Are you gonna respond to him the same way you responded to my paragraph like that? I sent him a fucking heartfelt like pouring out and like. Do you think
It's
you're
overwhelming.
Do you
Well,
think you're emotionally closed off or what?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. How about a mic?
Yeah, if I could jump on.
I
Yeah.
might break this couch.
Don't call Cmills fat like that, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
for real.
chill out.
All right. Oh, so that, yes. So, oh god damn. Clumsy ass.
But okay, before you do that, I just want to like finish my thing on Bronos. But like,
My fault.
no, like legit, like that's what I was talking about earlier, like with like public perception, because like Bronos, like obviously he
LeBron
memes and
PFP.
trolls a lot, and like people have a perception of him, like his character or persona, whatever you want to say on stream, and then you meet him in person, he's just the nicest fucking dude, and like
Yeah.
he's so nice to
And
be around.
he's
him.
funny and
No, he is. Like
he's
I could talk to him
enjoyable.
forever, bro. Like he just like I would want to like go out with him, sit in a room with him, whatever.
Yeah,
and, like I
that's
can't
an
say that.
attractive person. That's
Yeah,
like somebody
for
you wanna
sure.
be around. Yeah.
No, and like his relationship with like Fox, man, like dude, those guys
I
are
mean, I
like
think a lot of people in this room are like that. Like
yeah,
realistically,
oh for sure.
like,
oh, that fucking
we all
Cmills.
connected.
I talked to you for
connected
3
by
minutes, and I was like, that's a guy that I want to see all the
Duh,
time. Like,
yeah, like
Can I
I
say one
felt the
thing about
same
Bronos
way.
real
Like
quick?
literally, we just
Yeah.
started talking. It was
But
like
dude,
an hour
the
long
difference-
conversation.
The difference is like there's people that actually want to help people in the com. There's
Yeah.
people who want to take
Agreed.
advantage of them.
Yeah.
It's like it's
well,
like
and that's what I was talking about with the two types of people. Like, it's very clear who's selfless, who's doing it for something bigger than themselves, like all of that stuff. And it is. It's like we should all help each other succeed. Like, there's a mentality. I think especially with content creation, where it's like you're stealing my viewers. I'm like, no, we're all collaborating. Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh man, I could talk about
Wait,
Bomb.
I
bro,
want to say
but-
I was pretty disappointed though when Bronos wasn't the guy in his profile picture. I was like,
Oh, when he wasn't
man,
LeBron.
Man, I was like,
Yeah.
no way, it's not LeBron,
Fuck.
bro.
But yeah, so yeah, Jank. But
Yeah, let's go ahead and start with your story, buddy.
Oh yeah. So yeah, that long ass DM and then the DM you sent me.
yeah,
And like I've gotten shit from like a VAFT,
yeah,
and I'll help people or something, and I'll get this, long ass DM.
yeah,
But like growing up, I've never been told like "good job, I'm proud of you," anything like that, right?
Yeah.
Never in my fucking life.
yeah.
Besides once, right? And that's when I was right after therapy. I was probably 8th grade, so I was like
Okay,
13 years old. And
okay.
it's because my therapist told my mom she should do it more, so it felt forced. And now every time
Oh.
since then, it has felt forced. It feels like I
You,
owe-
you
I
don't
owe
you
it
don't
to
trust
this
that it's
guy.
genuine.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like that, but it's also because I've never experienced it genuinely. I don't know how to respond genuinely. Even if
okay.
I do feel a certain way, I never know how to word it, or if I kind of close myself off because I'm like, is there an ulterior motive
not-
here? Or
Oh,
even if I know in my conscious that it's genuine,
mm.
my subconscious wants to just close it all off and be
Yeah.
like, mm-mm.
Right. Well, because like I've experienced a little bit of that myself, so maybe I can help you out with some of my insights. I know for me, it was kind of like, I've experienced that same thing, but you really just have to like. I mean, I know it sounds like so just like almost impossible, but you really do have to just
easier said than done.
you have to just open up to the possibility that it is genuine, and then understand that you can deal with and handle and accept and process like what
If it
happens
goes
if it
wrong.
isn't.
But
Yeah,
the
what
hard-
happens if it isn't?
The hard part of that is that I always think, well, maybe it is genuine, but then I'm like, but what if I do like truly accept it and
Then it's
and then it's just bullshit,
Well-
well, then it's a reflection of them.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but
I mean,
also, so I have a quick story.
Yeah.
I have a really close friend group back at home, back in Michigan, and we are like very close.
Yeah.
I've known them since I was in kindergarten, and like
Yeah.
Is
love
the ones
them
we've
to death.
gamed with,
Yeah.
like Presto.
Yeah, Presto.
I fucking
INA,
love Presto.
Like Jank and Presto, like they've met before.
Yeah.
Through my cord and stuff, and they're all like genuine dudes.
Yeah,
I fucking
And
love them.
so we have like a lot. Like they're obviously we get in fights and argue and shit.
yeah,
But we all played lacrosse together, and one of the things I would say is like we played against a team that was a lot better than us, but like
Yeah.
we were good. Like we were
Yeah.
like top 5 in the state, good, and this team was like number 2 in the state.
Mm.
We played them once, and when we were playing, we all like looked at each other like we the only way we do this is if we do it together, and we end up winning. Like we won a game like 8-7.
Yeah.
And after that, it's been just like unconditional love all the
Mm.
time, no matter what. Like they all love Pete. Like after Pete won FNCS, we all were like out on the boat, like fucking
Yeah.
partying, having
Yeah.
fun, just like doing shit. But it's like,
But it takes that moment.
yeah, it does.
It's
Yeah,
that
it's
one
always that.
moment you have to,
Oh.
and that'll happen. That'll come like when you're ready.
yeah.
Yeah.
I,
You know,
I don't I
yeah.
don't trust that most people fuck with me. I genuinely believe that everyone I interact with, like,
Yeah, like you and I, we've been very vocal like on socials about how much we fuck with each other, and then
Yeah.
like behind the scenes, like I think I've talked to you like 3 or 4 total times,
Yeah.
and because we talked about like
Well,
it's our
but-
own like
but you and I, like, yeah, like you and I clicked, like,
pretty much
it
instantly,
took a
Yeah.
like you got past that like threshold, but there are a lot of people that like say they fuck with me that I really don't
No.
believe
Yeah.
them. Like I
Yeah.
and like
Yeah,
I mean it is
totally
because so
agree.
many people like are so fake about it, and like it's weird for me because I'm such an open
oh yeah,
and honest communicator. Like when I
Mhm.
say I fuck with you, I will never not mean that
Yeah.
shit because
Oh,
people
yeah.
know, and there are people out there, I'm sure, they know I don't fuck with them. They-
I'm honest. Sometimes I'm too honest.
Well,
I was complaining about one of our players today, and I was calling him like a lazy bitch because he was being a lazy bitch, and
Yeah.
it made me mad.
Yeah.
Well, that's my problem. Is I'm too nice. Like I'm
Mm.
way too nice to people. Like
I don't think being too honest is ever
Yeah.
a problem.
Yo,
I
yeah.
think where
I
it becomes
agree.
a problem
I
is
agree.
like when you can't like
When it's
We
not
can't say
constructive,
no.
when it's not constructive, when
Yeah.
when
Well,
instead you start tearing them
well,
down.
I think it's more
Right.
it's more about tact. I think it's like, is it going to be productive at all?
yeah.
Because there are people I would like, I withhold from like telling the truth to, not to,
Yeah.
and I don't fake it, but I'm just like I just won't interact with them. Like
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
because there are things where it's like I know if I tell the truth, they're too immature or they're too whatever. Like
They're not
it's just
ready for it.
yeah,
They're not ready
yeah,
to hear it.
no, for sure. But like,
Mhm.
I mean, I
And
think
you're
I
just
think
gonna
that
end up
is.
doing more damage.
I
Anyways.
I would say I'm a very hated person, and like I think a lot of that. I would. I have a lot of like enemies. Like I have a lot of people that are like out for me.
Who
I feel
the
like
fuck wants to hate Jatmon?
Yeah,
a decent amount of people. Like
Y'all ain't bulletproof.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, the way I look at it is like you're either loved or hated, or like
Yeah.
or the
Oh, for
people,
sure.
or the people that don't love you don't like they
the
either hate you.
people that I think get past the acquired taste that I am love me, but like
What a way to put it.
there's a lot of people out there that like they just hate me. And
I think you're a lot more. I think a lot of that's coming from your own head. Like I
Yeah,
think
I don't
you
know.
guys are so unproblematic. That's the thing. Like I don't look to cause problems.
Oh,
to
I-
people.
yeah.
Like,
I call people on their bullshit, and I think that's what they hate
well,
most
but
about
that's the
me.
difference.
Like,
That's, like you can call people on their bullshit, but I don't actually look for problems. Like,
Yeah, oh,
Right.
no,
Yeah, I'm not going out on Twitter to look at people to call
no,
out.
Yeah.
no.
But if I
So-
see some
so-
crazy shit, I'm gonna be like, bro, what the fuck?
Well, yeah, but that's like your normal reaction. But I'm saying is like, for example, I don't have an issue with anybody in the scene. Like if somebody's like, oh, I fucking hate that Cmills kid. It's like cool. Like you hate me, but I really
No,
don't have an
But like,
opinion on it.
why?
I've talked about this before because like I have like people were like, oh, like why didn't you squash your beef like with this person? And I'm like for me, bro, if it's small enough to be dealt with, I'm going to deal with it. But if it's big enough where I actually have an issue with you, I would have an issue with you if it was in person, online, whatever. Like that. If I don't mess with you, if I come to a conclusion that you are not a person I want to have in my life, that shit's final. Like
Yeah.
because there's a guy who like, and I won't go too much into this, but basically anyone who knows me knows it, that like there's a guy that like has had like a lot of beef with me, and he's DM people trying to like tear my name down, like anyone I've interacted with, and like at the end of, like he tries to pretend like nothing happens.
Put his handle into my phone real quick.
Yeah, but then he's trying to like
I need to
pretend
respond
like
to Bronos.
like,
Fuck.
he's trying to pretend like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
And
Well, let me.
he
Put
tried to
that
come
in.
back like 2 weeks later because he had forgotten about it, or he had gotten over whatever emotions he was feeling when he said what he said and like all of that to me.
Yeah.
And I'm going, yeah, no, like you made your decision, like you
Yeah.
made your bed, now fucking lie in it. Like
Yeah.
I'm not gonna. That was final for me. Like
Yeah.
you tell me I don't deserve X shit, or all
Yeah.
this stuff. That's final for me. Like I'm fine. I respect that. That's your decision. That's your standpoint.
Hey man, you're more than welcome. You're more than entitled to your opinion.
Yeah,
you're wrong.
yeah, like if people don't like me, great. I don't care. Like, but it's you can't switch up. Like
Right.
that decision's final for me. Like,
Right.
and I don't know, but I do. So many people are so fake, and like that's I think where my well, that and like complex PTSD, but that's where my mistrust of people comes from.
Well,
like,
that's because I actually I think that's something that I've like literally just kind of not necessarily conquered, but really become like I developed a certain level of mastery over. I would say 'cause it's not
this whole trip,
you don't ever get over it.
yeah,
Like,
this whole trip,
that's always a
I've
part
like
of you.
I'm just gonna do this, and if they come out and say, I won't necessarily be surprised, but I'm just gonna keep acting as I would if I fully believed them, and like that's just where I'm at. Like for example, like I went out with we went out with Zito and Plau,
Yeah.
and like I still don't believe that they like really fuck with me. Like I
you
love
went
them.
out with them though.
No, and I love
Yeah.
them, and like they
Yeah.
wanted me to. They like asked me to come out again, but
I
there's
included
just like
you.
there's
Yeah.
something in the back of my mind that's just like, oh, I feel like they're doing this like out of pity or like something like that, and like
Yeah.
I just
Well,
I don't
like-
know if I'll believe them. Like with you, like you've passed like those boundaries for me, and
Yeah.
like I just know like you're my fucking boy,
Well, yeah,
and like
Yeah.
but you just gotta get past the boundaries. That's the thing.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Like with Peter, like I was big off. Like Peter probably doesn't fuck with me. Like I'm his manager. Like that's all I am. But now it's
Yeah.
like we're family.
Yeah.
Like, I passed
Yeah,
the
yeah.
boundaries, and that like happened to Invitational. Like that was like when I was
Okay.
sitting there and like, dude, nobody
Same
saw.
thing with Trippin.
Well, yeah, it's
Yeah.
the
Same
same
thing
thing.
with Trippin.
But, like nobody saw like when they're behind the scenes. Like when he was dead last at Invitational, I've never seen somebody so upset. But it's at the same time, it's like who's gonna be there to like actually be
Yeah.
there for them
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
it's a down? Because like when he wins, of course everyone's
Yeah,
congrats,
yeah.
man. Like
Yeah.
you're
well,
doing
right,
great.
right,
But like when
Yeah.
they're dead last after Clicks was like, yeah, you're getting fucking last, and then he gets dead last. Like
yeah,
that
yeah.
right there is like a mental
Yeah.
killer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that sucks. That hurts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like day 2 he was like 14th. Like he ended 14th
Mm.
just in day 2 and ended
Yeah, yeah.
38th, which is like not bad. Like I was sitting there, I was like, dude, I'm like, you could have gotten dead fucking last, and you
Yeah.
would have been clowned, like
Yeah,
literally
yeah.
clowned.
yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I think that like your relationships have to be up and down, but also. One thing for me, I'm way too nice to everybody. Like I just don't care
Yeah.
for problems because like I already
Yeah.
have enough problems,
Yeah.
and I just need to like
Yeah.
keep it straightforward.
No,
She would have like basically shit on me a long time ago when PL was just in the gutter.
Who me?
Yeah, dude. Because sometimes like that hard constructive criticism, like I only
Oh,
take
it
that.
sucks.
Well,
Yeah.
the
It fucking
hard,
sucks.
the
But-
hard constructive criticism, which I only see it as that, like as hard constructive criticism. Whenever it would be insulting from other people, but like
because
Mills
of
is
your relationship.
Mills
exactly.
is one of those people where
Yeah.
I would take it and I'd be like, "Holy shit!" And,
Well,
and I have before.
you know where it's coming from.
Well,
you know
yeah.
that
Yeah, I
it's
know
just-
it's not coming from a place of
Yeah.
hate.
But
yeah.
it's
like-
coming from love, and it's also coming from me trying to push you to be great.
Well,
Like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Well,
like,
yeah.
you
and I
can-
know you're in the position to be able to tell me like
Like,
where
you
I'm
could be
fucking
good.
up.
For
you
sure.
can be good. Like a lot of my friends are good, and they are like a lot of people, even my clients. They're good. Like they're good guys, and they're good.
Yeah.
But like I try and push them to be great, and they don't.
Yeah.
They don't budge. So it's like,
Yeah.
all right, maybe
Yeah.
next time, and I'll do it until they're like, you know what, dude, it's not worth it. And then
Yeah.
once they say like, all right, like I'm done, that's when I'm like, all right, well, they obviously made their own mind up. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
even for Bilek, he does montages on YouTube. I've pushed him to do content all the time.
Yeah.
He did well. He did one video, did like 70K, and it was like his 6th grand finals placement or something like that.
Yeah.
And he just like, nah, it's not for me. And I'm like, all right, fair enough. I'll
Yeah.
stop bugging you about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
That's
you
kinda
have
what
to
it
get
is.
them to that point where they understand whether or not it's for them.
Yeah.
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 Because
Well, and he's
if they
old
don't
enough
even
to do
try
that,
it,
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
if they don't even try it,
Yeah.
they won't ever know.
Oh,
you know
it's
what I'm
his
saying?
choice at the end of the day.
Yeah, and he's way old enough to like figure that out. Where
Yeah.
like for Peter, he's not old enough to.
Yeah,
figure it out.
Right.
He's not old enough to make that decision for him yet.
Yeah.
And the day, like, there's a day where it could happen where he's like, you know what, it's just not for me, bro. Like, I'm just gonna be a pro, and that's all I want to be.
Mm.
And then at that point, I just gotta accept it. But like,
Yeah.
that's a risk I'm willing to take.
Because
with
whenever
him.
when you push people to do things that they don't want to do, and they're gonna, I don't know how to explain.
it
what I'm
makes them
thinking.
better.
Well,
It takes them out of their comfort zone, makes them better.
but sometimes it'll push them back into a shell where they don't. They're just gonna be like, "Fuck! Like I don't want to do this. Like I
Yeah.
just want to quit." Like there's two
Mhm.
different kinds of people. And there's people that are gonna be like, "You know what?
Yeah.
Maybe you're right. I'll give it a shot." Then there's gonna be people that
Well, but
close themselves off and they're like,
Yeah.
"Dude, what the fuck are you doing?"
it's
Like,
what
get
you were
away."
talking about though, because
Yeah.
the relationship changes. I think what of that like
Yeah.
binary that
Yeah.
they are is like you with Peter. I mean, it's like
Well, that's why it's like I like I said, I push and I pull. Like,
Yeah,
I push
yeah.
when I can, and
Yeah.
then once he says like, no, I'm done.
yeah,
All right, I'm done. Like,
Right,
I'm
right,
off. I'll back
right.
off.
Mhm.
But like he moved like a couple inches forward.
yeah,
Like,
right,
I made an effort,
Right.
and then if he seriously says no, like again, it's like all right, like there's
Yeah.
nothing I can do. About
yeah,
it.
Yeah.
And that's just how it is. But like he's a kid,
Yeah.
and that's just how
Yeah.
it is. But like that excuse is only because like he's young, and I'm willing to be patient with him. But
Right.
the
Yeah,
day that I'm
right.
not, it's like all right, bro, either figure your shit out or I quit. Like
Yeah.
one or the other.
Yeah, when he's old enough to make that decision right there,
And,
because
yeah.
Well,
I mean,
and
he's very young and impressionable. So
And his-
and
his
so
dad
many
sees
of
it
these
too.
pros are, and they don't have any guidance like that.
they
And
don't.
that's-
There's not.
Well,
There's no other Cmills out there. There's
No,
nobody
for
that is
sure.
doing like what
Well,
he
or
does.
it-
I
even
would,
just-
I would say, I mean, like,
Nuh-uh.
there's a couple of really good managers, but I'd definitely say like from what just from my perspective of what I've seen, like you've got to be one of the better ones.
There's-
well, and
Oh,
to me,
yeah.
it's not even about like obviously you're
I would
very
say
good at your
Saul-
job.
I would say
and-
Saul though from like Man City.
Yeah,
another
well,
great one.
He's-
I've never
but,
spoken to him, so.
He does just like me, but he like there's other guys who work for like different organizations
Yeah.
and do stuff like that. Like if you work for an organization, it's our jobs are completely different. My job is
Yeah.
to advance the player and relate with them.
Yeah.
Like the org, like if you work with an org, your job is to literally roll dough. And if you're not
Yeah.
making money, if you're not like no org in the scene makes money, believe it or not. I will
No brainer.
Oh yeah,
I will
like
yeah,
I
Man
will
City's
put I
gotta
will
be-
put a fuckload on that.
yeah.
Man City's
Well,
got to be just like
n-
writing off their taxes for this org
Well,
or something
yeah, well,
like
yeah.
that.
Well, it's
They-
also
they have
Man
a
City.
little-
They're being funded by fucking soccer.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. is
Well,
like,
I mean, you
Surprising why
talk
TNA
about
ended, but
even
TNA brought
non
in no
Fortnite.
sponsors.
Yeah, you even talk about non Fortnite, like fucking Moist Esports.
Yeah,
A-
so
and Charlie's
Moist
super.
is making no money.
Yeah, Moist is
That's what I'm
Charlie's
saying.
But
very
it's- but-
vocal about the fact that
Yeah.
they lose. Like he's very clear.
It's his passion project.
Right,
Like
right.
that's just
But-
he's like I want to do
But
it.
dude, the way to make money.
Yeah. Toast is losing a fuck ton
Yeah.
of money.
Toast lost 1 million like the first.
But
Yeah.
what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that there is ways to make money. You just have to get very creative
Mm.
and you have to be innovative.
Well, yeah, we've never seen a profitable business model because all of esports, well, like at its peak thus far, was venture capitalist money, and that
Yeah.
was exactly what
Well-
ruined it too. I mean,
but now it ran out. So now it ran
Yeah,
out. So
exactly.
now-
all the
now people
all
are-
the angel investors are gone.
Right.
Well, people
Yeah.
are looking for round 2. What do you do? Like they're. What you said? No, go. You got it. I mean, yeah, they were profitable,
Yeah.
but at the same time, it's like what their expenses are out. Like they're bringing in money, but they're just
Yeah.
not.
But they
actually,
stopped-
But they're just spending way too much.
Yeah.
And part of it
to
is that
bring
they
that
stopped
money in.
like actually catering to their community. They stopped learning their
they
community.
sold out. They sold
Yeah.
out.
And then they're gonna stop
that-
wanting to. The community's gonna be like, well, I don't want to.
Well, that's
buy,
it.
like,
It-
watching FaZe. I don't
FaZe's
want to buy the
stock,
jerseys.
completely crashed
Oh,
recently,
oh,
and then
they got
had to-
taken off. They got taken off
Yeah,
Wall
so
Street.
they had to go
Like,
private
they're
again.
not
Yeah.
gonna want to invest, buy jerseys, watch any content
Well,
unless if it's like the original four
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
That's why when it comes down to an organization, you have to get creative. Like I said,
Yeah.
the products are one thing. Not one org is done correct
Yeah.
at all. Even with the corporate ladder,
Yeah.
they have
Yeah.
not gotten
No.
products correct.
Right.
But it's because
Pipeline
they,
water.
Huh? Well, they haven't invested in anything new. That's why. Like, there's nothing
Yeah.
new that's coming out to the market. Like, no one has done like monitors or something to that extent.
or
Mm.
mice.
Because
Mice,
it gets
like-
seen
like-
as like a like you remember when Soulja Boy released a game console? Like
No.
like if you were no
No.
like I don't know.
the
if-
Soulja game
yeah,
like
yeah, I remember. I
Yeah.
remember
You
that.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know though if you guys know this, but
didn't
Fuck,
Fnatic
what was
have
it?
mice and mouse pads?
you
Like
know,
branded?
there's a freaking well, yeah, Chap's doing like a mouse pad now, like through the mouse pad.
Well,
yeah,
company.
I've seen that
Yeah.
one. But I'm talking about like if they were to make like a monitor or other peripherals, it's gonna be seen as like like that Soulja Boy console. It's just
Right.
something that was cheap, bought, and given a name.
But it's not
Yeah.
supposed to be cheap. That's why you have to make high quality
you have to
shit.
make-
Yeah,
like
Because-
it's
well-
gonna be.
Well, like Epic Whale did a really good job with that. I mean,
Yeah.
and like that for his personal brand, that is the way you need to be going. I mean,
Yeah,
because
I agree with that.
Mm.
because it is. It's like he took, yeah, yeah,
Well, I was gonna say there's a.
Well,
I think it's.
that's
I,
so
those
I
two
think
sides.
felt
it's
like
so-
yeah.
That's so different.
That's different because it's like
definitely a money
it's
grab.
That's a
five
deal.
below because
But that's a deal. That's not actually generating a product. That's taking a re-existing product, slapping a brand on it, and
Yeah.
then selling it in
And-
a store.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like
But
partnering with
I
that
believe,
store.
I believe, yeah, like that was a beautiful job by Darren. Like getting
Yeah.
that done was beautiful.
Yeah.
Like, I completely.
Oh,
loved
it gets clowned on by any pro player, but how many people are still buying those? You know?
Even
Oh,
if they're
yeah.
buying them as a
Every
joke,
little
The competitive
Timmy-
scene is in the audience.
Yeah.
That's exactly like
Every
Booga
little Timmy
has
will buy it.
transcended
they
that
do
by
not
far. I mean,
Well,
they do not give a shit what the competitive
Yeah.
scene thinks because
Yeah.
like that wasn't the goal.
because
And
the
then on
casual
top of
side's
that-
bigger.
So
Yeah.
And then on
So-
top of that, there's a coach actually that does YouTube content that came out like with his own mouse. Like it's
Oh,
his,
wow.
like he
Yeah.
designed
That's
it and
cool.
everything, and
Link?
just went out and got a company that. No, it's not me. It's Zycoma actually. Like I'm very vocal.
Wait.
Like the coaches that
Is-
he
Who'd you
does
say it was?
Zycoma. He does like a lot of like educational YouTube content for
Gotcha.
coaching.
Un-
And I'll name drop because like I think people that work hard deserve recognition.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Zycoma's one of those guys. He works really fucking hard. He makes great, in my opinion, makes great content.
Yeah.
I learned a lot about
Yeah.
the game from him. You
Yeah.
know, and I was even still like even though I'm around pros all the time, I still love watching his content.
Mm.
well, yeah. Like the thing I was saying
That's
also
dope,
is like, what was your question again? Say it again. It was a good deal. Yeah. So. Yeah, dude, it's a great deal.
Yeah, it was a-
That-
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
that-
great- yeah,
that
it is
did a
Because it
great
was
job.
structured in that way.
Well-
Even if it's technically a shitty product, it's put into a place where it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A
You know?
huge
Like,
Well,
topic.
it's
the average,
made
like,
to be.
The
It's made
average,
to be like
10-year-old
entry level. Yeah.
The
It's
average 10-year-old fan of Booga that's playing on their, like
Like
the
they
very
plug it
cheap
into their
PC.
PS4.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Or,
No,
yeah,
exactly.
their PS4, PS5,
It's
or
supposed
like
to be
the
entry
cheap-
level.
or
Yeah.
the cheap gaming
Well,
PC their parents bought them.
Even
Yeah.
this,
Perfect.
well, and it has no target audience. It's for anybody because it's cheap. That's why.
Right.
Yeah,
People
yeah.
will buy it for the
Audience.
meme too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so-
that's still
Oh,
money being made.
Do you
It's
guys
not
know?
like
Do
they
you guys know
stole it.
Fly? FLYY.
Yeah.
Dude, like his fucking Booga Five Below
Yeah.
video was hilarious. Like
It's
he,
fucking juice box.
yeah,
Well, yeah. So
which is like almost part of it. Like it got more promotion through that. Like
one other thing that Booga. So I talked to Darren about this yesterday.
Yeah.
Literally at Dreamhack. We were sitting there, and a huge topic in the community is his thumbnails. People are like, "Your thumbnails fucking suck," and it was all over Twitter. But Darren replied and was like, his thumbnails don't suck. His thumbnails are different, but his thumbnails are meant for like him. He's not supposed to have the generic, regular Fortnite
Yeah.
thumbnails. Like if you pull them up, like if you look up the Booga thumbnails, they're so different. Like
Dude,
they're nothing like the regular.
oh, like
Remember
the
the-
over rendered like
yes,
yeah,
yes, like
yeah.
The Booga
what the
skin.
fuck is this?
No, look at it. No, you can say they suck though, but here's the thing: they don't brand. Like if you see that thumbnail, you know it's Booga. Where
Yeah,
because
because who the fuck else is doing that?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's it's
yeah,
different. That's what
yeah.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Dude, his arms look so weird.
What do you think I did on Peter's second channel? I made it shitty. Like I make his thumbnail so shitty.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the same
Yeah.
picture over and over again.
Yeah.
Same kid with a different injury.
Yeah.
Well, do you remember? You remember that one Booga video that had the really shitty editing, and it was getting clowned on Twitter. like you get a kill and it'd be like a thunder crack across the screen or some shit.
Oh yeah.
I never saw that.
You didn't see that montage? I don't know. I accidentally clicked on his text now to respond.
How much do you think the average pro gets paid?
Like
The average.
not
If you're-
enough.
I only really like actually knew anything about that when I started negotiating with PL.
Really?
But I can say for the entire scene, like what we talked about earlier, it's way less than anybody thinks.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
How
But
much
dude, it
does
used to be
Puka
I mean,
so
back-
inflated.
I was gonna
Oh
say
my
back in the I heard about some of the deals even when I was coaching TK last year. Like
Yeah.
I heard about the deal that he was on, and I just like I think Fusion's one of the few orgs left that can still like throw money, like just
They-
toss money around like
they
that.
can, but they don't
They don't
do
care about
anything
Fortnite.
else.
yeah.
No, I forgot they were in the scene. I literally somebody mentioned Fusion earlier.
Yeah,
and
I don't even think.
I was like, who do they even
if
have
you
right
ask- Yeah, if you ask me, like orgs,
Yeah.
because they dropped Edgy and TK. I'm pretty sure. Like I think they
They have
might-
Jeff. They still have Asian
TK,
Jeff.
TK's still in there.
By
Yeah,
the way,
TK.
now? I forgot. I thought
Asian
Jeff was a
Jeff.
free agent.
no, Asian Jeff is on a god deal. His
Really?
deal is unreal. Yeah, we got him a new PC,
Nice.
like a brand spanking new
Jeff,
$5,000 computer.
I will say
No.
Jeff, like that kid is. If the way that he acts on stream is like genuine, like I don't know,
That's
but
who he
it-
is.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Dude, you should see the DMs he send me. Like it'll be just like regular afternoon, and it'll
They're
be
just
like
droney.
I'm not
You have
drony.
no fucking
It's
idea.
fucking out of this world,
I have
bro.
no fucking idea.
Dude,
But some of the questions, no, I like
I've seen
the-
like
I
one
like-
of these. It's
I
so
like the
good.
question. I like the like people clown him, but he asks good questions.
he does. You know he does.
Like
No,
he
he
asks challenging questions. Like and I even
There's
find myself
definitely
like
something challenger.
I would be sitting in call with him because I've done a couple of like streams with him where I
Yeah.
like would go on and like he would like advertise me basically and I would
Yeah.
help him out with his,
Yeah.
his mechanics and stuff and kind of like give my thought process on
Yeah.
stuff. And basically like you know he would ask like really tough questions. I'd have to sit there and think about like
Huh.
what the answer was.
No, I watched his solo Cash Cup stuff. He's so fucking funny, bro.
Oh, he's so funny.
Yeah.
He's
No,
so funny.
Dude,
That's my friend.
no, he actually is like that. Like
Yeah.
Like when you go, who's that Dreamhack Atlanta? He was there. Like he was in
Yeah.
Atlanta and he was like that. But I obviously didn't go. But
Yeah,
everyone said
people
he was
would
there.
tell
He was
me.
so fucking
People
funny.
would be like, "Oh, Jeff is like trolling you or whatever," and I'd be like, "I don't think he's
I don't think he is.
trolling.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
I don't think he's
dead serious.
trolling."
Yeah.
He DM'd me. Hold up, I'm trying to find this. He goes, "Cmills, I'm fat, but I'm hungry."
You told me about
Yeah,
this.
he goes, "Cmills, I'm fat, but I'm hungry. What do I do?" And I'm like, "You're not fat. Order food." And then he goes, "But I'm fat, so what do I do?"
Yo, he was like asking me about the no fap shit on
Yeah.
stream.
Yep.
That
Oh,
shit was
yeah.
hilarious.
On
Yeah.
stream?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was on stream.
On
Yeah.
God, yeah, no.
That's
Wait, did I
crazy.
tell you that story about how he was asking me about
Yes.
no fap?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I didn't know you said on stream.
That shit was
though.
hilarious.
I gotta find
Yeah.
this.
I'm just like, yeah, dude. Like, you can fucking beat your dick every now and again. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like, it's actually
don't-
healthy, believe it or not.
I don't
like,
know if any of y'all know who Shumlux is.
Oh,
Or
I
Yeah.
know,
if
I know
you actually
Shum.
know.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
Shum.
You know Shumlux?
Yeah.
There's this one picture he posted of Jeff. I gotta find it. It was from Dreamhack Atlanta,
Oh
and I
yeah.
don't think Jeff knew he took it. And Jeff is just standing there, like ass cheeks clenched together, obviously wrinkled in between his his pants, obviously wrinkled in between his cheeks. And he gets the .5 and takes it above Jeff's head. It's just the most just funky looking shit ever.
dude,
I
there was
texted
a,
him asking him
Why
for
you
it, but
find that? This is fucking nuts.
yeah, go for it.
I got a perm. ... I said, Lord, let me see. I'm gonna go live when I get home. Let me know how it looks. I said, let me see right now. Also, I got my heart broken. And then he screenshots the messages, and it's like, bro, your sleep schedule is booty cheeks. That's what he sent to the girl. Bro, your sleep schedule is booty cheeks. I am not fucking playing. Bro, your sleep schedule is booty cheeks. Like, that's what he said. And then he goes
Wait, hold on, let me see.
on God, but I want to know that you for real have potential.
This is a girl saying this
You
to
for
him.
real
Don't
have
read that part. And she's like, you're not ugly or anything. He goes, you're good. Don't worry. You're also-
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait, he's on that like self-deprecation type of like trying to riz like.
Dude,
self-deprecation, Riz.
I'm so like you
I'm
like go around a
such a
pretty girl and you're like,
loser.
oh my gosh, I'm so ugly. Like,
Dude,
that's
I still
crazy.
cannot believe you said, your sleep schedule is booty cheeks. Like,
That's
to a girl.
hilarious.
But like at the same time, it's like I kind of find it funny. And as a girl,
Yeah.
I think of like a girl. Like if I say that to a girl, she'd be like, "What the fuck's this kid saying?" And she would
Yeah.
probably laugh.
it was the same thing as Book of Thumbnails. It's different.
Yeah,
This girl,
It's so radically different. It like sticks out. Like,
Yeah.
girls like me because
Yeah.
I'm weird and off-putting.
oh,
Simple.
oh yeah. Oh,
even
Like,
his tweets.
facts.
This tweet video,
dude, like no, legitimately though, like
He's so much fucking
like
media.
yes,
in
girls
Lucino,
are
man.
gonna pick that like cookie cutter guy 9 out of 10 times, but then like I really do believe this. Like I feel like the people that they fall in love with, or like the guys that they end up with, are always the fucking
It's always
unique,
it's
the
always
weirdos.
the
Like
dude
the
that
goobers.
it's
Yeah.
the type of dude to build pyramids with M&Ms in the back of class.
exactly. Like
So
like
so for this tweet video we did that we set up, one of the tweets I had to go get people's tweets, like some crazy ass tweets.
oh yeah, like
Some-
reacting to tweets or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
So one of them, Jeff tweeted, "Left hand peaks never fail," and then another one was
That's such a troll.
"Yeah." He goes, "Say on God, the scanning thing can see your naked body."
What's
Like,
what's
like you know when you go through the
Lion
airport,
scan, like
you know when
on
you
the
go through
stick?
the airport and you stand up and you like this. He's like, "Say on God, they can see your naked body." Like dead serious, bro. Dead fucking serious. It was when he was going to Atlanta. 'Cause he asked me, he's like, "Yo, like,
So
can
fucking
that thing
funny.
see your naked body?" And I'm like,
No.
I was like, "Yeah, it can." And then he tweeted it, and I was like, "Bro, ain't no fucking way."
It's not letting me do it.
oh my god.
I wonder what sparked the left-hand peaks never fail tweet.
Oh
That's
my
what I want to
God.
know. Like he had to have hit
He
some like
beat
nasty,
someone,
like
yeah,
200,
yeah.
like 200 pump off
Oh
of a
my
left-hand
gosh.
peak. It just being like he didn't expect it. Like I just,
Oh
I
my
just picture
gosh.
him and like sitting there, just like doing his full fucking Jeff laugh. Like
oh my
Dude,
god.
these
dude.
tweets are
Jeff
fucking
laugh.
great.
No, like I mean this
you
is
know
all
what I'm
love, but
talking
like
about though. Like,
when I
Yeah.
use the word gremlin, like that's
That is
Jeff.
fucking
yeah.
Jeff. I love
He
Jeff.
reminds me of Young Calc so much. Like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh jeez. I have
Young Calc was
Young
Asian.
Calc was the first person I ever blocked on Twitter. I couldn't.
That's
I
crazy.
couldn't do it,
He-
bro.
You,
I
you know,
couldn't.
you know he's best friends with Layla, right? Him and
Oh,
Layla. Yeah.
Oh, like our
like PL Layla.
Oh,
like the
that's
you
owner.
guys
crazy.
ever seen like the clip where Calc was like dissecting Peter's like end game in a solo cash cup? He's like, "This kid's fucking cheating. Like, look at him." And he's
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
I replied to it. I'm like, he's not fucking cheating. Kid works hard or some shit. And he's like, if it looks like a duck, acts like a duck, and
Talks like a duck.
yeah, and like honks like a duck or something
Yeah,
like that, it's a duck. And I replied, and I was like, what the fuck did I just read? Like, I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, he said that he's like, if it looks like a duck, acts like a duck, walks like a duck, it's a duck. And
Yeah,
I
yeah.
replied, I was like, what the fuck did I just read?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
He sat there and he was just like, what, dude? He's like, it's true. I'm like, ain't no way you're fucking real, bro.
I watched a lot of Peter's gameplay. That kid does hit some fucking
The
absolutely
facts clip.
Literally P2K, bro.
unreal
And you know the
shots.
facts clip where he like snapped on the kid's head, dude.
So
that-
no, so a lot of that's troll though. I've learned like over
Oh.
that he loves to like just feed into the cheating
Dude,
allegations.
he
Oh,
loves it.
the clip
salutes
where he
just
like
falls,
kept
man.
tracking through the
Yeah, like,
wall.
through the clicks.
Yeah,
Never
yeah,
mind, fault, my
yeah.
fault.
I'm talking about the facts one. Hold on.
Yeah,
where's
yeah.
that? Dude, I had a pin, bro. Where'd it fucking go? Do you know what I'm talking about? The one where he's like dancing. He's like, aha, and then Fax is like, yeah, my card, and then he like snaps on the kid, like who like jumped over this hill. I swear, it was the best clip I've ever seen.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
fuck?
I think I know what you're talking
What were
about.
the dates of Atlanta Dreamhack? I'm really working hard to find this
November
picture of Jeff's
November
perked.
20th, November 17th.
I'm working really hard to find
was
this
that
picture of
invitational?
Jeff's perky
Because
ass.
it was invitational, and then Atlanta was the next week, right?
17th, 19th.
Yeah. Yeah, because no, Atlanta
Atlanta
was the
was
next week because
17th
I
through the
remember
19th.
I flew to Invitational, flew back,
I
and then I
got
had
it.
like 2-day turnaround, and then I drove to Atlanta.
Yeah,
bro.
17th, 18th, 19th.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm
Oh, my
sure
dreams.
some people remember this, but I got into a car accident on my way down to the venue for finals.
Really?
I was supposed to be coaching that morning. Yeah, so I actually
Wow, skill issue.
So, well, I never got to tell the story either
Sorry.
because, TK and Ritual got like I basically played the first 3 heats, didn't qualify, and like neither did TK or Ritual.
Oh,
And
I
then-
remember they needed. Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
then
talked
was
to you
like,
sometime, or no, I don't know if I did.
maybe I don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
remember. But
No, you told me the story after because we didn't meet it
Probably,
at Atlanta. Yeah.
So I played like the first 3 heats, and then they like were struggling, and I was like, I knew in my heart, I was like, I'm not qualifying, like
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
not good enough right now, so like I'm gonna go coach, and
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to see what we can do. And they wound up getting like first and second in heat
Yeah.
4, which was crazy because I was
Yeah.
live coaching both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the issue was though that like the day before that I had went home, and then
Yeah.
I was so jacked up off of adrenaline and caffeine that I couldn't sleep, so I drove back down to the venue and slept there. I actually slept on the floor underneath my setup. I don't think
That's
anyone
So like
knows
that
that.
kid sitting down the road from Mikey Bright.
What?
There's a kid sitting down the road from Mikey Bright, here in Dallas, and
Yeah.
he like played Roblox and Minecraft 3 days straight, smelled like shit, and slept in the venue.
Wow.
Dude,
In the premium.
Wow.
Dude, that kid.
No wonder it started to smell
you guys
funky
see
in that
kid?
bitch.
Was that the kid you're talking about who was like playing Fall Guys too?
I have no idea. I just remember I saw a video of Mikey throwing some shit at him.
Dude, there was a guy playing Fall Guys at the venue, and I kid you not, he was like not a real person. Like literally, bro. He was like, "Did I qual? Did I qual?" Like, squeaking around, and everyone was like,
Jeez.
looking
How
at him
old
like,
was
what
he?
the fuck, dude? I don't know. He had like well,
old or young?
young, like
Oh,
okay.
not like too young, but like he was like probably like 17.
The fact that
18.
one kid bought a premium ticket just to watch Booga was
No, that kid.
insane.
No,
That's
no.
insane.
I talked to that kid. He was so wholesome, dude. I loved him.
I'm sure he
I
was,
know,
but like,
he
that's,
walked up to me.
that's
He was like,
insanity.
"Did y'all watch Booga yet?" And I was like, "Nah, man. I'm recording for these guys. Like they're part of my team." He's like, "Oh,
I don't
what
know.
the fuck?"
He got
We
a
should-
post. He got a picture of him.
We should
posted
get him on Twitter.
Twitter.
So we should
Yeah.
get him.
Yeah,
we should
yeah.
get
He
this
was
kid
gonna
on Twitter.
tap Peter. He was gonna tap Peter while he was in the game. He like went up behind him. And I was like, "Oh my god, please don't tap him. He's gonna freak the fuck out. He's gonna freak out. He's gonna like scare this kid."
Yeah.
And he like walked away and like waited. And then Peter
Oh.
like died and turned around. And the kid was there. He's like, "Hey, Peter, can you sign my shirt?" And,
Oh.
and then Peter's like, he's like, looked at the kid. He's like, "I guess." And then like just signed his shirt.
I
Like,
fucking
dude,
love Pete.
I can tell he's like, yeah, I just didn't
Like-
want to do
like-
that at that time.
When that
Yeah,
kid
yeah.
walked up to me, he was like asking if I'd seen Booga. I was like, "Yeah, no." He's like, "Well, did you see the tweet?" And I was like, and I was looking at him. I was like,
Bro's gonna be cloud farming now for the rest of his life.
Right.
Oh,
yeah. I
no.
looked at him and I was like, "Yeah." Little kid asked me if I've seen the fucking tweet.
That's
Like he's
a-
like a solid 6 years old. He should know what a phone is.
Fucking,
Yeah.
oh
we
my
live in a
gosh.
society. Yeah, and then he's asking me all
That's
these questions. I'm like, "Nah, man, I'm
insanity,
recording." He's like,
bro.
"Oh, okay." And he like stood around, and watched Origin and Bronos for a bit.
That's so.
Then he went and
funny.
he went and watched the Uprise owners. He watched the Uprise owners play Jeremiah and Asta.
Oh yeah.
And then he went back.
That's cool.
He watched who's sitting behind us? Was it Agers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Agers was playing. He was playing with Kanata, right? Yeah, so it was Agers. And he stood around them when everybody was surrounding Agers. And then I haven't seen him since day 2. And
Yeah.
well, now it's over. This shit was so funny, dude. You seen the tweet?
That-
Oh yeah, like that
that's
was the only
insane.
reason I knew who that was. I was like, what the fuck is this kid doing here?
yeah, yeah.
Why is he like right next to me?
Dude, thank fuck for Intel. I'm not even kidding. Peter wouldn't be able to play. Like they.
Did they
seriously
did they
closed
hook you
What,
up
did
with
they
something?
get you
Bro.
like a PC for him and
Yeah,
everything?
did you guys see it?
No.
You guys never saw it,
No.
dude.
No.
It was a fucking PC that looked like a fucking modem. It's
Yeah.
like the new Intel Nook PCs that are just like meant for travel.
What they're just
Hashtag ad.
yeah.
No,
I could
Hashtag
I
ad.
could pick it up with my hand. I'm not even kidding.
Code Cmills.
Dude,
Yeah, by the way,
I
Yeah,
want to
I
do
would
like a
need one of those.
compact build. Like you know how
No.
Cease has like a travel PC, like
it was half the size of that.
Actually,
you could put it in a
I-
backpack.
I didn't.
literally.
That's
At
insanity.
Atlanta.
like the Apple has like that one that's like
It's like a Nook, bro.
He responded.
No, at Atlanta there was a guy that had a legitimate mini ITX case that was like so small, like it was probably about like the size of like maybe like a mini like jewelry box, probably
a tissue box. Is
yeah,
almost
yeah,
like-
probably about the size of it. Yeah, I mean it was
Jeez.
a little bit skinnier than a tissue
Yeah.
box and a bit like wider and longer.
Yeah.
But it was basically like you could literally like probably like pick it up and it was probably smaller than a laptop.
Jeez.
But it was like it had a full size like 30 like I think it had a full size like 30 series card, like a full size
That's
motherboard.
ventilation. It has to be like basically an open case because how the fuck does anything ventilate?
Yeah,
It,
I feel
yeah,
like it
no,
just
no.
melt.
It was so the outside of it was like plastic, and then yeah, it had like a bunch of holes in it
What brand was it?
for ventilation. It was a custom built case.
Okay, I was about to say because if it was NZXT, then like
Yeah, some dude did.
I
all
love
of his,
NZXT is so aesthetically pleasing, but it is
Oh,
horrible. for
I love the
airflow.
H510, but it's a hot box.
It's
Well,
It-
people talk
they're so
about-
bad for airflow.
yeah.
Yeah,
they're
well,
so
my
beautiful.
my PC is literally like my case has just like I have a full like my side is just fully open. Like people say like my shit
Mine
looks like
used to be.
like a sleeper build.
Yeah, your shit does look like a sleeper build. I feel like if you turn it on, you're gonna somehow start a fire. I feel like if I sneeze, I'm just gonna start a fucking haboob where all the sand just starts flying.
Oh yeah, I need to clean it out. That's for sure.
Wait,
It's
so
Or-
what
or-
happened
right
to
now.
Peter's PC?
Yeah, so dude, we land and we hook it up and then he turns it on and it goes to the BIOS and it's like CPU overheating. And
Oh,
we're
wow.
sitting there, we're
Yeah.
like, oh,
He
fuck.
got it to me.
Is that the Jet photo?
Yeah, it was a Jeff photo.
Oh,
It's
hell
so
no. Show
fucking
us that.
funny to me.
Dude,
Dude, I've been
That
looking
is
for this picture for like
criminal.
6
That's
fucking
criminal.
months.
that's like.
Can you
dude,
post
yeah,
that right now
send
on
me that-
Twitter?
Send me that so I can send it to him. Send me that so I can send it to
Oh yeah,
him.
yeah. Hold on.
Can you
So-
post that for no reason on Twitter right now?
Yeah, can we
So-
all post it
Out
for
of
no reason right
context?
now?
Yeah, I'm down.
What do you think?
I'll post. I'll tag him too.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Wait,
I'm like, yo,
wait.
Jeff,
Can we
what the fuck
prepare
you
this?
doing?
Yeah.
Oh,
Wait,
no,
wait,
yeah,
wait.
we need to all send it out at the same time.
Yeah,
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 wait,
yeah.
wait. Let
God.
me text everybody.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Elmo.
We should all get each other's numbers anyway.
So
I have everybody here besides I didn't get his
While that
name, I feel bad.
happens, I'll explain Peter's PC situation.
Yeah.
So we were sitting there.
I'm
PC
just I'm
overheated.
distributing Jatmon ass. I mean,
So we were gonna go buy a new PC, and we just ended up not doing that. And thank the Lord for Cope. because Shay Mom came up and was like, "Hey, Peter, PC not working." I'm like, "Yeah."
COPE, the Coalition of
Yep.
Parents in Esports.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. There's I know like Salutes like a little bit. I've talked to him a few times. Like he's like big with them. But that's such an awesome thing. Like,
Dude, they didn't have to do that, and then so she like grabbed us and was like, "All right, let's go to Intel." So we went to the Intel, like the Intel shack that's there.
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
Like, we're like, "Hey." She's like, "Hey, this is like a pro player, and he's really good. This is that, whatever. Like, he'll make a post, he'll do everything. Like, is there any way you can get him PC?" And they sit there and look at me like, "Oh, of course, we got him covered." And so they like went into the back and pulled out this PC. I thought it was a fucking modem, bro. They handed it to him. I thought it was like the modem for it, or like they were giving him internet too. It was literally like I couldn't even explain it. It was like 2 hooves that went up, and it was like went straight up, and it was a PC.
Like a PS5
like
almost.
Literally looked just like it was like it was like a stand. That's like what it was.
Yeah.
It was like it was crazy. And so,
Damn.
so we like hooked it up. He had 240 flat, everything. It was Intel graphics card, Intel CPU.
Wow.
Yeah, it was sick.
Very cool.
Sick, yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I remember you came up to me and you were like, I just did like I have a great relationship with Intel now. I was like, wait,
yeah,
huh?
dude, they like love him. They love
Yeah.
him.
We
We
ready
went to
for
hand it
Jeff
back
S?
today. We went to hand it back today, and they were like, they're like, "Is this Peter's PC?" I was like, "Yeah." Like, how do you do? And I was like, "He didn't really do well, but they were like, hey, like, we love to do
I'll
this."
see how
stuff
I
with him.
caption this shit.
All right,
too.
I'm not even captioning it. I'm just tweeting it.
Intel did?
Boost your
Oh.
account security.
Yeah, no, they're a cool organization and like they're needed, like that, because they're bridging the gap. Because what is the acronym? It's Coalition of Parents in Esports. Is that
Yeah.
COPE?
Yeah.
They're really cool. I remember they got a
No,
Hydra season of PC last
No,
time.
yeah, it is. Like it's the same thing that we were talking about a little bit earlier about like just like passion. Like they're just passionate about like letting their kids do this. They're passionate about like encouraging this industry to grow and people to succeed and whatnot.
I'm gonna redo my tweet and tag Jeff. Hold on.
Yeah.
Dude,
That's
this
good.
is funny because
Wait,
this video
Jenks,
probably won't
you
go
didn't
out
send
for
it to me yet.
Yeah, we need to do a little
Yes, I
countdown
did.
too. We need
No,
to
you
do a
didn't.
countdown.
Who did I just send?
Oh wait,
yes,
I just got it. Hold
I
on.
had to make sure I didn't send that to my mother.
Oh my god.
She was
That'd
texting
be
me like, "You need to go home.
insanity.
You got to drive tomorrow." It's
Yeah.
like, "Mom, you got no idea. I'm good.
Nose idea.
You got no idea."
He's bizzing, baby. That's
Whatever it
cool.
is.
That's awesome. No, they do. They're just people, man. Like they're doing it like, because they're passionate about the industry and about like all of us succeeding and like that. That's a super cool thing to see, especially from a generation that's so disconnected from it usually. But
Well, dude, it's from like a generation where parents are disconnected from it.
Mhm.
Like, dude, my dad and
bridging
my
the
mom,
gap.
dude, they had no fucking clue what I do. Like,
Yeah,
they
for
had no
real.
clue, and then finally I
Mm.
explained it to them, and they're like, "Wow, that's impressive. Like, I want to go and kind of like learn what it's like to go to one of
Dude.
one of your events."
Yeah.
no, parent support is a massive thing.
Yeah.
My
Parents bought me the PC I stream on now. Like, and like the way I convinced them was like, I was like, I have a 529, like a college fund, and I was like, this is covered under the 529 if we say it's for school, even though it was like thousands of dollars. And it was a fucking
I
massive.
mean, it can be.
But
used
like
for school, though.
dude, like I've called my mom every single day that I've been here, and I'm like, here's what I did today. Here's who I talked to.
Yeah.
Like here's the biz I did. Like
the biz.
I did. She asked me what it meant, but like no, like it having that difference. I've talked to people because like there are people who are extremely talented with so much
Yeah.
potential, and they can only stream an hour a week or like an hour,
Right.
like like they're so limited because their parents don't understand, and they just like are discouraging them to do it.
Dude, I remember it was summer of 2021. This is like when me and Mills are streaming like a lot.
Mm.
And I'm fucking going up. Like I'm getting my Twitch payouts and everything. I'm going up.
Yeah.
And then my Wi-Fi still ass, but for some reason people are still tuning in. I'm still doing good. Yada yada. Fucking I'm averaging like 15, 20 viewers. And I think this is really funny how my grind stops because I take a trip to fucking South Africa.
Mm.
I come home, stream a couple more times, and then my Wi-Fi just starts going to shit. And then
Yeah.
my parents start getting harder. I'm like, dude, why does everything bad have to happen now? Why is it everything blocking my way?
Well, dude,
Yeah.
And I wish I was still streaming more.
you always heard my story about how I got into gaming. Did I tell you yesterday? I don't know.
No,
I did.
I don't think so.
Dude, so my uncle was like a huge, we used to come over and play Xbox and like hang out and shit. And he was a huge gamer. And so we always played like fucking like, shooter games, shit like that. And finally he was like, yo, let's build a PC.
I tweeted it, by the way.
Oh,
I
shit.
thought we were gonna do our 3, 2, 1, bro.
Oh, my fault.
Oh,
chilling.
fuck. Hey, it's
No,
enough. It's
like
enough.
2 seconds ago. Like
That's fine.
yeah,
That's
like
fine. That's fine. I'll go
I
ahead and
tweeted it 2 minutes ago. Elmo tweeted it 3 minutes ago.
Oh, I just tweeted it too.
The 3 hour mark? Yippee!
But
Nice.
Wow.
so,
That's
So we've
crazy.
been here since like 9.
dude,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
this is insane.
How the fuck are they
I'm
not
gonna
back from the
bro,
movie?
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
what I'm wondering. What fucking movie?
Because we didn't
Yeah.
start till like
They're
10
watching
minutes.
Spider-Man. They're watching Spider-Man.
Oh,
That
the
might
new one.
actually
I
be-
wanted to
I
see
want to
that.
go see that
Yeah,
shit.
I
so
wanted
bad.
PL to see that while we were here, but we
We
haven't
wish we
done
could've.
anything together.
Well,
so.
it's been kind of hard
Yeah.
considering we're all staying in completely different places.
Yeah, yeah.
So
And then
Yeah,
you
true.
have some players
We
that
should coordinate
just
like a
want to be
B
left
and B
alone.
and something for like Atlanta or something.
Maybe because I'd rather go to Denmark or Cooper, but I've got to figure
Yeah.
that out. I mean, I would love to do Atlanta, but the thing is, I'm not gonna help. I'm not gonna be like much help if I'm not going to Atlanta because I'm gonna be worrying so much about like, or I mean, they're a few months apart,
Yeah.
but. If you know me, I like to travel, but as soon as I take a big trip, I don't want to travel for a while. As soon as
I don't
as soon as
travel at
got
all
back
for
from
anything
San
except for this.
Diego,
I don't travel for anything. Like I
dude,
don't travel for anything except for like lands and stuff now.
Yeah.
I love
Uh,
going to landing because I just get like huge motivation after.
Yeah,
I'll
me
go
too.
Oh,
get
yeah.
motivation, and
Me
then
too.
then it like slowly wears off. Then it comes back.
Dude, as soon as I got home from San Diego in April, I wanted to stay home and like lay in bed for probably a week or two after. And my mom would be like, "Hey,
Oh, I
we're gonna
know.
go out to dinner with family," and I was like, "No."
I
Oh,
know.
yeah.
I know for a fact. Like when we get back from this trip, like I'm actually gonna be so like, cause I have not slept a fucking week.
Oh, yeah.
Since I've
Oh,
been
yeah.
Here. Like,
I don't think anybody has.
Dude,
No.
me and Quinn before I mean, what Quinn got was it
Fifth today.
fifth today?
Yeah.
Fucking slept 4 hours
Yeah.
last night.
Hell no.
Yeah.
yeah,
4
everyone's
hours,
off-
and we
everyone's off
stayed
no
up.
sleep.
Yeah.
We stayed up waiting on food. This fucker fell asleep while we're waiting on food. Food gets here, he leaves, whatever. Quinn goes to sleep even
Wait,
later
that
than I do.
Elmo was the picture.
Yeah, that was a picture. That's a
Oh,
picture of him.
Okay.
That was the one I tweeted. I
Wow.
said this fucker fell asleep, or he ordered 2
I
burgers,
slept
10
in a
nuggets,
fitted
and then fell
sheet.
asleep before we got a driver.
I slept in
yeah,
a fitted
yeah,
sheet
yeah,
at your place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
His
didn't have any. I literally don't have any blankets
Yeah,
for
yeah.
Chapman, so I gave him a fitted sheet.
On a leather couch.
Yeah,
That's so
dude, I
fucking
slept on that. Like, I got home so late last night. I didn't want to wake everyone because like the whole family like got
Sorry, I
back
didn't have a
yesterday.
blanket.
Oh yeah.
I didn't want to wake anyone up, so instead of like, cause you heard how loud that fucking air mattress was.
Yeah, yeah.
So I didn't want to wake anyone up by like re-pumping it, so I actually slept on that same couch.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
I felt way better than I should have.
Except
I don't
like
know.
feet
I
to
was,
me.
if I was
Dude,
just running-
I popped out of bed this morning, started doing my laundry and shit, and just went up to the venue. Like,
Yeah.
I felt fine.
Yeah.
Dude, we're sleeping on fucking rocks up there, bro. I'm not
Really?
kidding. Yeah, it's
Oh
bad.
yeah.
Do you want to
It's
sleep
bad.
on the floor at the Omni? It's at least is at the
Dude.
Omni.
I'd much rather.
I'm-
I might.
We have a
look on
bathtub.
the couch tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, if it
Yeah.
Yeah, his ass has the fucking king suite. You could
Yeah.
fit like 4 people in
Yeah.
there like
But
sardines.
to be
but
fair,
it's
he was on the
Wow.
couch
Are you
last
calling
2
him
nights.
fat?
whoa. Where did I say that shit?
You said you could fit 4 people in there.
yes, you
all I know
would.
is if I'm going back to Omni with you,
Because
I mean,
it's
we're
a-
sharing a bed.
I'd be down.
Hey yo.
Damn.
How'd you guys get into gaming? Like, how'd you like, actually get into just like straight up gaming?
So
Yeah,
I
I've
actually
been-
started. My story's kind of funny because I actually until Fortnite came out, like I kind of stopped. Like I was a big Halo and Call of Duty guy when I was. So I started when I was actually 5 years old on the original Xbox.
Damn.
You're just like me.
Yeah, I was. It was 2002. And it's showing how
Fucking
old I am.
boomer.
That was before I was born.
That's
No,
the year I
five.
was born.
I was
Yeah.
born in
I was literally
05.
5. Yeah, I was literally 5 years old, and
I was born in
I was at
fucking
my-
05, dude. Damn.
I was at my cousin's house. Maybe I was 4
That's
actually.
ass
It might have
bad.
been 2001. That because 2001 was the year that Halo Combat Evolved came out on the original Xbox, and I remember being at my cousin's house in California,
Yeah.
and like they were big. Like my aunt's son, like one of my guy cousins was like a big time gamer, and so maybe it was her daughter's boyfriend or something like that. I don't remember. I remember I played for like probably like the entire time that I was there. They're like,
Yeah.
"Yo, do you know what video games are? Like, let me show
Yeah,
you
yeah,
this." And
yeah.
I was like, I just instantly fell in love. And I remember we coming home from that and like begging my mom for like an Xbox. And then, like I think I got one for Christmas, and she got me like the original Halo, and then she got me Halo 2, and then like Star Wars Battlefront, and then I remember I got Xbox Live for Star Wars Battlefront. And then from there, and then there was a gap. Like there's a bit of a gap because the Xbox 360 came out, and like I was always an overweight kid, and my mom was like, basically didn't want me to keep playing video. Like
You're
she
just
thought
like me.
video games was like the reason why I was like chunky, and I was like,
You're just like me, bro.
maybe
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
because I was a kid
Looks
and
scared.
like was putting on weight, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was the start, and then Call of Duty came out. You know, I was a big time COD 4 Modern Warfare 2 player,
Yeah.
which was like a lot of. I mean, that time was like obviously like the peak of like Call of Duty. So that was really cool to like live through. But I never got into the competitive side of stuff. Like I didn't get into like competitive gaming. I didn't really even know what it was. Like I played like a small amateur. Like I was always really good at Halo. Like I got into a small amateur like tournament, and I think I got like 4th place or something like that. Didn't win any money or anything, but it was like a pretty sick. Like I didn't think I was actually gonna do as good as I did. But yeah, I was always actually like really good at Halo. But then as like I grew up, obviously like I got into sports and I kind of got away from gaming. And then Fortnite came out and I was playing on like my PS4. I think I had like 8 total matches played on my PS4, and that was when I was operating the restaurant at the time. So I had like a lot of money, and I was like, yo, like this game's a lot of fun. Like fuck console, like I want a PC. So I had 8 total games played. Like I knew that quickly that like Fortnite was it for me. Like I had 8 total games played on my console, immediately ordered a PC.
So my story is actually really crazy, believe it or not. So my uncle, like said, huge guy, loved working, loved playing video games. Like would come up. He's actually from Texas, loved playing games. And one day he's like, "Yo, will you build me a PC?" And I obviously busy with like sports and shit. I was like, "Fuck that," you know, like whatever, build it yourself. But like we had a really good relationship, and finally he like got really sick. He had like pancreatic cancer, and he ended up. I saw him once, and dude, it was like life changing. Like I saw him, and I couldn't like cough a word up, bro. Like it like, shocked me because he gained a ton of weight from like all the medicine, and he was like in a wheelchair. And I swear to God, I literally couldn't cough a word up. And then right after that was like a week later, he passed away. And then I didn't know this, but the reason why he wanted to get a PC was to give it to me because I always wanted one, and I never had one. And so he wanted to build it with me as like my last thing.
Did you know he was sick?
I knew he was. Well, I knew he was sick, but I didn't know the extent of it because I hadn't seen him. So he like, came up to Michigan, and we were like sitting there, and I saw him, and I was like literally in shock.
Like did he intend it to be like his like last hurrah like type thing?
To leave it for me,
What a fucking goat.
And that's how I got into it. And so he like left it for me, and like my mom like was like putting it off after he passed, like no, like, not yet. And then finally she like gave me it, and this was like I probably think I was a late sophomore in high school, and she gave me it, and she's like, hey, like. You know, you can open it up, do whatever you want. Just like make sure, like you like do good with it. And I opened it up, and there was a note like inside on the graphics card, and it said "Do great things," and that literally is what it said.
God.
And that's how I got into it.
Isn't that in your bio?
Huh?
Isn't that in your Twitter bio?
Yeah, Oh, no, it's in my Discord bio. Do great things. Yeah.
Okay,
that's fucking.
That's sick as fuck, dude. I love that. I always saw that, and I was like, where we got that?
Yeah, well, dude, that's like when I used to stream. Like that was like my story. I put it in my about, and everybody would read it. And people would come and be like, dude, that story is like unreal.
That's
sick.
That's amazing. Dude.
And like to this day, it's like that's why I still do it. Like,
yeah,
that's
actually that is
dope.
an amazing story, man.
Yeah.
Like,
that's.
I mean that's what it's about.
It's like almost made up, dude. It literally is almost like
that sounds like a movie.
Yeah, you couldn't script it any better.
Sounds like a short story.
Literally is how
for
it is.
sure.
Yeah.
That sounds like something Disney would make.
I sat there and I looked at it and it literally said "Do great things," and I sat there and just like bust out into tears because I always wanted one, and I just was like, "Holy fuck!" Like I actually have to do something with it now.
Yeah.
Well, fucking look at you now, dude. Like,
you're
you
doing great things.
Do you ever like
Clearly
step back and like think about it?
What?
How far you've come and
Oh,
how
dude.
many things you've done with
My friends, like, dude, seeing like a YouTube plaque on my wall at home is like the most satisfying thing in the world.
Yeah.
But like at the
That
same
shit's
time,
crazy.
it's just getting started. Like that's the way I look at it.
Well, also having like that story is like you almost have like a defining like starting point. You know?
like,
Yeah,
that
you can
was, like, when
actually
I,
say.
like literally
Yeah.
started.
That was
Yeah.
like,
'Cause, like, before I was on a shitty laptop my mom bought me for, like $500, and I was just a bozo. So it was like, I was like a freshman, but I couldn't work, so I wasn't 16.
Yeah.
And in Michigan, it'd be 16 to work, so I just like sit there and just was like doing nothing.
Yeah.
But I was so pissed off because like, dude, I could have been doing this for so long.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
that's like how I got started. But all my friends, like, they're all involved with it, which is cool because like they
Your
love
friends
it.
are fucking sick.
They
Yeah.
love to see it. Like they love
Yeah.
to see all my shit. Like they call me all the time. They ask to talk to Peter, so it's like
Yeah.
it's pretty cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just-
damn.
it's wild. Yeah. That story is like I swear to God, dude. People think it's made up. It's like
Yeah.
that's what happened.
No, that's awesome.
Mine it makes me think of mine because mine didn't really have a defining thing. I mean, kinda, but it starts like really, really far back. Because so where I lived in this I lived in a house. I mean, no shit, but it was like a mile from where I live now, right? And I have very faint memories of that house, but I had this one very vivid memory, and I only lived there for about 2.5 years of my life, like from I was born to 2.5 years old. But I have a vivid memory of sitting in my father's lap, and he was playing NASCAR on the PS2.
Mm.
And I was like, maybe that was just like a fucking fever dream, right? And as I got older, I'd ask my mom about it, and I was like, did Dad ever do this with me? And she was like, yeah, like all the time. Whenever he'd hop out of the shower, get dry, put on some shorts, and y'all play fucking NASCAR, and you would just smack the controller. I was like, holy shit. Went up, found the PS2, and it had like Lego Star Wars Saga. But I mean, that part's older. So like, but after that, moving into the newer house, I grew up with a Wii. So I was playing Wii Sports.
Fuck yeah, the Wii is lit.
Dude,
Yeah,
the original Super Mario Bros. Is like all I played besides Wii Sports. I was cold as fuck at boxing, dude. Everybody's talking about how hard Matt is. Dude, I beat his ass any day of the week. Beat it, need it, no homo. So,
Hey, yo.
Wow, that is insanity.
But I did that, and then I can't remember when I got an Xbox 360. I think it was like random. Okay, I remember we went to go buy games. Of course, my dad is just basically a fucking boomer.
Yeah.
Not in age, but like in mindset.
Yeah.
And so we went to go buy games from Best Buy, and I remember I was probably 7 years old. Yeah. Maybe. Wait. Yeah, because did the Xbox 360 release? It wasn't 2005, right? It was like 2012. No.
No, the 360.
No.
The 360 would have been older. Yeah.
No, because I would have been young. I don't know. I got it around 2012, I think.
Yeah.
Maybe. But I remember we were going to buy Wii games, and I bought a Monster Truck Jam, but that was an Xbox game.
Yeah.
And I remember how we got the Xbox, because I remember we got it like, I don't know, sometime after that.
Yeah.
And I always played Skate 3 and Minecraft.
Yeah.
Fucking love Skate 3. I'll still,
3
sometimes
is
when my
crazy.
Wi-Fi goes out, I'll set up my speaker. I'll listen to some older music. I mean, just like, music I would have listened to a few years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll play Skate 3. I'll do that shit for like 6 hours straight.
Yeah.
Like everything will be like Wi-Fi will be back, power back, whatever.
Yeah.
Not power, but Wi-Fi back, or weather's better, and I'll still just be sitting there
Yeah.
playing fucking Skate 3.
Did y'all
trying to trick line, and I remember what?
Do y'all ever watch PewDiePie's Skate 3 series?
I never watched PewDiePie.
Dude,
Ever.
I don't know why. Like, that was the only thing I've ever liked of him. The only thing I've ever watched of him.
Mhm.
But I watched the whole I watched the whole 30 videos straight through. I loved it.
Never watched PewDiePie. Never
His
really
G Fuel
enjoyed
drink
him.
is actually fire.
I want to try it.
Yeah.
It's cherry.
No,
It's in the can.
I
The can
really-
is so good.
I really enjoy that
It's
flavor.
probably
of G Fuel.
it's probably mixed correctly. Like, it's probably pre-mixed
It's
with
cherry. No, it's not mixed. It's like what's it
the.
called?
It's still the powder.
I'll pick
No,
one
it's
up
not
on my way.
powder. It's in the can. It's like
Yeah,
it's
no,
like
I-
a pop. It's like a
Carbonated.
Go to QT, bro. Like next time you go to Quick Trip or one of the big corporate gas stations, they usually carry G
Dude.
Well, they
G
have
Fuel
them at
down.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's good. It's like
Yeah.
it's cherry.
No, it's
flavored.
really
You gotta
good.
like
Yeah.
cherry. You gotta like cherry. I
They
love
sometimes
cherry.
just have them
Yeah.
at Stripes, or have y'all ever been to an Uncle's convenience
Is
store? Maybe
Uncle's?
it's a West
No.
Texas thing,
The
because
fuck is Uncle's?
Yeah.
there's so many around where I live. But no, yeah, my story. I got a PS4 in 2014, whenever I turned 9 years old, and that shit, dude. Like, I used to play Call of Duty at my friend's house, like split screen and all that type of
Yeah.
shit. Like, I'm sure you guys had similar memories. Good.
Oh, yeah. So,
I was like, is he good?
yeah. No, you're just like you look like somebody died on you or something.
Like you look like you're about to go cry. My
Yeah.
fault. Anyways, I'll be at my friend's house like all day, and we would just play Call of Duty or Minecraft split screen or Madden,
Yeah.
or I grew up. Like, before I even got that, I was playing with him on the PS3, and we were playing BO2. We were playing like Origins and shit, and like I wish I would have done that a lot more. Because I have faint memories of Origins and all those like BO2 maps and shit, and then I try to play them now on like Plutonium, and I'm like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, and then I got the PS4. I'm sorry, throat's fucking dry. Now the PS4, I got Call of Duty Ghosts, and I'll always remember as Call of Duty Ghosts is the game I regard the highest for any Call of Duty, just for nostalgia. Because I made a lot of memories. I played with my dad. I played it every day, and that was like the most we've ever bonded, was the few years that we played. We never bonded that much before or after, in my opinion. And then trying to think, played all the Madden games, Minecraft, and then I started growing up. I'm like, I want to play online. I'm probably 13, maybe like 12 years older at this point.
So 5 years ago. I just want to make
Yeah,
that clear.
yeah. Fucking
Like,
5 years ago. Look at me
Yeah.
now.
That's crazy.
Like,
Yeah.
why'd you have
Chill,
to
young
say that?
fuck.
Why'd you have to say that, bro? I'm just a young shit. Fuck. But like 5 years ago, I decided I want to play Madden online because
Yeah.
this shit's getting boring. I want to open card packs.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And you went broke because those card packs are fucking expensive.
I
Oh,
know,
it's
dude.
like fucking gambling.
I looked
Dude,
at
it
it and I
literally
was
is.
like, this is so fucking stupid.
Those
Why-
were the original MTXs, by the way.
Yeah.
Dude,
I used
it's
to
a
play
scam.
it sitting at the edge of my bed with my TV sitting on my dresser, and I always used to get neck pains because basically playing like this, like every
Yeah.
kid that ever grew up
Dude.
gaming.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that? Like those packs, you spend like probably
I know.
$1,000. Like if you're if you're like a little like think about like a little rich Timmy, like a
Yeah,
really
yeah,
rich
yeah,
little
yeah.
kid, they probably spend $1,000, and it's like, oh, the new Madden's out. Here's
Yeah,
another 1,000.
dude, I
Oh,
s-
the new one's out.
spent,
In-game
like, the 60
purchases
bucks
and
on
currency is probably one of the biggest like
Oh,
legal
EA.
scams of all time.
EA.
Sports to the game.
Like
Yeah.
I bought PSN.
That's iconic, though.
I saved
Yeah.
up $60. I was like, Mom, can I get the PSN? Can I get the PSN? Yeah, whatever. You can play online.
Yeah.
I get it. Go to buy the packs because I thought you could earn them. I'm looking at it. I'm
Mm.
like, what the fuck? How do
Yeah.
I tell my mom I want to get this?
Yeah.
I just saved up for like 3 weeks, and that 3 weeks
Yeah.
is a long time as a little kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep.
$60 is a lot more.
Oh yeah.
So like,
that's a fortune, bro.
Mhm.
$60 when you're a kid.
and
like,
then I was like, oh fuck, and I didn't have a headset, so I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna play Call of Duty. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna play Call of Duty online. I go to play Call of Duty online, open up Ghost, go online. I'm like, fuck, I can't talk to him. I was like, okay, I'll just play. I get into my first online game, and just a volley of slurs
Oh my
blasting from my blasting
Yeah.
from my
Yep.
TV as
I was
I'm
waiting for that.
as I'm
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was
Oh, he
literally
said
waiting
Call
for
of Duty. Yeah,
yeah.
he said Call of Duty, and I knew what it was
just-
instantly.
and I've got to turn down my TV because I feel like my mom's gonna run in my room, and you just hear just
Yo, this
everything.
this new generation of gamers
They
obviously
don't understand it, bro.
Yeah.
they don't
No.
they don't know what the original Modern
Oh,
Warfare
dude.
2
No,
lobbies
they
were
just
like.
do it.
Peterbot shit talk has
Yeah.
nothing
They-
on a COD
Yeah.
lobby. Bro.
Nothing.
No,
on
they
COD
just do
lobby.
it in Discord calls and have to check if you're
Bro,
streaming.
dude, motherfuckers would just drop your
Something.
fucking address like instantly.
no,
Just
no,
back-
no, no,
eh,
I
full
I
government,
can't say that,
full
actually.
government and everything.
Yeah.
You guys
no,
have any
I have
crazy
a few
stories?
people's full doxes. Don't put that in.
Whoa.
Don't
wow.
put that in. Don't put the next minute of this in. You know Miraby?
What? No. I wait. I don't edit.
Hold up.
Hold on.
He doesn't want to.
I don't want
edit it.
to. I don't
Yeah.
want to. Please.
Well, you're gonna have to.
Let's
You're gonna
talk
have to.
about
You're gonna
it
have to. You're gonna have to
off.
mute that name then.
All right.
Well, do you guys
Fuck,
have any like
we're getting
crazy
too tired.
stories? Like we're like life on the line, crazy ass stories.
Wait.
Like
Yes.
anything.
Wait. I didn't
Wait.
get to go. Hold on
Huh?
now. I didn't get to go.
Oh shit, my bad. My
Yeah.
bad.
How did he
I'll-
got
I'll-
into gaming?
I almost got my
Alright.
head blown off. All right, keep going.
What? What?
No, keep going. You want to tell your story?
Okay, we'll get to that. No. Okay, but no, I like. It's weird because it like obviously like I've done a few of these now. Like we just hit like 10 episodes or whatever it was, and like there's been an extreme commonality with like a relative, like a very close relative, like getting someone into gaming, like dads,
Mhm.
uncles, older brothers, like whatever. Like
Yeah.
there's a very clear like it starts with some kind of relationship, and like
Starts
the gaming like represents your relationship with that person, like whether they pass or not. But like
Yeah.
it's
That's
just,
what
like,
it was for. Actually, the more that I think about it now, I actually started gaming probably even before the original Xbox. I started gaming with my dad.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is actually like,
Yeah.
and then of course like the story that I have like
Yeah.
my dad being abusive and everything. It was kind of like
Mm.
it was those were the only really good memories I have with him. Was
Mm.
like chilling on the PC and having him teach me like how to pull up like pinball on like
Yeah.
back on like the original Windows XP and like
Yeah.
playing like there's an old PC game where you rolled around as a tank that could like shoot and kill shit.
Oh,
And it was
yeah.
like a whole story behind it. It was one of, like
Yeah.
the original shooter games. It was
Yeah.
called Recoil.
Okay.
That's
Like
familiar.
we played that game together all the time.
Is that
Like
one of the low poly games?
what's
Or
up?
No. That's
Probably.
a familiar name. Recoil.
Yeah, it was like you were like an AI powered tank in like the future, and you had
Oh,
to
dude.
like
That's so familiar, but I
tank?
just can't think of an image.
Was it like World of Tanks or whatever that game's called?
no.
Is that
So
what
it
I
was
think?
more like
Titanfall sounding?
yeah. Here, I'll pull up pictures of it so you guys can see it. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's a really interesting game.
yeah.
I
No, but
can't
like
remember if it sounds like a low poly game, like they say, like the original Counter Strike.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it was.
was?
It was
Okay.
released.
If I see an image, I'm gonna know
but
exactly.
yeah,
what the fuck.
but what I wanted like I just
That's
wanted to
fine.
point
Go
that
on.
out because I feel like that's I don't know. I feel like that's like something that
No,
we
that's
all
true, yeah.
that we all
That is
bond
true.
around. Yeah, like, and I feel like we all bond around that. Like,
I feel like that's most people though. I think
yeah,
most people have the
for sure.
same story kind of.
for sure. But oh, that looks familiar. Yeah. No, but I didn't
me see
even
this.
realize
You can
that.
scroll through like a couple.
Oh,
of
dude,
pictures,
I've
too.
seen that shit before.
Yeah.
No, I know that
Yes.
game.
That was
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the,
yeah.
that was like the
Yeah.
original game.
Cause
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
It's like Doom, but with a tank.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
Yeah, literally. Yes,
Literally,
yes,
it's
yes,
just a
that's what it
Doom
was.
reskin.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly.
No,
Oh
so-
my god, the guys
so,
are
like-
back.
Played it,
Holy
but-
shit.
Damn time,
Oh,
bro.
they're
Holy
back.
shit.
So who's hopping on the mic?
What the
Yeah.
fuck?
Bro.
Who's hopping on
Dude,
the
we've
mic?
been
Who's
talking
hopping
for a
on?
solid 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yo, hop in, Oliver.
Oliver,
No,
come on.
but
Hop on the mic, bro.
No, yeah, let's go.
no,
It's
we're
not-
not
it's not
live. We're
live.
not
We're
live.
recording a
but-
podcast episode.
Yeah, we're just recording podcast. Hop on, bro. Grab a mic.
We're
It's
like
worth it.
3.5 hours
Yeah,
in.
yeah, you're good. We'll
Yeah,
keep
yeah,
talking.
yeah.
But
Okay, so
no,
Fuck,
so
it's
like,
almost
finish your story. Finish your
yeah,
story.
yeah.
Go.
No, I
yeah,
just
yeah.
like I didn't realize, but like the reason I draw that one is I think it's really interesting that's a commonality where most people got gaming from like a relative that handed it down to them. Because like it's funny because a lot of them are so disconnected from it, and yet we still got it from a lot of them. But like that was the same thing like with my parents. Like I was a Nintendo kid. I played Fortnite was like my first shooter like ever.
Really?
Yeah, like but I grew up on like the my first game ever was Lego Star Wars.
Oh shit!
the-
I used to play that on the Wii.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I played the prequels on the GameCube. That was my first console, and like
Damn.
Oh.
That's
yeah,
What was the Star Wars game that was on the Wii? It was
Lego Star Wars.
no, the Star Wars game. It was the one where you had like a custom character and you collect different crystals for your swords. I had 1 and 2. It was like
Force. You're not talking about Force Unleashed, are you?
yes, I am.
Oh, I
That
fucking
was
love Force
such a good
Unleashed.
fucking game,
dude.
dude.
Yeah, it was. No, it was
What
good. But
the
like,
fuck?
no, I was a Nintendo kid. So like I had a GameCube growing up. Like Melee, Super Smash Brothers Melee, I grew up on all the time. And then like all the Lego games, like fucking iconic, obviously. And then like Mario Kart Double Dash specifically, which was the one on GameCube. But no, like I played with my parents a lot. Like they played with me a shit ton.
Yeah.
And like I didn't realize until like recently in life how influential that was. Like it like and how like fondly I think of those memories now when I go back. Like wow, my parents played Smash with me like when I was a kid. Like that's insanity. Like
Yeah. That's sick too. That's
No,
I
it-
wish my parents would play.
and I
wish.
didn't
Yeah.
realize how much it contributed to how good my relationship is with them now. Like I said, I've called my mom every day that I'm here, and I tell her everything I'm doing, and they're so invested. They're like, "I'm so happy for you." Like they want numbers on like all the episodes that I've done and like all that. Like they're super invested in it. But
I'm putting Dylan on the mic because I want to
Nice.
get up and walk around.
No,
my
yeah.
ass was
Tapping
melting
out.
into that fucking couch.
no, you're chilling. But yeah, like I it was weird because I have a little bit of a different life. I feel like a lot of the Fort kids started with like Call of Duty
Yeah.
or like started with like a Halo or something like that. And like I never really like took that route. I never really got into the shooters, but like gaming was always a part of my life, and I it wasn't until I got in the scene and started doing the podcast that I realized how much of a part.
Yeah.
Like I always had it. Like
Yeah.
I was doing
Yeah.
so much other stuff. So like
Gaming's
Jatmon.
like an escape. That's what I look
Yeah,
at it. It's like an
well,
escape.
yeah,
for sure.
well, yeah, because so Jatmon is jack of all trades, master of none. That's where that comes from. Like, because I was in all the performing arts. I was an actor, singer, dancer. I was doing improv comedy. I was hosting I hosted our school's talent show from like 8th grade through sophomore year. Like I was
pretty sick.
in a suit on stage, yeah, like announcing all the people and like all of that. But then and then I also was a multi-sport athlete, and I was doing other stuff like I was like academic whatevers and like debate and all that. But I realized that like gaming was my escape through all of that.
Yeah,
Like
from all of it.
like
yeah.
I would like be stressing out about football, and I would go downstairs and just like do something on
rub
the
some
Wii.
COD. Or
Yeah.
like fucking, hop on and just like have a good time. with your
Yeah,
friends.
but
That's
yeah,
what
no, it
is.
was. It was a fucking escape. But like,
Oh, especially when Fortnite first came out, and like all of my like everyone was playing it.
Yeah.
Like, all of my IRLs were playing it like all the time.
Yeah.
Like I literally it would be like, I remember there was like I was transitioning jobs because I was working
Yeah.
at the gym, and then I'd got my job offer to go like run the restaurant or
Yeah.
whatever. And so I took 2 weeks off from like everything because I was like,
Yeah.
I was basically like when I was working at the gym, I was basically working like 2 jobs.
yeah,
And then like because I'd gotten rehired at like the Five Guys place, so like on my off days from the gym, I was working there as well.
oh wow,
Yeah, and because they needed extra management, and
Yeah.
I kind of missed the job.
yeah,
And then, like, as I was doing that, they were like, yeah, we kind of want you to come back, like, full-time to run the restaurant. And I was like, okay, like, fuck it. Yeah, I'll do that. But before I do that, I want 2 weeks off.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
From everything.
Yeah.
And I remember I just binged. If my friends weren't on, like, I binged solos. Yeah, I was binging solos. Like, I was literally playing, like, 8 to 10.
Yeah.
And I remember, because back then, like, people cared about KD still. And I remember just watching my KD creep up, like, slowly and steadily, like, every day.
From, like, and everything.
I went from, like, 1.5 to, like, almost a 4.0 KD, which at that point was like,
really
actually,
good.
Yeah, it's
it
insane.
was pretty
Yeah,
solid.
that's insane.
Yeah,
For
it
a
was
battle
pretty solid.
royale, especially. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not like COD where a 4.0 KD is like, you have respawns and all that. It's like,
So
yeah, no. So like, it's funny that you say that because I'm 2020 graduate, so like COVID hit.
Fucked you, yeah.
Yeah, and that was like, like Fortnite was like, yeah,
bro.
It's like
Dude,
the only
so
thing I
guys are
did.
babies.
yeah.
thing we
No,
had.
so it was like,
Everybody.
and I was in a car accident that ended up in 2 knee surgeries. I lost sports, so I was literally left with nothing, and like that's where like my defining moment was. I was in COVID. I was like playing an unhealthy amount of Fortnite. Like I remember like
absolutely.
the black hole was
yeah.
fucking like during
Miserable.
that whole time.
Oh my god, the
people
black
were
hole.
pissed.
The black hole was miserable.
Yeah,
for
and like
everyone,
no,
I'm pretty
I
sure.
literally I kept the TV in my basement with Fortnite loaded up on.
Yeah,
The
every
whole
day.
like I was and I would check it every 5 minutes. Like did something come up? Like I'd have streams up on my phone, like whatever.
It was
But,
literally 2 days. Like I think everybody who was like actually addicted to Fortnite at that point was like.
oh,
2
we
days
fully
straight.
realized that we had like an actual issue. Like
yeah, we were like, oh fuck, like they shut this game down, and I don't know what I'm gonna
like
do.
I have
Yeah.
nothing to do right now. Like
But
I
then
have no
also
life.
remember
Yeah.
the drop of chapter 2 was so fucking hype just because it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
like
Oh,
whole new
dude,
map
we had
and
to
everything.
wait
we've
long
never
for it.
seen anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
they've revolutionized
It was-
gaming in so many ways.
the
so
live
many
events,
ways.
the live
Yeah.
events like in
The-
game
no,
too. Yeah.
The concerts
yeah.
and everything
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
they've done. Oh yeah.
No, but
everything.
yeah. So like I was like sitting there and like I was like in COVID and I was playing a shit ton and I was like, wow, I've done all of this shit in my life, like especially the performing arts stuff. Like I'm comfortable on a stage. I did a play in middle school, and I got the male lead. And the show was Pirates of Penzance, and that cast has like 40 girls in it. So I did this in middle school, and like being the lead, you have to do a lot of quick changes. So you have to change your costumes a lot. So I had a quick change off stage. I didn't have time to get to a green room before I had to be on for the next one.
Yeah.
So 40 girls, and this is middle school me, like I'm probably not even 100 pounds at this
Right.
point, like are passing me and I'm all the way down to my underwear.
Oh my
Like,
god.
so like, yeah, so like I'm full, like
I'd be so
for
embarrassed.
basically my whole life. Well, and
Yeah,
that's in like the
100%.
most embarrassing time for that to happen. Like
Yeah.
with puberty, 13, 14, like, so like I
You're also, like,
realized,
just finding out what sex is too.
yeah, well, I had
Like, and at that point,
I had like a girlfriend, like, and she was like
Oh.
in it, but like, yeah, no, it was so, but it was very odd, like, but I had to learn how to ditch like being like ashamed and embarrassed. Like I literally just like, and like performing arts just like teaches you that if you act and you're like a good actor, you just don't feel any like. It's like and I realized that it transferred to content creation. So I was like, I should try I should try streaming because like especially during COVID, that was the only thing that was happening. Like
Oh, at all, yeah.
Yeah,
That
'cause,
was the
like-
only way to actually make good money. Out,
Right,
Like unless
right.
you had like a very, very stable job.
yeah, right.
Because
So
everybody
I,
shut
mean, I was
down.
getting,
Well,
paid-
and-
I was getting
and-
by the. I worked at a restaurant at that point, and like,
Yeah.
they shut down all the
Yeah,
restaurants.
yeah.
So if you worked in a company that like you couldn't work, like they
Yeah.
extended unemployment, dude. I was
Yeah.
getting paid. I was getting paid more from that unemployment period than I got paid from any job ever.
yeah.
I was literally
No,
getting paid almost
I
$1,000
mean-
a week to just sit on my
Yeah.
ass and do nothing.
Yeah.
It was great. I loved it.
Yeah, but I mean, esports was on the rise. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I remember
Yeah.
2018 to 2019, esports as an industry grew 192%. Like,
Yeah.
it's just insanity. Like, we don't hear about that with anything else. But like, and then you see that, and then you see it was like because of COVID, especially, people started accepting it as like a viable career.
Yeah.
Like everything in esports. So like,
online gaming.
yeah, like everything to do with it. Like CS:GO esports have been around for 10, 15 years. Like other esports have been around, but like we had like we talked about like the MLG,
Yeah.
like whole like league
Well, dude,
earlier.
Even look at like CLG, who like just shut down completely
Yeah.
with backing by Madison Square Garden, which is
Yeah, yeah.
fucking unreal. That's
Yeah.
like taking it out, shutting down. Like
Yeah,
literally.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's huge, but like it just shows that you have to know what you're doing and you have to be able to find ways to generate revenue.
Yeah.
Like, and if you
Well-
can't, it's like you have to get out of the
Yeah.
space.
You have to continue to do it too,
Yeah.
because like content gets old after a while.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know what I'm saying? So you have
Yeah.
to find ways to like
Well, that's
keep it new and keep it fresh.
that's
like,
this
for me.
industry. Is you have to revolutionize. I mean,
Yeah.
you have to always be doing something new,
You have to be a
bigger,
trailblazer.
better.
That's the best
Yeah,
way to say it. You
exactly.
have to be a trailblazer. You have to
Exactly.
be the first one to do it. Because if
Yeah.
you're the first one to do it in that wave, you ride
Yeah.
the wave.
If you
Yeah.
look at anyone, I think I fucked up with the mechanics routine. I don't think I rode that wave hard enough. But like you look at anybody that because that was mine, right?
Yeah.
Like that was my innovation, right? Like I made mechanics training like be a thing, and because like people knew, like especially pros and stuff like that, like they knew you could go in and like work on your mechanics in the rages. Most of them never like gave dedicated time to their mechanics because they developed good mechanics just playing zone wars and like they invested so much time. But like my thought process behind that was like, okay, again, going back to the 4 to 6 hours of intense, dedicated, like thoughtful, training will get you further than just mindlessly playing the game 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
So outside of gaming, do you guys ever do like crazy bar stories? I'm actually curious. Or like
Bar
any,
stories.
Oh my
Just,
god!
like,
So
anything
They would have
crazy.
I know
one
I have two really really good ones. So, well, the first one is like I got into a fight in high school.
Oh God.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So this one is so both of them are fights. All right. So the first one
nice.
that's why I'm talking about the high school one, anyways. So the one in high school was my senior year, and so full disclosure, anyone who watches this podcast, don't judge me for this, but I smoke a lot of weed. Like I think anybody that knows me at this point like knows like that's a thing about me. And so I was I was extremely friendly. I'm like very open. Like I'll talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And there was this kid that I was like friends with in gym class, but I was like in team sports, which was like a bullshit elective that you took your senior year just to have like a free period essentially.
Oh yeah.
And then he was in like he was like a freshman in like the actual physical education. He would just always come up and talk to me I never understood why, but we'd always just have good conversation, and he was always interested, like asking me questions and just interested in talking to me. So I was like, I'm not gonna be a dickhead, I'm gonna talk to the kid. Yeah. And he got busted for like smoking weed in the bathroom or something like that, and his cousin like went to I didn't even know that they were like related, but his cousin apparently like caught word that like I snitched on him, which like the staff later told me, well, first of all, I didn't snitch. Like, why would I do that? I don't even care.
Yeah.
But then on top of that, the day that the kid got caught, I wasn't even at school.
Oh damn.
Like I was a
So
degenerate.
it couldn't have been you.
Yeah. So the kid just basically like decided to fight me based off of a rumor, and I remember like hearing rumors all day that this kid was gonna come fight me, and I was just like, what the fuck ever,
freshman?
bro? Like, no, it wasn't
His
it was his cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
And so I was sitting at the lunch table, like I had like 5th or 6th period lunch, so it's like probably 12. It's probably like right around noon.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting at my lunch table with my boys, like I have my music, like my AirPods in or my headphones in, just listening to music. And my boys like tap me on the shoulder, and I like look up, I look across the cafeteria, and I see his like cousin like walking over to the table towards me. I'm just like,
Oh fuck.
fuck. Yeah, not oh fuck. I was kind of like, cause I was bigger than the kid. Like I kind of figured like I would win the fight like anyways, and plus like I have after like my half brother like did MMA and stuff like that, and then obviously I got the shit beat out of me as a kid. Like my dad was extremely abusive, so I can take a punch.
Yeah.
And so I knew that there was probably nothing that kid would be able to throw at me that like I hadn't already experienced in my life.
Yeah.
So it was just like it was more of like a damn, I really don't want to do this, but like
Yeah.
I'm
You're gonna fucking do it.
yeah, but I'm
You
gonna
don't have a
do it.
choice, to be
Yeah,
honest.
it's like I kind of got to stand my ground right now. So the kid walks up to me and just like throws a haymaker, and I just like dodged it, and then like my first punch actually knocked him to the ground. And like I just remember like the whole cafeteria going like fucking because everyone liked me, like so like everyone was going fucking crazy, and then this kid gets back. I was surprised he got back up. Like I hit him hard as fuck. And then he got back up, like kept getting in my face, like he wound up like grabbing me by the neck, and we started grappling. And I was just like, "Get the fuck off of me!" And like I literally picked him up and threw him from one end of the lunch table to the other. And then like the teachers ran over like at that point and just like got in between us. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was a very like interesting experience, I'll say, just because it was like I didn't ask for that. Like that
just
kid
came.
that kid was just
It was
looking
on a platter.
Yeah, that kid was just looking
Yeah.
for a fight, and I was just
Yeah.
like, all right, dude, like whatever. And then the second one, I was 19 years old. I was down in Milledgeville. in Georgia. It's a small town in the middle of Georgia. It's basically it's college town, just kind of like Athens, which is where UGA is located.
Yeah.
But the name of the college there is Georgia College and State University. It's like a liberal arts college. My buddies went there, and they were like in a fraternity. So we're downtown. We're at one of the bars, and there was like a stage where like
bar fight.
Wow, it's great.
Yep.
I got jumped by multiple kids.
What the fuck?
And I didn't get knocked down. I'll say that much.
Look at you.
I mean, when you get abused as a kid, you become pretty resilient, man. Like that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I remember I asked this girl to dance, and she like said no, and I was like, okay, whatever, and like just walked away.
Damn.
You gotta shoot.
I know, so
you gotta shoot the score though.
Hey, bro, shoot or shoot.
Yeah,
Like,
shoot
hey,
or
and this is
shoot.
a lesson to all you guys out there. It doesn't matter if you get rejected. Like, if you have the courage to ask, like, I respect the fuck out of you, and I'll never make fun of you for that.
That's
so like, just understand that.
I mean, as much as it's memed and cliched, like you miss 100% of the shots you don't
Absolutely.
take.
That's
like,
true.
So look, I choose bad as fuck. I was like, I'm like, I want to like talk to her, get to know her. I want to dance a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like I was drinking. Obviously, I was like at a bar and
The confidence juice, bro. It's the confidence.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But she was like no, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like I walked away, and then like I'm hanging out with my friends, and like this group of guys comes up to me and is like, yo, were you bothering the girls up on stage? I was like, what are you talking about? Like I asked her to dance, and I walked away, and like he just wouldn't let it go.
Jeez.
And then like we got separated. So the fight didn't start there. Like we wound up getting separated from the group, and then like they like cornered me later, like when I was kind of like alone, like without one of my friends, and the dude came up to me. This is actually like just to show you like how naive I was at this point. Like the dude came back up to me and was like, "What's up, bro?" Like obviously like with a fighting tone, and I was just like, I thought like in my head
I was just saying sup.
Yeah, in my head I literally thought he was just like saying sup, and then like he got more aggressive like and got in my face, and I was just like, oh,
Here we go.
Fuck, here we go again.
Yeah.
So he had to been just like shit faced because like he like stepped back and like tried to wind up, and it was the slowest punch I think I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, it was like jet lagged.
No, it was bad. It was
Bro was
like,
lagging IRL.
It was literally like the slowest punch I've ever seen in my life. And like so basically before he even gets a chance to hit me, like he couldn't have been that big. Like he must have been between like 5'6", 5 like and 5'8". And again, I was I was an offensive lineman, so I learned how to like shoot my hands really well and like generate a lot of force like quickly. So like I would just hit people in the center. Like if you hit people like right here and you do it real hard, they can't do anything.
Yeah.
Like you'll literally just send them. Like if they're
like
not
right
ready
in the
for
sternum.
it. Yeah, if they're not ready for it, they go flying.
Yeah,
they go flying. That's what I did to the kid at the lunch table.
Well, because it throws off their center of gravity too.
Exactly. Exactly. So literally.
Yeah, that's what we do. You grab the shoulder pads right there.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I
you
basically
pinch, but you don't get a holding. But
I basically did the foot.
You play lacrosse. So.
Yeah, I know how it is.
Yeah.
I basically did the football thing, just hit him square in the chest. He went flying.
Yeah.
And then one of his buddies like punched me like square in the back of the head, and all I did was like, so I'm like standing there, right? Like so like I just got done like shoving the kid, and like he hits me in the back of the head, and I just like turn around like this, like. Who the fuck just hit me? Because I was ready to turn around and just start throwing haymakers. Because I just got punched like fuck in the back of my head, and then like I turn around and the guy had run away, and then all of a sudden like there's just this crowd around me like starting to dap me up and shit. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah. Well, to be fair, to like your story, you know, obviously this wasn't the point, but like you know that you got rejected or whatever. Mm-hmm. When we were out a couple nights ago, he got approached multiple times by attractive women. Like they were, you know. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like, over, like in Dallas.
Yeah, they just came up to me and they would just start talking.
Yeah,
to
dude.
me.
Like I was sitting at the the fucking table that we had at the club, and like he like this group of girls all walked in, and like all 3 or 4 of them were like around him. One told him he looked like Zac Efron.
I can see it.
Yeah.
I can see it a little bit.
I look like any dude. You can name off any generic handsome white man that has been in like a film, and like I probably have some sort of resemblance to him.
But you know, just to your credit, that I don't know.
We all look the same.
Something has improved since then, I guess.
I guess so, man. I guess so. Well, I mean, like I think she probably just had a boyfriend or something, or she just liked the attention.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
But I don't really think about that too much, or like even care. Like.
Do you have a crazy story in mind?
Dude,
Is that what you asked that?
I have 2 fucking nut stories. One actually happened recently. So I was down in Mexico for spring break for second year college. Going down there having fun. We're in Mexico. We're staying in a resort. We go to this thing called Coco Bongo.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
No.
You know what that is?
I don't think so. No.
Dude, fucking the most unreal thing I've ever seen. So you get on this party bus. It's like $60. All you can drink, all you can eat, all the shit.
Damn.
We get on this party bus. I'm kidding you not. And we're with a different group of girls we met there. And it's just me and my buddy. And it's this nightclub in Mexico. So that we're like in line and they're just feeding you shots. Like literally in line. Hey, drinking age in Mexico is 18. So I don't want to get bullshit for this.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there getting fed shots. And all of a sudden we're like sitting there and we get inside and I'm like, yo, can I get a vodka Red Bull? And I get a literal cup of vodka with ice and a Red Bull.
Like full.
Literally a cup full of vodka and a Red Bull. It was not mixed. Like it was just like shot. Take a
Jeez.
So,
Damn, man.
So I'm feeling good.
Mixing it in your mouth.
Yeah. So one of the girls we were with, I was like been flirting with her like all week, and all of a sudden I see my ex-girlfriend in line. Not with us.
Nah, that's crazy.
In Mexico, same place, same night.
What the fuck?
Where was the
really
ex
scary,
from?
bro.
Like she went to the same like university or something?
No, they're separate universities. But I wasn't. This wasn't my spring break. This was like my buddy's spring break that I went on. I was like missed school for a week. So I was like, fuck that. I can make it up. So I went with them, and she's like on their same spring break, and so I didn't know we were gonna like see her. And so we're at this club like off in Mexico in like deep Cancun, and I'm like, oh my fucking god, you gotta be playing.
Yeah.
She comes up to me, gives me a hug in front of this chick. I'm like, oh no. And she's like, yeah, like this is my boyfriend.
My brother in Christ.
She goes,
You're
this is my
scaring the
boyfriend.
hoes. Yeah.
And points to me. And I'm
What?
sitting there.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
And
I would have been like, bitch, what the fuck are you talking
Yeah.
about?
The girl looked at me.
Wait, why didn't you let me know? Like, yeah.
I thought we broke up like 3
Yeah.
The perfect response would have been like, I thought we broke up like X amount of time ago.
I thought I broke up with you.
No, the girl sitting next to me is looking at me like, what do you mean? And the night before, she's like laying in my bed, and we're just like laying there, just like doing shit. And she's like looking at me. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, no. I'm like, haha, funny joke. I'm like, this is my ex-girlfriend. And then she walks away, and I'm like, all right, like, thank fuck. So we're like just dancing around the nightclub, having fun.
Yeah.
And we're like fucking making out and shit. And all of a sudden, like her friend comes up to me and goes, yo, like this chick, I'm not gonna name her. This chick, is like, really drunk right now, and she like needs you to like go like outside and see her. Like she's not talking to me right now. Like all this shit. Like we're in literally downtown Mexico where you don't want to be, and it's a girl by herself outside alone. I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
So I tell this chick, I'm like, hey, like I'll see you back at our resort. I'm gonna go like help this chick who needs my help.
Yeah.
So I leave this venue by myself in downtown Mexico.
Oh shit.
Pay $20 to get on this bus. Sketchy ass bus, dude. If you've ever been, and remember, there was like a whole family killed, like literally the week before we went. And by the cartel.
Jeez.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
and so we're down there.
That was the. Oh yeah. I do remember that story.
Yeah, dude, it went viral because they tied the dudes up and put them on the street and was like, we're sorry about that. And then they so I get on the sketchy ass bus to drop us off. We get there. All of a sudden she's like, hey, I need to go home. I'm ready to go home. I need to go home. So I'm like, all right, do you want to fucking go? Like, you can either sleep here on the fucking floor or you can go home. And she's like, no, I'd rather go home. Then she's like, all right, I'm going to walk. I'm like, fuck this. I'll walk with you.
Yeah.
3 miles down the beach at 3 a.m.
Holy
shit.
In Mexico,
Oh,
me
yeah.
and her.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Dude,
Well, and you're both intoxicated. Like it's not
yeah.
like
Dude,
you're not primed up either.
Oh, dude, I
like,
was having a ball with it though. Like I was sitting there like playing music, just like fucking around, and she was like practically in tears, and I'm like, nah, we're good.
Yeah.
Like everything's good. It was the stupidest thing I've ever done, but it was just hilarious, like that we were able to do it, and it was just funny. That was one of them. And the second thing was 18 plus bar up at Michigan State, and I was rolling to the bar 30 guys deep. Like there was 30 dudes with us. We literally were the entire bar, and so we roll up in there. And some of the guys are 21. They're getting drinks, hanging out and stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like, there's like 30 of us. Like we all went to high school together. We all like love each other.
Yeah.
And so we're all like looking around like, damn, I'm like walking around there. I'm like, I know everybody in this place. And this dude like pressed one of my friends. And I kid you not, we all like they like started pushing each other and shit. And then the bouncers came in and like took him out.
Yeah.
And then another group of guys came in and started doing the same thing. And this guy like threw a punch at one of my friends. And my friends like sat there and just stuck him. Literally stuck him. Like he wasn't like out cold, but buddy like was like hit the deck and he was like hammered obviously, and he just couldn't get up. And then they just escorted him out. But we literally were the only people in the bar after that. Like that was it. It was sick though. It was sick as fuck because like like it was like all like I turned left and I knew everybody there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That sounds like a dope experience. I wish I had 30 people to roll up.
Dude, it was
to
sick.
bar.
You
It
only
was
need
just
3
deep as fuck.
badass motherfuckers.
You only need 3 bad motherfuckers. You can change the world.
Dude, I kid you not. Like we were even looking for fights. We were just like dancing and shit. And this guy like started fucking with him.
Yeah.
And my buddy's like 6'4", and he literally just like
nah,
them they got into it.
it's
and then
insecure as people,
Yeah,
especially
doing
when they
shit
get
for no
drunk.
reason.
Yeah, because they just like
they just go.
they want to
around.
feel like a big man and they don't
Yeah.
know how to
Dude,
do it
I
any
was
other way
sitting
than
there-
fight people.
Oh, I was sitting
Yeah.
there. I was like, what a business decision to not kick out the 30 people in your bar.
Yeah.
That are
Oh,
like,
yeah.
like that's
Yeah.
such a great business decision. But yeah, dude, that was story. But the Mexico story, I'll never be able to
Yeah.
forget that. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Oh, I've got a crazy international story. So, 7th grade, I transferred to a charter school, and it was an international charter school.
We're at.
No, it was in Utah, bro.
Oh,
I grew up in
shit.
Utah.
Utah.
Yeah, I grew up in Utah. I'm not Mormon. I want to like throw that out there because that's always the first question. But yeah, no, like so I grew up there and I transferred to a charter school and the first year we had a bunch of fucking budget to blow, like because we got like a huge grant from the state to try this like new form of education or whatnot. And one of the things that made it like unique and like different from a normal curriculum was that we had trimesters for one. Instead of semesters or quarters, we had 3 like semesters basically in a year. And in between each one of them, because there were 6 weeks left over basically. There were 3 9-week semesters, and then there were like 6 weeks just like left over in the year. And those after every trimester there would be 2 weeks where you take what's called an intensive. So you would pick like I did one on like rock climbing.
Yeah.
So we went through like the history of rock climbing, and I got to rock climb all day, every day. Like when you show up to school for those 2 weeks, that's all you do is like one subject.
That's dope.
Yeah, it was amazing. Like I did one where I was a TA for a middle school improv comedy class. So I taught improv comedy for 2 weeks, and I got like a some credit for it. But like yeah. So one of these was a trip internationally to Bulgaria. Yeah. So yeah.
That's real.
No, it was a international music exchange program. So we like
That's insane.
yeah. So we went out there like a bunch. It was all like performing arts students.
Yeah.
And then like you had to be accepted basically. So I had to like audition, but yeah, I was accepted as a singer. So I went out there. And we're out there in Bulgaria, and like okay, Bulgaria has really close ties. So it's like really close ties to like Russia. Like it's very similar history. They're not the same country, but like it's the same alphabet and like stuff like that. Like yeah, so they have tied histories, but the Russian like mafia and the Bulgarian mafia were like tied a lot. So a lot of and Bulgaria like was more recently independent or something like that. So the Bulgarian mafia controls a lot of important land and stuff. So the hotel we were staying at was actually owned by a mafia member, and we knew that going in. But I guess we struck some kind of deal with them, which I was like, that's insanity, but cool.
I mean, the cartels and like mafia and stuff, they really don't want to hurt unless they're like malignant.
Innocents.
Like, they don't want to hurt
Well, that's
innocent
why
people.
there was the resort I stayed at was owned by the cartel.
Yeah.
Well, a
So
majority of them,
Everything in
yeah.
Mexico is owned by the cartel. It's just whether or not it's owned by a benevolent cartel or by
Yeah.
a malignant
Yeah.
cartel.
no, but we knew it was like owned by a mafia member, and like we were there, we were chilling, and like we were on this like beach, like it had like a beach to the Dead Sea.
Yeah.
So people were like swimming and chilling in the Dead Sea, and like we were on a trampoline. They had a trampoline like on the beach there, and like all of us, our entire group. I mean, there was like probably like 20 of us, like students, chaperones, teachers, whatever, that came on this trip, and like I was literally like the last person to like jump on a trampoline, and the guy walks up, it was the owner. He starts fucking screaming at me in
Oh, no.
Bulgarian.
On the trampoline.
Yeah, like I was just jumping on a trampoline, and he starts screaming at me, and like he had been standing like right, like it was like he like just came down like a flight of like 5 steps, like there was a restaurant right like off the thing, off the beach, and like that he was just standing there watching us, and like when I got on specifically, he came out and like bitched me out, yelled at me for like literally like 10 minutes straight, and we only had one person there who like spoke Bulgarian, so like he tried to like intercede, and like he was like going around the chaperone, like trying to like get in my face, yelling. And I'm like a 13-year-old kid. I'm like, bro, why the fuck do you have beef with like a 13-year-old?
Scared.
No, and
I'd be
but like,
terrified.
yeah, no, like I was like, I had no idea what to do, and then like he kept like bitching him out, like the chaperone that spoke like the language, he kept bitching him out for like 15, 20 minutes, yelling at the top of his lungs, and like my guys like trying to like calm him down, like get him off my ass, and then he comes back after. I mean, he's like waving shit. I'm pretty sure he waved a gun or a knife at one point, like some kind of weapon where I was like fucking like terrified. And he was like, at one point he was like, "You guys have to leave. Get the fuck out. Like, I'm kicking you out of all your rooms. Like all that shit."
Shit.
Yeah. And like he fucking the chaperone walks up to me and he goes, "The things he told me to say to you, I will never repeat in any language in my lifetime." I was like, "Oh,
Fuck no.
yeah,
Your
no,
ass
dude, we left that night. Like, no,
Yeah, what the
dude,
hell?
like legit, like I don't know, like he legitimately like, and we didn't come back. Like we packed all of our, we packed
I
all.
wouldn't come back. I'd fucking leave the
Yeah,
country.
no,
I'd
no,
rather
we-
do that
Gone.
night, bro. Fuck
No,
that.
well,
Get me outta
luckily,
there.
like that was like we were like moving to the next city like the next day or something. Anyways, like we were doing like a tour of the country, but like yeah, that was. Dude, that was like literally like probably the most legitimately like scared for my life that
Yeah.
my life actually felt threatened. Like
yeah.
that was insanity.
As it should have.
Yeah, no, dude, like I take that mafia seriously. Like what the fuck?
Oh,
Like
dude, fuck yeah.
yeah, like that's a real like he was like a mafia member in, like the 80s, 90s. Like cuz he was like
Every
he's like-
minute that goes by after like 3 hours, my brain just like.
Dude, my brain's like off too.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
just dead. Like, yeah.
huh?
Dude, what's the time on the pod? What's the time we got
gotta
on
be
this?
at like. Yeah, we've. Yeah, we've
Oh,
got.
we're
it.
good.
We're at
Dude,
like
no,
4
what's the
hours.
exact time? What is the exact time?
Oh.
Oh, beautiful. We're hitting the
All
4 hour
right, all right. Well, yeah, we're gonna close it out. Last
Yeah.
Holy
minute.
shit!
The
Yeah.
last 2 minutes.
Any
That is
any last
insane.
remarks we want to make?
I'm just fucking so stoked. Like, I don't think I actually like. I go through different. I think we all go through different waves of motivation, but I truly have never.
Oh, I've never felt more motivated in the scene for sure.
Well,
Like,
I feel like
100%.
you know, like I was saying earlier, like I feel like we finally found like a group.
Yeah, this is it.
You know
bro.
what I'm saying?
This is
like,
the next gen of like
Yeah,
just esports in general. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that for sure.
yeah. So I feel like I feel like I finally have like a group, and I want to continue to like.
Yeah.
I want us to have our own like Discord and shit where
Oh,
we
we
have
should.
like
We should,
shit
absolutely.
where we hang out.
1000%.
We
should-
hang out
yeah.
and just talk about content,
Discord.
Motivation.
how to
Yeah.
make money, and all that kind of shit.
Oh, dude, like, okay, this will be my closing remarks. If you have ever thought about going to a LAN, absolute, like, it's a life-changing
Oh, yeah.
experience.
Do it.
Go meet
Talk to
people.
everybody.
Take a
Bring me
fucking
too.
risk. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
If
You
it's
were
like,
just as important as the other person.
yeah.
And, and the
Well, and
story.
that's the other thing. Put people on a level playing field with you, and like honestly, at a LAN, especially like most people won't like ego you that hard. Like,
I think that's a good point. I think that's a good point for all you guys that end up watching this episode. Like, we're all humans.
Yeah.
Like, we all started somewhere.
we all started at zero followers, zero earnings, zero whatever. We all
Yeah.
started at the same place. Like, we're all at a different place in the journey, but like we all started at the same place.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I just want to say one last thing.
yeah,
I never met you guys,
yeah,
but speaking to you guys today was great.
yeah.
I really fuck with you guys.
Yeah.
Dude, I appreciate
So
it.
It's been really nice, and I know like everybody's tired, but I just wanted to say that. Make sure
Yeah.
I get it through because I was gonna say it regardless. So.
No, I
Well, look,
appreciate it.
and I think there's, I look, man. I think anybody, I think when you're a human being, you know, I think that's what's like special about this community is because like it is so tough that the people that do like kind of stick it out and like make it to the
Yeah.
top, like we're almost the
Yeah.
guys at the top are kind of like looking down and like we see you. You
Yeah,
know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like we see you working. Like
No, yeah,
and like there's people that are below us, and then there's people that are still even like above us, and
Yeah.
it's like they see us working,
Yeah.
and they're kind of
Yeah.
just like waiting for us to get to that point where
Yeah.
like you know they can say like you know
for
good
sure.
job.
No,
you know?
keep keep your head down, keep working. Like, you never know when that opportunity is gonna come for you. Like, and if you deserve it, like when that opportunity happens, like you'll make the most of it. And like
Absolutely.
that's what we all did, and that's what we all continue to do. And like,
Yep.
yeah.
Guarantee it. That's a wrap.
Yeah,
All
man.
right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for tuning in for this super extremely special episode of Ghost Comms. We'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.